Welcome in everyone to Rivals and Rants episode 14. I'm your host Vaudable, and joining me is a special panel of experts. We have Minty, one of the top managers in EMEA. I think brought 3 teams at the same time once into Ignite, so doing pretty good in the scene there. Insomnia also did pretty decent through MRC. We're going to get some of his analysis today as well. Ryan Central, of course, one of the top minds and analysts and casters for EMEA. And then on the other coin, we have that one, Dan, for the Pacific region as well. So we got all the experts from different regions to try and break down MRC, but also talk about Deadpool, who has finally arrived this week. And my first question to all of you guys, to kind of kick things off, is I need a one-word answer on your opinions of the Deadpool announcement so far, starting with Minty.
I mean, the announcement itself is like the coolest thing they've done now. Like the way it's been marketed and in taking over like the trailer, I think it's got to be like the best announcement they've done so far. And how it like entwined it is, I mean, the big takeover at the Game Awards, and then the changing it, even the in-game stuff, changing his roles every week to get people talking about it. I just think it's such a good idea. The marketing was absolutely amazing.
So what is your one word for that then, Minty?
Oh, my one word? Sorry,
one job.
Yeah.
I think that was a little more. I don't know.
All right,
Hey,
guys,
bro, just
all
wanted to
right.
rant. It's okay. It's okay.
Engaging, I think it kept people engaged.
Yeah, no,
So annoying because I was going to use that as well.
That's a good
I feel
one.
like it's. I feel like rage bait. I think that it's just rage bait the character. It's probably like the best way to describe it. We've just already like all of the memes around it. Nobody really knows how it works, but it is just like with people talking about visual clutter. I love the fact that one of his abilities is like, screw you, essentially visual clutter all over your screen when an ultimate goes off as a duelist. Like, it just feels like a lot of people are going to join and play the game to try out Deadpool. A lot of people are going to install because of Deadpool players, both on your team and on the enemy's team, because of just his kit and what he's going to do and the societal deconstruction that he's about to provide, that he plays all 3 roles. I don't know. It just feels like they've knocked it out of the park with what they needed to do for the character. But that, yeah, rage bait is probably my word.
It's a good word, rage bait for it. Okay, what about you, Dan? I'm going to put you in the hot seat this time.
I was just gonna say it's peak. Like, marketing was insane. The design is insane. Everyone's gonna love the entire kit. I think it's really funny. His ulti as a duelist, I think, is the funniest one, where he just marks an enemy and he has to land shots or else he just dies. I think that's actually hilarious. But like, yeah, the marketing was insane for this, especially with the Game Awards and the whole in-game thing where he was switching around and all that. I don't know. Casual audience is gonna love it. We, the casters, might have a little bit of a nightmare trying to figure out what the hell his kid is.
It's going to be a nightmare.
That's going to be a fact. I thought Rogue was hard enough, but then they throw me this. But, you know, we got to do what we got to do.
I mean, we always get set up because it's like, obviously, like Moxie does Naraka casting, so she's kind of used to having like very intricate kits that could be like, you can, like with Gambit, like damage and healing. It's sort of like,
yeah,
it branches off into different ways. I think even she's going to be like, yeah, this is out of the wheelhouse. I think this is just all of the developers going, how do we thematically make this as ridiculous as possible? And we sort of got a glimpse from talking to people at like Atlanta, for example, for grand finals, where people are like, yeah, some of the stuff that's coming up is crazy. It's a lot of work. And so it really is nice that if I'm Marvel, I'm looking at this and going like, thank you guys for like respecting the source material. You've got a 4/4 breaking character. Alex Saab, voice acting, who does Rafa in Borderlands 4, which is probably one of the most like best characters in Borderlands 4 when it comes to like his voice, his mannerisms and stuff. It just really feels like they have nailed the side of like thematically Deadpool, but Lord knows whether it's going to be completely broken in the esports scene or just another like Spider-Man character for everybody to come in and play and piss everybody off.
Oh man, that's the main thing. Is it just going to be people sticking with duelists, or are they actually going to try the other roles with Deadpool? Because again, they did announce that it is 3 different roles that you could choose, not at the same time. I guess you can go back to spawn and swap between them, which is kind of interesting on how that works with this game. That's why there's never going to be a role queue. Especially with a character like this. Yeah,
I never thought of that. Yeah.
Yeah,
I could just imagine like with just all of the with all of like the arguments and stuff, you know, like can you get off Deadpool supporting? If you had to go back to spawn to change from like strategist Deadpool to duelist, that there's going to be everybody waiting in spawn to basically put a bag over your head to take you off of the character so they can lock you in instead. That it's just going to feel like try and throw somebody in the gulag and get Deadpool out of their hands. yeah, I don't. This just feels like a sort of like social experiment. I think honestly for a character, but it's a perfect time. If this was in the middle of Ignite, I would.
Oh,
I don't
Oh
know how the
gosh,
pros
see
would
that's why they're
function
taking
with
the
He would
that.
time
he
with
would have
it.
he would have to be disabled at that point.
Or they play on the previous patch or something like that, or just say, hey, good luck.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Oh man, there's a lot to talk about with Ignite and MRC and all that, but let's go through the dev vision itself. I know they just tweeted something out that's the cool new costume for Deadpool as well, but we'll go kind of through it all, going through the dev vision first, then going it through kind of the hero reveal trailer for that, the cosmetics and stuff, whatever else they come out in the background, and then we're going to be going into kind of diving into the results for MRC, talking about, who we expected to do well, who did well, what we can probably see roster-wise for 2026. That is on the docket for today. So let's swap things over just a little bit here and go into that dev vision that we have here as well. We're just going to skip around a little bit. I know our crew here can't hear it because they don't have the best setup. I'm eventually going to figure it out where you guys can hear while I'm playing these videos. But the main things is that, Deadpool's here. They have a new map coming out. There's changes for MRC pricing, like allocations, not necessarily increases. And then there's some balance changes that'll eventually come, which we don't know fully on how those are going to look until we see the numbers. So hopefully while we're doing this, that they release it at some point. But either way, let's dive into the dev vision itself. Seeing that we finally have a new map, it's a Convoy map. I mean, what are our thoughts on that while this is kind of going on in the background, gentlemen?
I'm just curious. I'm just curious if it's gonna pull another Convoy map out of the pool, because I don't know how the map pool is gonna be. I don't know if they're gonna include everything or they're just gonna pull a Shinshibuya slash Royal Palace kind of move. But if they're gonna take out another Convoy map, I'm just curious what it would be.
Yeah, I mean that's always the thing when it comes to like balancing map pools, right? Which one have we had the longest in terms of Convoy maps? I mean,
Yggdrasil.
Yggdrasil? Yeah, so probably Yggdrasil would be my guess then at that point.
Well, the other maps were removed weren't removed because they were around for a long time. They were removed because they were really unfun to play on. Was like the main feedback.
That's true.
Especially Shinshibuya was really defender sided.
Oh my god, that first point. Oh my god.
Yeah. It was just absolute nightmare.
I still have nightmares about that. Oh my god.
And it was really boring, right? Watching people just full hold each other every time. That's why those maps were disabled. I don't know exactly what it was with Royal Palace. I heard there was some people said there was a lot of lag because it seemed like one of the first maps they did, and so there was a lot of destructible terrain because it was shown in the first trailers, and I think very similar to the new Iron Fist map, the Kunlun one. There's a lot of things that things that just lag you.
I wonder if they get rid of that one instead, the Kunlun one.
That was what I was about to say. I think
that'd be crazy though. It's just come out. You know what I mean? Like
it's the newest one.
I mean, a lot of people who are playing just complain about it because they get it in ranked and then they end up playing the game on 40 frames the entire time, especially on first point with the smoke everywhere.
Oh gosh, yeah, I didn't even think about that. I feel like, I don't know, it depends on like what they're trying to do with the season itself, right? Because we have until March for MRC based on the actual calendar that they put out. And we'll look at the calendar in a little bit once we get into like the MRC and future of things as well, because didn't talk about that during the last episode, I believe, for Rivals and Rants, because they didn't have that posted yet. So dates are going to be interesting depending on how they're scheduling things, because allegedly this season for season 6 is going to last like a month longer if MRC season 6 is still part of it, because it's in March, right? So I don't know. We'll see how that kind of goes on that end as well. But either way, let's keep going through this video for now. Yeah, it's so interesting to see that like they got Deadpool to kind of break the fourth wall at the start of the dev vision and like be like, hey, I'm actually going to be telling you about all my abilities and everything else. So Guang, you can take a break. They mentioned Seong like losing his hair and stuff too. It's just cool that the devs are like poking fun at themselves using this character and like having him showcase his skills in this way.
I think it's Guangguan as well. Just like, has he got just a Starbucks cup when he sat on at the side talking about like potentially nerfing him? I feel like that just in a picture in itself of just like waiting for balance updates and he's just chilling. But this is what I mean. Like it pretty much nails like even before like Ryan Reynolds, Marvel, Deadpool, like the Deadpool game that was like from 2012, 2014.
Yeah,
I think it was Troy Baker that did the voice for it. And that's what I mean. Like nails that side, but also sort of brings himself into it a lot more. And I think this is a great way. The teasing of it was really nice to sort of flip between the roles. My theory is that you could be all three at any given time and it'd lead into like a multiverse, like that the Vanguard would be Deadpool on Devil Dinosaur, for example, like we saw like in the museum trailer, stuff like that. But the concern I have with this character that he can just be all three roles is it needs to be very clear for the enemy team what version of Deadpool you're facing. Because if it's
True,
not,
yeah.
that is like, am I fighting the Vanguard version of Deadpool? Am I fighting the duelist? How important is that realistically
I
going to
think
be?
there might be a little marker like next to the health bar. I think it was in the hero trailer.
Yeah, we'll
Yeah,
definitely
so
like
correctly.
dive
Yeah.
more into that as they're revealing it. But yeah, being all three roles, I mean, a lot of people are saying they're going to be duelists out the gate, and then they did their whole tease thing, and then question mark as well. I think this is just kind of a cool way to tease this, to keep people like. We've seen all the people talk about leaks online. It's like, oh, this person's this role. Oh, this person's actually this role, and then like just rage baiting each other against it. So it's nice that they poked fun at that by showing them in different roles throughout the holidays until actually revealing that you can choose for them to either be a strategist, a duelist, or a vanguard, depending on like how you want to play them as well. And they can only be one, is what they said for it.
Yep.
In these as well. But I mean, ATV18 is just gonna have Deadpool being played for a while whenever he releases. In those lobbies, I'm sure it's just like different versions of Deadpool just to test it out. I mean, that's the cool thing about ATV18, that they're doing that. But yeah, looking at like the reveal itself, so I don't see
well, the freeze frame, by the way, could work. Just he's got it spot on.
Yeah. So duelist has the dual pistols, of course, and then the katanas stab people. I mean, you can see the abilities on the right. We'll break down the abilities a little bit more once we get into the actual hero trailer itself for that one. But even then, yeah, I mean, traditional duelist setup, right? In terms of what you can expect for the damage. The close-up pick when they show that in the hero trailer, great. That ability is going to be such a nuisance for a lot of people, I'm sure, to use for like stalling points and stuff. Then there's also, as you can see, the other version here too for the Vanguard. So they have their own deployable unicorn shield. And in the hero trailer, they showed that you can use that shield to like block ultimates and stuff and like throw it on a wall and it sticks. So that's kind of crazy. They got Deadpool got a shield before Thor did, mind you.
Oh dear.
What they ought to bring up on
it's
that.
a Winston bubble, but just more brutal because you actually keep them there.
Exactly.
Like, again,
yeah.
I feel you're just going to tilt people because you do that and then like that into a Jeffel, something like that. He's just
oh
gonna be
gosh,
the most
yeah,
annoying
you
thing
trapped
to
them in
deal
that
with.
and then Jeff hole. Oh my gosh, so you're gonna need to play Cloak and Dagger then. Save your team if they get in it.
Maybe that's why it's going to
My ranked teammates are listening. Oh no.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's what I mean. I
control.
feel like I need to be writing down like I cannot play ranked for Marvel Rivals despite me being a caster because I get so angry. Like
I feel
I've
you.
been a coach in other games, so I've had to like de-escalate players from just like saying profanities and then getting caught. Like it's like just relax, don't tilt. I can't play Marvel Rivals for that reason. But
Yeah.
I feel like I need to get on Deadpool to rage bait everybody else and piss them off before they piss me off. Like I need to be the Elo terrorist, so to speak.
Yeah,
Which is he's the perfect character for it.
He is. I mean, they literally mentioned that he's going to be the server admin. Like they called out that from like the player base calling that for specific heroes, Invisible Woman, and Gambit sometimes too. But yeah, so I was trying to see if like even the icons for Deadpool when he's selected were changed at all or anything, but no, it just shows, you know, the role on the image like it does typically for if it's a duelist, vanguard, or strategist for that. So maybe that's some way that they indicate it, but it doesn't really seem too easy to tell on that end. For strategists, of course, you are able to shoot people with your guns and it heals them. I mean, people are always speculating about that if they were a strategist. But that would be a thing. This is the cool thing, in my opinion, about Deadpool, is that they can upgrade their abilities as they get more KOs. So that's going to be interesting to see how that changes on the UI, right? For like us casters and stuff, on how we'll be able to tell, how opponents will be able to tell what abilities they got, right? If they go into an encounter, it's like, oh, I think they have this and this that they can use, but no, they've actually upgraded and they got this and this that they're using instead. Like you have to wait till they use it probably to know for sure like what abilities they have unlocked, and they can change it on a whim, it seems like, once they upgrade. So it's kind of interesting to think about that.
Do we know what the upgrades do? Like what they look like?
Some of
Or is it
them.
just
Like,
They
they
show
showed
some of it, yeah.
is it just like more damage or?
I think for his when he's in the duelist, like for his right click, he throws like his katanas in like a boomerang. I
Yeah.
think if you
Oh,
upgrade,
so it's
there's
like a new
an
ability.
Yeah, no,
Okay.
I mean the boomerang thing is already a basic ability, but if you upgrade it, I think it like does an explosion at the end, so it might be more numbers
Yeah, we'll look at
plus
that
like an
specifically for
extra
the
effect or
hero
something.
trailer itself, because like that'll give us more of an insight onto how each of these are going to work specifically. Because they only just show it like briefly for this, that you can like change stuff, and then there's duelist specific ones. They didn't show anything in terms of this page for anyone other than duelists, so we don't know how some of those abilities are going to look yet for that side of things. Also interesting how the abilities and stuff go off too once we show that as well. But yeah, I think Deadpool is like a really cool character, and really gonna change the meta for this game, depending on like what role and which one seems to be more effective. And even the strategist one seemed broken. The ultimates and everything too, because you're like healing and doing constant damage and combos and all this other stuff. I mean, after you guys saw Deadpool kind of released here and being that triple role, I mean, I don't know, like how are we feeling that it might change the meta here?
I mean, it just does by proxy. I
Yeah.
think it's like whether it's sort of used a lot in the top scene is just how much it can be exploited because you know
Yeah.
that's meta, most effective tactic available. And if Deadpool can get around some of the, you know, for example, going triple Vanguard, triple strategists, a lot of teams are not doing that as much on defense anymore because, like Central Park, for example, you lose that fight, you lose the point. You're
Yeah.
then behind in like Gambit ultimates, Invisible ultimates, Loki ultimates, or making sure that you've got your Ensog Inferno for Phoenix and stuff, or Kraken's Impact. Feels that teams just kind of stay on the comp that they want to be on throughout the map, no matter where they are, to just make sure that they can match ultimates with ultimates. Whereas with Deadpool, you probably can play triple strategist, triple Vanguard. And if you don't have, say, if you're playing a Vanguard Deadpool and then you want to go to Duelist, so long as it's like when you're changing to a normal hero, if you're like 80% ult charge, that when you change to a different version of Deadpool, it goes down to 40. If it doesn't, that's broken. That's
Oh,
really
100%,
broken. You could
yeah.
just
Yeah.
streamline these
Just use
ultimates through.
Deadpool as a full hold strategy and then just change to the other role that you want to play. Like, I think this is going to offer more flexibility for some of those duelist players who already have to flex, right? To the
This is Tanuki's character for one. Just like the shooting corpses and stuff. Like that guy's stocks have just gone up massively because it's the panache.
Well, at least when he does that, now he's actually going to stay alive instead of
Yeah.
getting hooked and then bonking with Terra in the face. But
But genuinely, if like Deadpool, like if you like ace a team and you like emote at the end of it, like you should get like more points and stuff. If you've got the enemy team like telling you to go touch grass or play in traffic, you should also get like points towards your ultimate. Like it feels like that's what it works. But like this whole character like reminds me of like Cho'Gath from Heroes of the Storm, where it was a MOBA character where two players played one character and like had. But it's like it was pretty meta for a while. I think you have to ask Tetcher because I don't really follow Heroes of the Storm, but it's more the case of like Blizzard with that. We're like, we're gonna do something that's really out there that other like League, Heroes of New Earth, Dota haven't done, to just try to do that. And I think that's a really good move for NetEase here. Of like, we're gonna make sure that we use the fact that we've got such a strong character, fourth wall breaking like Deadpool, and just absolutely take it to the nth degree, even if it's not meta. I'm glad that it's Deadpool is the one that is just sort of breaking everything we know and expect about the game.
Makes it more of a thing you laugh at than rage at too much. I think because it is Deadpool doing that, as you mentioned. So we'll definitely see the reactions as that goes on. But yeah, I mean, Deadpool's ability is kind of crazy. This thing is nuts. When they announced the photo mode's dope, but the Clobbering Club itself having basically a wagers 1v1 that you can do in the New York map that is streamed on the screens. It's insane to me. So you could like rage bait someone in quick play and be like, hey, 1v1 me in New York in Central Park, and then go and do that and then have it streamed on the screens. Not that that's great for it, in my opinion, but also having a photo mode is just so cool in a hero shooter too. I don't think other ones have done that yet, right?
Not really.
You think the Clobbering Club is a test for Ignite? Are they gonna try to stream the matches inside Times Square?
Could be.
I hope
That would be
so.
cool.
That
That's
would
like
be
a
dope.
top comment on the Ignite announcement.
Like that's
thing. I
my
think
that's
it's a really
my
good
that's
idea.
that's a current theory. I feel like it's just them testing that. I mean, it's like the the Pim
Well, they
stuff.
did it in
sandwich.
2XKO, right? In
Yeah.
2XKO is the same thing where they have like the big
The
big,
little
big
lobby thing
you have like
that
a
you can,
lobby.
like, view people's
Yeah.
matches and stuff. Yeah.
I
So,
can't
I
wait
don't
to
know
be
if-
talking about Dixon Myers on like the timescare screen. Good lord. The funniest
can't
thing
believe they
about that
allowed
is
you
that
to stream
Moxie
that.
didn't.
Dude,
they picked the game. We didn't. They picked the game.
What's funny?
And
What's
partway
funny is
through-
that no. What's funny is that me, Moxie, and Liger were like waiting for the ball drop. I was like looking at all the EMEA teams in the bracket, and I mentioned that team. So I'm even more surprised that Moxie had no idea on broadcast.
Oh man.
She even looked it up. I was like, oh, it's like a funny like mispronunciation, and I just kind of went.
I feel like she had
Oh.
no idea when I was.
Because there was
I
like
feel
a
like she had no
like,
idea when I mentioned it.
I just didn't. I didn't mention it. I just like. Well
You're
played.
just-
Is all I can say.
You're just
it's
fighting for
just-
your life.
Yeah, the broadcast will be good for stuff, and like that would be nice, and I think that would be a cool thing to do. And like we are seeing a lot more like rivals pushed in front of the audience to like watch it in game and stuff. That this is a nice little nod because you get to use like Times Square in game, and I'm
Yeah.
surprised at how popular it's been, to be honest. But
Oh,
it
yeah,
has
people
really
have been
been
loving
like
it.
a melting pot.
Yeah, that's a good point. The chat's saying as well, kind of reinforcing the casual game identity with it, which you need to. Like, you need that casual audience to keep the lights on, especially for esports in general. Also, shout out to Duncan and Forky Dog in the chat. Congrats on the success with that. We'll definitely be talking about that towards the end of the show today for MRC and all that. And then just trying to go over questions real quick. Yeah, we don't know how much XP is going to be needed for each upgrade. Because of how fast the games go and all that, so maybe that'll be some way that they nerf it and everything too. Who knows? And I feel like it's actually funny. I think Deadpool during the dev vision is like, I'm probably gonna be mad until they nerf me or something like that. So they already like
Getting ahead of
know
it.
how things have been going, and just the view of the scene on everything too, which is pretty nice on that side. But yeah, the Clobbering Club challenging others to duels, and you can spend a small amount of units to put it up on the screens in Times Square is crazy. So I would love to see some more content about that. I mean, I might get involved in some of that and just cast some of the 1v1s on that way too, just to like kind of see how
Oh
it's
my God.
going as well, and just make some content that way. We just need a Clobbering Club tournament. Have it be the 1v1 duels and see who's the best.
All right,
I'm
we're
sure
just
someone's
gonna
gonna run
make
the
it good.
broadcasters. We're just gonna go into Times Square. Okay.
Yep, exactly. But there's no voice comms in Times Square, so we'll have to text chat it.
True.
Or be like,
Shut it.
put your Twitch channel link like everyone always does, and like go here to the comms for it.
Imagine
Yeah.
if it was proximity, like chat
Proximity, yeah.
in
Oh
Times
my
Square. That would-
God.
That'd be toxic. They're never gonna do that.
Yeah,
They're
yeah,
not
yeah.
doing that.
There's
I think proximity
criminals.
text chats are enough.
Yeah. The Hero Proficiency stuff also kind of giving back to the casual fan base too, because again, so many people have lorded like all the heroes already. So having that be a thing that you can also just get more stuff for your favorite hero is always a good thing, I think, to bring people back and get them to grind a little bit more when they were like, oh, I've already beat Marvel Rivals, right? So now you actually have more stuff to play for your favorite hero and show off that, hey, I have this cool title because I'm a one trick for this hero, right?
I love stuff like this. This is the
Yeah.
most like, in terms of like free to play games, Marvel Rivals might be like the most user friendly free to play game
Yeah.
in terms of you don't have to spend money like
True.
there is right now. But every hero comes out day one for free. You can earn everything that you want. Aside from a few things like the mini passes, which you have to spend specifically lattices on, but even then, you can earn some lattices and battle pass for free.
Yeah.
They give you so much stuff for free in this game. They give you like every other week it feels like they're giving away free skins, and now this just for playing the character. This backtracks as well. Your existing hero currency will just get you these rewards.
Yeah.
They're just giving you more free units just for having played the game a year ago. What an amazing like thing. Like, I don't know. We got to give props to NetEase where it's due.
Yeah, and then they're already adding more accessories as well, which is dope. I'm assuming when they do like the team bundles and whatever that is that they announced, that there might be like team accessories, right? That'd be one way that you could show logos in the game and not have it be like directly tied to the skins or the costumes and all that as well. So you'd have like, a Virtus Pro accessory that you can rock or something like that, Be dope.
That'd be cool.
Couple different ways that they can go about it, but we still have no idea how that's going to look because I was hoping they would announce some of it, but I'm assuming it'll be closer to that. Okay, Marvel Rivals Championship. This is what I wanted to talk about. that they're changing here.
This
So
is the important one.
it looks like they're increasing the price pool, which technically, using units, they are, but it's the exact same pricing. Instead, it's consolidated to the top 4. You get a couple more cosmetics in game. I think they said like new revamped titles and all this other kind of stuff too. So look a little fancier on that end as well. And even towards the ones who are just participate, you get like a spray and a title and all this other stuff too, to try and, get people to get involved a little bit more on that tier 2 side of things as well. I think this was kind of needed to consolidate a little bit more towards the top, because basically the top 4 compared to like the first place team seemed to be so like wide of a gap in terms of pricing. So now they give a little bit more to first place, but across the board it goes up for that top 4 as well. And then they have like, I need to do the math on this as well. So 50,000 of their like in-game credits. I think 2,500 is like $25 from what I understand on that as well. So yeah, it's a lot of money that they're adding into it for like the in-game currency that people are already spending, and because you can now use that in-game currency for the clobbering club as well. So people can just use that, go directly into New York and be like, hey, I should have beat you and play that.
I placed top 8 in MRC. Come 1v1 me.
Yeah, exactly.
I spent 1 million credits on fighting random people in Times Square. Feels so Mr. Beast. Like,
I guess if you're like wagering it that way, they get the credits or something, I'm assuming. Unless it's just like you spend it for it to be showcased or something. Who knows?
I think you spend it for it to be on the display, right? That's what I understood. By
It'd be cool if it was an actual wagering system.
No way they'd add betting inside Marvel Rivals, right?
It affects the age rating, so I don't think so. I don't think
I just got an idea. That would be such good like break content like into that. Like if we go back to like DreamHack Atlanta, in between games we just get 2 random people up on like stage.
That's true.
Just 1v1 in a clobbering club. Like you guys go for it. Get America Man in against honestly whoever, like send in Dog
You got
Man.
like XQC versus like another content creator or something.
It's gotta be Dogman.
That feels like it would be a disaster, but I absolutely would watch the shit out of it. Like that's such good break content.
That'd be awesome. But yeah, so I guess like technically more pricing given to these teams as well, and then a little bit more incentive for those towards the bottom to also participate in MRC, because they're also getting some stuff as well once it goes to that. Yeah, there we go. So like even for open qualifiers and closed qualifiers, just making it to that, playing your 10 matches and having a high enough spot. I think this helps more for the other regions outside of Americas. Americas typically has had enough teams to fulfill like a lot of people not even making the open qualifiers, right? But like China and Pacific and even EMEA to a degree, they were struggling with numbers a little bit this last time. Of course, holidays, a little different on that end, but hopefully because you'll get guaranteed credits and some other in-game stuff that incentivizes people a little bit more to participate in MRC that way. I also hope they condense the schedule a little bit. Having it be so spread out is also another reason why a lot of people just do not want to participate. I mean, what are your thoughts on that, Minty?
I think that the dates for this MRC were absolutely horrific. And I know a lot of people and a lot of teams who didn't play just because they had to play on December 27th and no one wanted to do that. I mean, I was going to play on a team, and when I saw the dates, I was like, I'm so sorry, I am not playing this day. I'm going to spend time with family, and I'm probably going to be drunk. So I'm just not going to do this. And I know a lot of people who said this very similar, and even teams like Navi who won in EMEA. I mean, one of their players was on vacation for pretty much the
whole thing, yeah.
Whole time,
Trust me shows up and wins at the end.
I think I didn't even know because they were still missing. Trust me was still on vacation. I think Rajaro came back before the end.
Yeah, Rajaro was away, and then Trust Me was away until the last day. Where
but like so they won without Trust Me even being there. They only dropped one map against Chopped, which is crazy.
Yeah, and like they kind of destroyed on the other maps too. I mean, we'll talk more about that as well, because like just the way that the finals went in comparison to the rest of it too. I think a lot of that had to do with the odd schedule. And if you look at the roadmap, that they don't have any plans for an MRC in December again, for good reason.
I think we'll see if this is a good change to MRC or not, because I have like obviously it's been an hour since this was announced, but I have spoken to some people already who are quite upset about this change, especially as teams are MRC excluded, with this becoming the official Tier 2 circuit now, with promotion to Ignite. I wonder if there's going to be the same teams consistently. You know, I feel like you'll see. Okay, have you seen these 4 teams get kicked out of Ignite? And suddenly those 4 teams, the 4 teams that are going to claim, you know, the prizes in.
Yeah, so it doesn't really
MRC
change too
because
much,
there's-
you know, because I think they
there's a
kind of
big
get
gap.
they get a little bit less. Actually, you know what? We're gonna take a second to look at this, real
Yeah.
quick.
Oh, we're doing
I want
maths
to
on
see.
stream. This is only going to go well. I think it's 6K was for the first place. That's gone up to 7K. I think it is like second through fourth.
What I
that
wanted to
actually
see
does get the
specifically
brunt of
here,
it.
Ryan, was for Ignite, what the bottom teams in each region got, because I think this is less than they were going to be
5,000.
getting. Yeah,
5,000 USD for 16th place. But now that it's 12th place, because there's 12 teams per region now, I don't know if that number will start at, because it was 7.5k USD for 12th place. But now I don't know if that will stay the same, if that number will go down to 5k.
yeah,
we
because
don't know
technically
what-
only one of these teams would get like around that much, right? Because of the change in it, they'd get a little more, which is good for them. But yeah, that's kind of rough. Technically, I guess because they're out for, I think it's what, 3 seasons of MRC based on the schedule. Let me pull that up as well since we're talking about this. Might as well. That's what this show's
we
fun.
Yeah. Fingers crossed this gets sorted soon, because there are teams who will probably get into part. It depends when the partner program invites come out as well, because if
Yeah.
the
They said
timeline is
February
slow.
when it's locked in specifically on the page itself for that. Here it is. This is what I was trying to bring up. So
Yeah.
this is what we really need to look at when we're talking about all this. So technically, you would have, if you don't get in for MRC season 6, you'd at least have 2 seasons of MRC before those like mid-season qualifiers, which I'm assuming is the promo relegation, just based on, you know, the specific spot for it. So technically, you can make more money than you would make at the bottom of Ignite last time from this, which is, I guess, a good thing for those teams who are consistent in MRC, because you can get 14 grand if you win both of them, right? For season 7 and season 8 to make it into that promo relegation. So they need to make it so that the bottom of MRC, or not MRC, of Ignite is pretty good for you to miss out
I
on
was
this
gonna
much
say.
prizing, right? So
Because
Yeah.
do you think there's a world where it's better to like deliberately like not
might
win
be.
MRC season 6
Like, you'll
so
miss
that
mid-
you
you'll
can
miss
play
mid-
season
mid-season
7 and still
now.
get Ignite?
but yeah, you could just make it
It'd be
into
harder to get an org though. That's the
But
thing.
if
Yeah,
you,
that's
I
true.
mean, yeah, but how
Yeah.
many? Not to be a doomer. What org? There's 12. I mean, if there's rumors to be believed, I mean, is it announced it's 12 partner
12
spots?
total.
Is that
Yeah,
official?
12 global.
12 total.
Global, right? That's
Yeah.
Asia,
Yes.
China, Oceania, Europe, and
Yep.
America. That's like 2.4 each. So we've got
Yeah.
2 partnered orgs per region. Amazing. What about the other 10 teams?
Yeah.
'Cause,
Yeah. I
so
mean,
what orgs?
because I was talking to Moxie about this in the breaks for casting, because we were like, are there going to be like open qualifiers for Ignite, like a la Clash? It doesn't seem to be the case just off what was written.
'Cause there's
because you have
guest teams,
yeah, which I
Yeah.
imagine are like the commiserations of like
The
the
old
orgs that
Ignite
wanted to
teams,
get
or, yeah,
involved, and
that
like
too.
just kind of like with Fnatic or whatever LG that were invited to the Invitational. It
RIP
feels
LG.
like it would be that kind of vibe, but it would have to be like, if you want to be an org, pick up teams that have done well or like have some good experience that you want to build around and go from there. So it's logistically a nightmare, I think, especially when they're going
They
through the
need to
process
announce
of
it
like
soon.
signing the teams now. It's tough, but it feels like they've reacted very quickly to what everybody wanted to see at the end of last year.
Yeah.
And hopefully people are a little less like terrified, I suppose, of what the future is, because I think that NetEase are kind of listening, and there's only so much they can do in such a given amount of time. And it is also tied to Marvel to an extent. So
Yeah.
a lot of
Yes.
stuff has to like jump through another pair of hoops. So and that's a hell of a bureaucracy to answer to, right?
I mean,
Disney and
Marvel-
Marvel. So it does make things a little bit slower, but it's still a fast change.
Yeah, Disney lawyers have famously never sped anything up. So I
I'm
can't
assuming
imagine.
we'll get like the full news for how everything's going to work in February once they have those partner teams locked in, right? This month is probably just like getting the gears going again, getting everything set up for the new year of Marvel Rivals in general. I mean, there's a bunch of tournaments going on. We'll talk more about some of those happening this weekend. There's even more that are getting scheduled after this in terms of like content creator events that you can expect to see. But yeah, there's like a lot going on in the background in terms of moving parts for them to figure out for all that. So there's still a work in progress until we get to that like March season 6. I'm assuming we'll see the dates though for season 6 MRC as soon as the patch is updated.
Season
Because
starts, yeah.
We should see it on
Yeah,
Thursday,
so-
right? Yeah.
then we'll know kind of like how it's going to work. We'll see if there's any changes in the rules, if the ban system is going to be the same. I mean, there's so many questions on how that's going to work too.
Give me Ignite bans, please.
Yeah, like there's
Get
so
rid
much
of
that they
MRC
need
bans.
to change and like update, and hopefully they like fix things. And don't mind Ryan, I'm just refreshing stuff on my end.
I'm turning into
It's always
like,
one camera
Adman
for some
Studios,
reason with
Wallace and
video.
Used to be
Gromit,
me.
stop animation.
I was in that exact spot.
Yeah, Dan
like,
passed the torch over to
a
you, I
month
guess,
ago.
this time, but I don't know. I think it's just the way video works.
I'm less like with the meta that we were in, I wasn't too, because usually with the universal bans, I'm a bit like this is pretty like mediocre. But I think the meta was kind of interesting for this MRC at the very least.
No, yeah,
what I
true,
think
yeah.
needs to change is the map draft system. Like if we've just had domination,
3 dominations in a row.
I don't want to see a
gosh.
team in a best of 5 just win by just playing domination like we did. Like
Yeah, we
I think it
lost.
was the Lions that did it. Credit to them, but like if now MRC is going to be a lot more important, you can't cheese the system, right?
Yeah.
I want to see us like you start with domination. That's always the case. You have to go convoy convergence. Whatever is played, you have to go to the last game, and then you can go to the game modes again.
That's how.
I don't think that's the
how
best
Ignite-
system,
Yeah,
but I
that's how
think it's like
Ignite
the
was.
most interesting. You get the
that's how we
best
did it in
well-rounded
Ignite.
teams.
Like,
Most
random
competitive too.
domination,
They
and
could
then-
also do a scenarios where like, hey, until you get to like the top 128 or something like that, you can have that old system, right? And then change it once it gets more competitive to be the actual competitive system, right?
Don't change it halfway through. That's so silly.
I know, but it's like give and take in terms of what they can do for it. I mean, I think they just need to change the whole qualification system for it being, a speed run competition for the top seed, right? Like that's not the way you see things in my opinion either, but
because it's the team that gets, is it a team that defends first, or if you want defense first every time, because loads of teams are going to get 10 wins, so you're going to get 20 teams for 10 wins every time, whatever. It's just whoever gets defense first more or avoids domination, because if you attack first, you have to push the whole point, and you have to hold it for 4 minutes.
Yeah.
Whereas if you defend first, you have to hold it for 4 minutes, then you have to take 4 seconds to push it. It's just one holding.
Duncan brings up a good point too. Flipping the lower bracket as well. Like that's another thing I think they need to do just to refresh the matchups a little bit better. So you don't have like the double jeopardy scenarios like, oh, I lost to this team and now I have to play them again. I wish I had a shot at a different team,
We did that to 2 teams, so we knocked them down, and then we won their games, and then we had to knock them out again. We had to just place them again and say, if you just, it just feels really bad. That's a really good point. Yeah.
Yeah, so hopefully they change some of that stuff. We'll see if they do. Maybe like throughout the seasons they will as well. Who knows? We don't even know like how different season 6 is going to be compared to the other ones, right? Because season 6 is the one to qualify for that last spot, as they said during the announcement as well. So a lot of stuff to figure out for MRC. But let's keep going through this video. Then we'll go through the hero reveal and then talk more about our thoughts on MRC as well. But yeah, I'd say solid changes for the most part. But you'll definitely see some of those top teams just racking in the winnings from those MRCs before mid-season qualifications. So really curious how that's going to go. And then also, if you do well enough across all of the MRCs outside of season 6, you can make it into 2027. So like more incentive, I think, for teams to stick together, which is always a good thing. And then more incentive for people to participate just to get their like cosmetics and stuff in game. College student perks, that's always good to see. That's a thing as well. Teamup anchors. Okay, the team-up changes. This is what we need to talk about a little bit. They didn't change as much this time compared to any of the other seasons, mind you.
That's true. Yeah.
So I feel like 5.5 or 6.5, excuse me, might be where we see more of those changes on that end. But the main thing is Penny Parker having a team up with Spider-Man. This is going to be the bane of ranked players' existences.
I don't think it will. I don't think you're ever going to see it.
Penny doesn't have double nest anymore.
That's true. You don't have the double nest, but
So
you probably have a duo with one playing Penny and one playing Spider-Man, and the Spider-Man's just going to be like, "Hey, go Penny, so I can have this team up and have a little bit more survivability and some more damage I can do, and all this other kind of stuff." Like I don't know.
I saw it was an overshield.
Yeah. So basically,
it's like delayed, right?
You activate it, and if you don't use it, it gives you bonus health and it gives you a refresh on your webs. If you do use it, it has this like little sticky bomb that goes off after a delay. So there's a couple different ways like you can use it that way. It looks like there's like a visual indicator to it as well. Yeah. So once he like activates it, you can see his hands with the chromium.
It's like webs.
Yeah. Kind of similar to like how Rogue's stuff is on that. Oh yeah, I guess it is the penny webs as you mentioned on that too. But yeah, I think getting rid of the penny team up with Rocket is definitely a huge nerf, especially as we saw it being played a decent amount during MRC on the defensive end
Oh, it's
for like certain
AoE.
maps and everything.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's AoE
Oh,
on that
yeah,
side
AoE.
too.
So everyone that gets caught and that gets marked.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, you get like how much bonus
Oh, it's a
health
25.
was that?
Is it
25?
50? It's 50.
It's 50, but yeah, that's a good amount.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, for Spider-Man. So
If you could activate it instantly, I think it's really good. But like you have to like press it and you have to wait a load of
more
time
of a
for it to
skill
happen.
check, yeah. That's true.
I wonder if like it's actually like a thing.
At least you get.
Because
At
the
least
Human
you still
Torch
get
one wasn't.
value. You still get value even if it fizzles out.
Yeah.
It's better than the Torch one. The Torch one, I don't think I
Yeah, the Torch
ever
one
saw
was
it in
terrible.
game
No one
once.
used it.
Oh yeah.
I mean, no one's playing Torch right now either. So it's an
I saw
interesting
the
spot
decent
there
bit.
as well. This is a fun one, I would say, in terms of team ups. You
Oh, I
basically
love
get like
this.
the little plushie
This
that
is so-
Deadpool uses when he's a Vanguard. But it's for Jeff. So it heals people in an AoE, and then it also has like some screen interference stuff for whoever on the enemy team is inside of its AoE as well, which is just funny.
The
So it
silence.
covers up your UI, so you don't know like what your cooldowns are unless you're actually tracking it. Like
Is it
lot
like
of
a
pros do.
silence, or is it like it's just
Yeah, I mean,
hiding your UI?
it is just like the ink splatter.
Yeah, it's like
Mario
ink
Kart
splatter for
effect,
Mario
That's
think
what I
it's so
assume
true.
it is. That's what I assume it is. I wonder if it'll like do the visual like
Let me,
thing, the visual and audio
pull
cue
the
when you're like
audio up
low
a little
HP.
bit.
I wonder if
So-
it'll let you know.
Deadpool is the
That'd be funny.
water around by allies
It just tells you
and
nothing.
creating a visual
Is there a way
interference
to like
effect for
with
enemies
a
in
keybind
its
turn
area.
off your UI?
You can, yeah.
Because I'd be doing that in an instant. You know what I mean? Like
I'm
pretty
assuming
sure,
it wouldn't get rid of this though. They probably thought about that, honestly.
Yeah.
But
Just
yeah, you
lock it
can
in,
turn
'cause
off
I think
your
Overwatch is
UI.
something similar to that.
Yeah.
We are also bringing back.
Also, they're bringing back one of Doctor Strange's previous team ups. I
Gamma!
wonder what team up
Gamma?
that is.
It's gotta be Gamma.
It's gotta be
It's
Gamma,
the only
right?
one. It's the only one
It's
missing.
the only
Has to
one.
be Gamma.
Oh my
Oh,
god.
I'm so excited, man.
Yeah.
I
We're
was
saying-
literally just talking about Gamma Strange.
Yeah.
Do you
Oh
know
my
what,
God.
man? I know a guy who's gonna be very, very excited about this.
There's a couple guys that'll
It's
be very
me.
excited about this.
I am guys.
Yeah. I need my Hulk player. Where's my Hulk duo? Come on.
They did say that they're
I'm so
buffing
excited.
Hulk as well, so that'll be cool to see
will
on what
arrive
those
in
changes
season
are. But that'll be season
6.5.
6.5. But that will also be before MRC when that comes out as well.
So
So,
that's
we'll
gonna
have
be-
Gamma
so
for
we-
MRC.
The ever-burning
So we might see
bomb
Gamma
is
Strange, and
being
he's
put-
getting buffed in 6.0, which means he's going to be even more stronger
Yeah,
in
I don't know.
6.5.
Wait.
So it's a
Guys.
double whammy of a buff.
Yeah.
Guys, Stranger's getting his team up back. Pick me up. I'm available. LFO. Pick me up.
Stop
It's
Strange
just to
from
get
being
Kudos
I
a
can
back
see
in
it
the
like
game.
with the buff. I almost feel like it's going to be. We are going towards a point with all of the conversations around the Strange portal and not being able to use it, like to switch off of it and like stall, do that. Whether it's going to be more like Soulborn or anything else, that's you have to wait a certain amount of time before you use an
Oh, yeah.
ability. I feel like it's just a case of when, not if, that they do that to Strange because I like Strange as a character. I feel like he is just a little bottle boy, and I'd like to
Tap,
see
I
him
think.
not feel cheesy because it also just ruins some of the fights as well. As like climactic ends to fights, it just
Yeah.
makes it feel a little less
Like,
exciting. I guess
oh,
maybe
they got the wombo combo. Oh wait, they got a Strange portal.
somebody's back.
Is TP bad? Do we just say TP? I've not thought about this a lot. Is the TP the TP thing does enable new strategies like the free spawn hold is a thing because of Strange.
Yeah.
Because you can TP back and you just put bodies back on the point.
I mean, TP cost mutants the tournament.
Yeah, but like it's a part.
we don't talk. Oh,
we will
I don't
talk
wanna
about
talk
that.
we're not gonna talk about that.
I mean, I think
Oh,
it's
that was-
really.
That was
I think
hard
it's one
to
of the coolest
watch.
ability. When the game came out, TP was like probably the most talked about ability in the game. But like, this is so cool where you can just open a portal.
I remember I saw
Anywhere.
one. I remember I saw one fight. A Strange just put both portals like on the convoy, just to drop everyone's FPS.
Yeah, when the game came out, yeah. This was a thing that people would do.
I remember that.
I,
It was,
I
like,
think
right
it's a great
before-
ability. It's just the when there's a team fight over time, somebody swaps to Strange to just portal back in. Like going for like the Citadel-esque, like we're gonna kidnap somebody
That's always
with
fun.
portal at the start of
Those are
domination.
cool.
Those are cool because if you get it wrong, you just lose the point. If you get it right, you're in a 6 versus 5. You can turn it around there. Like there's risk to it. But I just feel like the portal, it doesn't make it more exciting. It feels that players try to like hold on to ultimates a little bit and try to like plan ahead because both teams usually have it available. It's not as bad in Ignite because you can ban out the Strange on some of those more egregious maps, but
We've seen it
that was
happen.
like few and far between. I think it just makes Strange feel like Viper in Valorant, that you could take away all of her abilities. If she had the Viper wall, she would always still be used because it's such a strong bit of kit. It's the same with Strange.
Yeah.
Like if you make sure that you can't go for those cheesy portal plays, you can make Eye of Agamotto like a great ultimate because it is, and then the barriers, and then the Maelstrom and stuff like the Gamma team up. Like you can add a lot more strength into Strange without it feeling like you're going to do that and then just do portal plays as well.
So I guess what
You're
you're saying,
mistaken,
Ryan, is it would be better if they had like once it hits overtime, you can't use Strange Portal or something like that, right? So we
Yeah,
don't have those.
or
like,
you need to be on
extended
Strange
fights.
for like 20 seconds before you
Yeah.
can like portal
Yeah.
anyway.
That
Just
would
to
make
stop people
sense.
just
Yeah.
instantly doing it.
When do you TP then? If you have to be on this character for 20 seconds already, when would you ever TP?
Probably just at the start of a start of a map, and then
yeah,
if the character was
first.
good enough that you could actively stay on them, and like it's more like if you want to just one trick Strange or domination, you could go for those portal overtime plays, but he might not be as good of an option as Thing or anything like. There's a give and take to it that he's got such a strong ability that he can use in a really macro sense.
Yeah.
But in the micro, he is going to be outmatched, and teams will naturally like counter him. You just don't want it to feel like break glass in case of emergency, because
Which it
Yeah.
definitely
that's all that
feels
happens.
like that.
Every domination ends the same way.
Oh man, Duncan makes an interesting point as well in the chat, saying that the portal's not new. Teams should be able to plan around it and not overcommit ults, in their opinion. I mean, what are our thoughts on that in terms of like strategy for using the
Yeah,
portal and all
100%.
that?
Ban
That's
it.
just
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it's so simple. If you don't like it, you
Yeah.
don't just ban it. The game has a band-aid solution with it built in.
Yeah,
I mean,
especially
I think
with
it's just
Gamma
more
coming
like
back too.
if you're in a position where you've got that win condition where it's just throwing ultimates in should win you it, that's more exciting to me. If you're thinking of like a grand finals moment where Virtus.pro lift the trophy of 2027, whatever it would be, I don't want to have to deal with a portal play and that level of stall to set it
Yeah.
off. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, teams can play around it. I just don't think it's very good for the esport or the game in particular to be constantly having to view that, right?
You know the best way to avoid that is not to nerf Strange or anything. It is to nerf supports so that the healing isn't so good that you stall forever and the fights are quicker. And you get more fights in a thing, so that there isn't time for someone to die, respawn, swap to Strange, open a portal, get all the way over there, and the whole team to die, 10-second respawn, and get through it as well. That is how to do it. You nerf supports. That
Would
is
also
unironically the
reduce
solution.
That
the
would make
time that it
sense,
stays
yeah.
up as well, right? Like
That
only have
too,
it
yeah.
last for a couple of seconds instead of as long as
because right
it
now
has
it's
been.
like what 10 seconds.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, 10 seconds for portal, but I feel like in most like fights, like
Yeah,
even
stagger
if,
Strange if he's meta.
like-
That's true.
yeah, if Strange like gets a portal down and the team jumps in, if they don't have a strategist ulti, they kind of just get melted either way. So it's like I don't know. It's like coin flip, but like you have a chance of like stalling, but the amount of times that it like actually like works out is like kind of rare, unless you have a strategist ultimate to like bring you safe passage into it.
I don't know what you guys think. I think I just think support's super broken. I think a lot of the things
Yeah.
we talk about in this game would be fixed if they just healing was. I think healing is absolutely obscene in this game right now. I
There's
think
a reason. There's a
very,
reason why
very
pro
high
players
power.
say trank whenever a strat ulti appears. So
Lord.
because
I
it's
don't
that
think
strong.
so.
It's gonna be interesting for sure.
Yeah.
Talking more about the changes though that they have for the team ups, as I mentioned, kind of the least changes we've really seen. So ever burning bond, never really used. So getting rid of that makes sense. And then of course the
Being
biggest
put
nerf
out and
to
will
Penny
be
is
removed
not being in
completely.
at the Rocket
Penny
network.
Parker is
So only having Star-Lord and Rocket there as the team up for it, I think reduces a lot of the usability for Penny Parker specifically, like we saw with those holds on defense in certain maps like Central Park and everything else. So I think her getting a team up anchor bonus isn't really too much of a change, but this is a major nerf for like her use case in like the professional leagues, I think.
Yeah, two meta options
Anywhere.
that she could fit in with, and she's the one that's taken out.
Yeah.
Star-Lord and Rocket would be fine without it, but
Yeah, I
Just don't
mean,
know
I
what-
think people are upset too. It's like now Rocket's got less usage, but like Rocket's still used all the time
He's
because
still
of his
fine,
ultimate.
yeah.
He doesn't
His win
need
rate is
this.
still insane.
Yeah.
Like the win rate to play rate ratio is still like really good. He's like 56% win rate into like a 9% play rate. That's insane.
I do worry that Penny's just dead. Like it's not like a niche case anymore. Like she was a niche
Yeah.
character before. She has no niche case now. Like what's she gonna get? Like 20, like 50 extra HP or
Something like that,
5%
or
damage.
maybe some more damage. Yeah.
It's never gonna. However, she has probably the worst ultimate in the game, and it's never going to. No matter what you give her, it cannot make up for the only thing that she really does, which is controlling an area like nobody else can. She's just lost 50% of her ability to control zone.
Yeah, exactly.
She needs big compensation buffs in other areas if she's going to see play. But I think she's dead.
Guess we'll see, especially with like Gamma supposedly coming back too. Like, there's no reason to play a Penny.
She had a good Hulk matchup. She did have a good matchup, but she had a very good matchup into Hulk. So maybe specifically Gamma Strange, she's good.
Could be, yeah. Really curious on how that's going to go for that. But yeah, not too many changes in terms of the team ups and everything. They just talk about what we already know for the hero strength and all that kind of stuff. We've been here if you've been paying attention to Marvel Rivals in general. Let me see once they go. Okay, here's the balance roadmap to talk about. So this is what we're really interested in. We'll see if in the next 20 minutes or not, if they actually drop the balance patch. I hope they do. That'd be dope. But yeah, the big thing that they're buffing was Captain America and Hulk. Captain America does not need buffs. I do not know why we keep getting buffs for Captain America, and Spark Chief is just rejoicing and having a party every time. Whenever he sees that little upwards arrow like graph thing, he's like, heck yeah.
It might have been canceled out with the Angel nerf though. It might be canceled out.
Yeah.
You never know. But I don't know.
I mean, you say that, but like we didn't really see much Angela in like the finals for MRC, if I'm not mistaken, right? Like we saw more usage out of like Rogue, with like the triple tank lineups that we saw out of like Mutants, and some of the other teams like that as well.
Because nothing dies.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So like
Hulk doesn't work when it doesn't actually just magically find picks.
Yeah. Balance patch on Thursday.
But if Hella Namor, because I said the Namor's getting buffed as well. Sorry to like speed ahead, but it is just like if Poke gets stronger, then having Angela be weaker is going to be more annoying. So actually having Captain America and Hulk to like actually close the distance, would be really nice. I think
that's true. Oh, Danny confirmed the patch is coming today, so we'll see whenever that drops, if it's in time, because we do have a hard out in about an hour.
Wait, hold on.
Duncan's saying Danny confirmed is coming out today. So we'll see if that happens.
Yeah.
So
hopefully it does drop in the next 10 minutes. Would be dope. Doctor Strange having improved mobility and damage. I don't think this was needed, but maybe just to, as you guys were mentioning, like have them be more of a priority in terms of playing them the whole map in comparison to like having it just be used for portals.
I don't know if the damage I don't think is his issue at all. I think Strange has got
good with damage.
I think if you brought back Season 0 Strange, I think he would be unplayable still, because I think every new character that has come out just dumpsters on Strange because CC creep is increased. I think CC creep is the biggest thing holding him back.
You can cleanse him now too, so like even his ultimate's kind of less useful, right? Because of Gambit.
Literally, like every new character that has come out with maybe 2 or 3 exceptions, and it's literally 2 or 3 exceptions. Bear in mind, we've had 12 new characters this year. No more than, because we had 4 characters for season 1. Like, bear in mind, we've had 14 characters or something like this year. Strange is counted by literally almost all of them, except Mr. Fantastic and Rogue. Like, those are the 2. Every other character does. Like, Invisible Woman just pushes him. Like, she just pushes his ult away, or she shields it every time. Like, what are you meant to do about that? And like, I don't know, Thing punches him through the shields. Everything that has come out has made Strange's matchups worse, and even changes they've made to these, like Thing now punching him out the sky, for example. Like, what are you meant to do against this? Like,
forgot about that too. I've not really seen it used as much in that way. It's more just like to dive in, get that extra vulnerability, and just like wreck face. We've seen a lot of
it got its money's worth this tournament. It definitely got its money's worth.
For sure.
Because I just don't know what his place in the meta will ever be again now, because there's so much CC other than just, pardon my language, pissing damage. I don't know what this guy is meant to do really.
You're good.
And maybe just like shifting left click a flyer, like Like that's
the
it.
Rick and Morty meme of like the robot, like, what is my like purpose? And it's just like, you just do Portal. Oh my
Portal.
god, that's kind of my problem with Strange, because he's such a cool design. I don't think you get rid of the Portal, because like you said, it's like a technological
Yeah,
advance to
you
go for
have
that
to
far,
keep that,
and it's
yeah.
very thematic. But I'm pretty sure all of the pro players would say, like, just get that element out of the game, and we would just have a better, less frustrating time with it, because it shouldn't feel like a game turning strategy of just making like just playing around the Portal.
Oh yeah, they didn't mention anything about thing for balance changes, which is interesting.
True.
Probably because they didn't really see the use case of it until like the later stages of MRC as well.
I
Maybe
think
went
it's.
on a-
I think it's fine. I think he's
I think it's
fine.
fine. Yeah.
He shouldn't be meta. He should not be like. You should never be blind picking thing. You should be picking him in cases where you really want what he does. He shouldn't be like seen every game. I think he's a lower skill hero.
We saw like first round bans for thing like throughout most of America.
in NA.
in
Yeah, I
NA.
saw this.
Yeah. Like
In
a
Europe
lot of
as
people are
well,
liking to
like,
play it. Yeah, Europe too.
Pacific had their upturn too.
Yeah. I think a
Good
lot of
thing.
people are
He's-
realizing
he's
like how
real.
good that is, especially when you're like diving into a team and just
Vulnerable
like
to
cleaning
one
face
shot.
too.
Yeah, vulnerable to one shot through support ults. Is
Don't
actually
need to use
way
cloak and
too
dagger
valuable.
anymore for it.
Yeah, I mean
Yeah.
you still
But one of
can
those-
with the buffs coming in, but
Yeah. We'll see.
you got more
It's
options.
also. It's like the most consistent damage reducer. It's like unironically, it's also the most consistent damage reducer probably in the game with his E, because he's not on a meter or anything. You just put it on somebody. You don't have to like mag shield catch something, and it's AOE as well. If you land on somebody, it goes to people around them.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's
So it's like
the
it's
major
like the
use
most
case for 'em.
consistent way to So it's like the most consistent way to live stuff like Mag Phoenix combo is unironically the thing just jumps on you.
And you're dead.
Yeah, it's not. A
It
skill
keeps you
shot.
alive, no? Or you can F
You mean
onto
for
the
the
Phoenix
damage
ult.
reduction? Yeah.
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 Or you could even like battle bond onto the Phoenix ult and jump in her face. Those are like he's just super good. Unironically, really good into what people are playing, and because he just takes damage, he doesn't mitigate it really. Like he just takes damage, you just get Gambit ult super quick.
Exactly. I was just saying that. Like that's why we saw so much triple tank, is so that you can just build those Gambit ults that much faster. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh man.
When he was a bad note, yeah.
Angela, who faces low risk thanks to her flight and shield.
Yeah,
will
so
be
the
standing
Angela
with
Gambit.
a balanced
I'm so curious
matchup
what they're gonna nerf
experience.
about Angela, because they said slightly
For
nerfed.
theorists-
So maybe like the length of her assassin's charge or something like that, or like the cooldown for
the
it.
meter of
I think it's gonna be
Cool
cooldown
down of the
for
charge
the
as well,
assassin's
just
charge.
up that a couple of seconds.
I think that'd be a
'cause
good
it
way
does
to
feel
change
like good Angelas just feel like they have it up so much
Oh yeah.
that they're just
Yeah.
able to pull you out. If you compare that to like Feral Leap, it just feels that Angela is just able to just. Maybe they make it louder so it actually bursts people's eardrums now. Like
Yeah, so
maybe
you can
that's-
actually
that's
tell
the
when
play.
it's coming towards you, and you're not
Yes.
just like an owl that's in flight that makes no noise.
I hope it's just something like uptime. I think she has a lot of uptime, like
Yeah.
a lot more than Wolverine, for example. Angela's like always the character. I think you just reduce her shield like recharge or something if you want to reduce uptime, which I
That
think
would be a
is
good
probably
way
the
to do
biggest
it
issue
too,
is
yeah.
that she's always like a character because she's if she's not shifting, then she's able to use axes, and then the shields recharge and she's able to go up and do it again. So she's got these big long cycles. Her kit naturally just cycles between, and she's got no downtime because of that. Just give her downtime by increasing the time it takes shield to recharge. Super easy fix.
Yeah, could also be something with like the way that she gets the extra damage when she skewers multiple people too. Could be nerfing that as well. Because I know that's
Yeah,
where
that's
like
true.
most of her like really good combos come from, is when you skewer two people, because then you can just like wreck face with it as well. So a couple different ways they can do it.
Yeah.
Daredevil appropriately nerfed. Finally dead.
I love the use of appropriately. Like
Appropriately.
That
It only
is so
took us a whole
specific
season to
to
figure it
Daredevil.
out. It only took us a whole season, but we got there.
That's a good
He's
question.
cool. He is cool.
From Zombie for you, Ryan. What was like the kind of pick and ban rate for Daredevil?
it was often, but it was a little bit lower than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
Like it depends on the teams, and just it felt like playing around it.
Yeah.
It just seemed that like duelist options were more to sort of play and poke at range, and then have ultimates that End Song, Jean Grey was just top dog. It felt like for most of
yeah.
it, and then little bits of Hela if you could find spaces. If the map suited Daredevil, like one of the points in Celestial Husk that was good. But other than that, it was kind of just like a lot of Bucky, because again, just more
much.
slam squish down ultimates. When you've got
And
the
Star-Lord.
thing damage boost, you just take everybody out their ultimates again.
Star-Lord
Yeah,
Gambit,
Star-Lord
Star-Lord
wasn't played an
Rocket.
awful lot, like the last couple of days especially. And he wasn't even banned out a lot. It just felt like other options were like more appropriate. But
Where are supports open? Like was Invis Gambit allowed to be a thing?
Gambit never. Invis often,
Really?
Yeah,
low-key
Gambit-
50-50 of whether he was allowed in or out. But mostly,
Respect-
as we got further on in the tournament, there was less low-key.
That's surprising.
Gambit was let through a lot in Americas. They played
Yeah, I was
so
gonna say,
much
I think if
Gambit.
Rocket's like, it depends on Rocket. I think if Rocket's probably not playable because you've got Invis open or something, then like you probably don't need Star-Lord. Star-Lord's like, I think you can do a lot to be old. There's a lot more interaction to it now than there used to be. There's way more answers to stuff like that.
Yeah, it's usually when Gambit gets through, you see a Star-Lord, unless they ban it on the other side. Typically how that goes. Oh, we saw some interesting combinations with Iron Fist as well, with the Gambit ultimate too. Just because like all the individual hits doing some crazy damage. That was always neat.
There was a hefty amount of Iron Fist because his stall's good. He just tends to block just in the face over
and he's getting
with,
buffed.
Like, his
let me
G.
go to that too.
I just think we're just replacing
which is
Daredevil for
crazy.
Iron Fist.
That's
like,
what I'm thinking as
we're
well.
in the Iron Fist meta
And
now.
Blade also getting buffed. I feel like Blade is a character that once they get to like a certain spot with the fine tuning of their kit, that they
There's
are
gonna be,
going
like,
to
a
be
sweet
like
spot.
so annoying.
I just hope it's not going to be one of those characters where, like, if you buff him a tiny bit, he's broken, but if you also nerf him a tiny bit, he's just unplayable.
I feel like he is going to
Bobo's
be that
paid off the
character.
devs, is what I feel like. You look at these two characters, and Tanuki as well, because I think Tanuki played both of these characters.
Yeah.
And actually, like, Blade has a better win rate
Pear
now than
played a little
Mr.
bit of Iron Fist
Fantastic
as well.
because of Vegito
Yeah.
Blue. Like,
Yeah,
it was
Vegito
nice
Blue.
to see Mr. Fantastic actually played in MRC, but he went 0-2 on it, and now, like, I don't know if we're going to financially recover as Mr. Fantastic plays.
Probably not.
Even after he got buffed as well.
He's in the best state he's been in. Is fantastic, but yeah,
True.
I'm not sure. Like you'll
not
never
like
see.
meta.
He's not meant to be played in tier 1. Like he's just
No.
not meant to be.
If
a
he
pro
did,
player.
it just feels like Brigitte levels of just, oh, God.
Something's
no,
gone
please.
wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is why I love him. Again, it's just like
It's
it's just
interesting
so
to
broke.
watch.
That's a good thing. It's like Squirrel Girl. You shouldn't see Squirrel Girl in pro play. These are low skill characters. Are good. They're
Yes.
fine. Yeah. But let them be
Yes.
low elo.
Really
stompers.
curious on how this is going to go for the Namor
It's a-
changes.
I think it's a necessary evil
It
buff.
is.
Like, you have to buff him. Like, they're nerfing Tidal Dirge. They're nerfing that, like, mainly that. It's like the anti-heal AoE thing. And then you're
'Cause that was the main
buffing
use
rest of
case
his
for him,
kit.
was like using that and then having the
Yeah.
Horn of Proteus and then like comboing that so that they can get like a KO from it. Sort
But
of.
it's
deal.
also the fact that they're buffing, like, some of the dive characters, like
Yeah.
Blade and Iron Fist, so it's going to help remedy that a little bit. I don't know if it's going to be enough. We're going to have to see the numbers for that one.
I don't know if you play
Losers
Namor. I
as per
mean,
usual of Vanguards.
do you think Namor ever gets played over like Phoenix though? Like I don't know if you
No.
ever willingly pick him
No.
if Phoenix is
And some
open and
Infernal
They
Hela's
also
shuts
didn't
down
open.
mention any
everything.
Phoenix nerfs, so we're definitely seeing more Phoenix meta again.
Yep.
I mean,
They actually didn't do anything about Phoenix ulting in really small rooms.
Yeah.
I
Well,
think that Phoenix is the best character in the game. I think not best character in the game, the best DPS probably right
Best
now
hit
in
scanner.
most
Yeah, no,
situations.
by far.
Yeah.
They just
most
stick
situations,
to
she's just by far the
everything.
best.
They're just
Yeah.
whether it's solo duelist, what kind of map, it just is always a good option with what she can provide. But
I
I
just don't know
think,
if Namor has a space because of that, right?
Yeah.
yeah, and I mean that should make it interesting. I was going to make a point. I think, yeah, Vanguards have to sort of struggle through it for the most part, but yeah, it would be nice
Yeah.
to sort of see Namor be used a little bit outside, because I do like, if Hela's protected, then the second band does need to come out onto Namor. But I
Yeah.
would like to see the option of Namor being thrown in without it feeling like it's either he has to team up or not.
Yeah, because that's kind of the scenario, right, where we saw with Hulk as well. Like when they were just getting focused so much because the team up was so powerful, but they outside of the team up just really weren't doing much. So I'm really curious how those changes are going to work
His
on
team up
that side of things
ability.
too. But the
Damages,
big thing for
Gambit's regular
Strategist, Gambit's regular combat power is being nerfed and his healing output, but his ult is not being touched allegedly. I don't think this
Disgusting.
is what we needed. We needed the ult to be touched more than anything else. Like
This is backwards. This is
I'm
completely
pretty
backwards.
happy with the ult like things, because what I was going to say before is like, it feels like a lot of the big balance changes they made in December, where they're kind of like, we're in the off season now, let's just buff everything and make more team ups. Like none of that stuff has been actually touched. Like I think that's why there's so little team ups actually in the balance nerfs, is because they added a load and they're like, we're going to see how it goes. Like, because a lot of those team ups are pretty mediocre, right? We're like the healing Black Widow and the like Moon
Terrible. Yeah.
Hawkeye like slash heal. Like
yeah.
nothing's going to get done about those because they're so like low impact, low stakes. But I think for a lot of the other bigger balance changes that they made, I could see 6.5 bringing a lot of like, okay, yeah, before MRC, we're going to bring some of these down. Now it's just this is egregious. We need to deal with it now, otherwise people are just going to
So
not want
true.
to play.
Do you know why this is the scariest change in the world to me? This is like, I'm really, really worried about this. This is a change that I think is really, we'll see what it is obviously soon, but like, it's a really dangerous potential. Right now, the pro meta in a lot of spaces seems to just be like, you play Gambit and you farm ult. You don't shoot.
That's all you do, yeah.
And fake shoot, I'm fake shooting is a real call out in scrims and stuff because you don't want to deal damage to opponents because then they get Gambit ult.
That's true.
Because if you can't instantly kill something and it lives, then you're just giving the enemy their win condition. So if you give Gambit less healing and stuff, and his ult takes longer to get because he's got lower numbers, you spend more time between fights just fake poking each other, just literally not playing the game. So I genuinely, if that is what the meta turns into at high elo, is just fake shooting whilst Gambit pretends to do something, I think that might be the worst patch of all time.
Yeah, they definitely need to nerf it enough so that you don't have to worry about that and you can just go for the KOs that much easier, right? And because the healing is nerfed to such a degree. Or yeah, could just be permabanned. I mean, I don't know. In Americas, we saw it go through so much because of MRC bans specifically, but I'm sure in Ignite bans it'd be a different story.
Yeah.
Also glad to see the inverse nerfs finally coming through. The Guardian Shield and self-healing being appropriately nerfed. Another appropriately nerf mention as well for them. Aside Daredevil on that side. But yeah, I mean, these are changes that we've been waiting, but it all depends on what the changes are, right? That's gonna be what it comes down to. I think we're not gonna be getting the unfortunately the balance patch in time for the end of the show today, so probably do that next week, do some coverage of it for that episode of Rivals and Rants. But outside of what we can talk about now, this is what we have on that side. As I posted the season battle pass instead, so probably later today they'll post the actual balance patch like tonight or something like that. Because we're recording this live for people who are watching this later and might be wondering, why are you guys talking about that? Cloak and Dagger, though, their Veil of Light Force and Terror Cape will now share charge count. So more Terror Capes is what I'm understanding for this. That's a good buff, in my opinion. Makes it more use case out of Cloak and Dagger. But is it enough for them to be played again? Because we really only saw, I think, like Renko playing some Cloak and Dagger, and that just never worked out.
Is this even a buff? Like, because in theory, if they're both on cooldown, then you're only charging once. You're only charging one at the same time. If you're both on cooldown, like, this is a nerf.
It's shared.
Yeah, it's like the opposite of the buffs that came in for Magneto, where like the bulwark on him and his putting on like a separated, not the same. So yeah, this feels like you're gonna see less capes from both sides because they share the same utility. So maybe it's like they reduced the cooldown of it to stop it feel like you're just spamming
or
them.
give you like
so,
an extra
like,
one of them or something.
If you have no charges, it charges twice as fast. Yeah.
I mean, this is weirdly
have
worded.
to work that way in order for it to like not be, because it could. This is very possibly like a nerf, as silly as it sounds.
Yeah, what's after the comma? Because it might be like Life Force will share counts, but now they left click and the whole server dies.
Just giving players more options based on the battlefield situation.
So it has to be a 2 charge, but it's
I'm assuming
shared.
it's 2 charge, yeah.
Yeah. So I don't think it was. I mean, I don't play Cloak and Dagger. I haven't for
it's just one each.
So I don't think most people have.
Yeah, it's one separate cooldown.
Yeah, so I'm assuming
like
it'd be 2. You can choose to do if you want to do 2 capes or 2 of the other one, but I don't know.
A heal boost.
Just imagine 2 Terror Capes just bang bang.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Like,
play that with thing.
The window,
it's
the
like
burst
Galactic
window.
Legend,
The burst window
and it's just Cloak and Dagger just going like just throwing all of these like Terror Capes, Loki copies, 4 Terror Capes, just yeeting them out.
Can you imagine?
That'd be so silly.
That's the new meta. Here's a good question before we move on to like the hero spotlight. So they're asking some suggestions to fix the triple support situation, like reducing healing amounts or adding anti-heal more that'll make people just have more supports. Like, what are your guys' thoughts in terms of like how they could remedy triple support being a thing?
Nerf support, buff DPS.
Yep.
Yeah.
Give DPS way more. If DPS can kill more and you have more pressure and DPS is able to do more its role more effectively, then you won't play triple support because you can't out heal the damage. And it's better to play that second DPS anyway because you are more likely to get kills. But right now, the fact that there is many supports that can comfortably dual damage DPS heroes, it's just, why would you ever pick them?
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense.
There's also like the, I guess, I don't know what the devs are like trying to consider like the team play aspect of it, just trying to burst down like a single person, like someone important. That's probably the direction that the devs were going for. Just like having tools in order to potentially like kill someone through a support ulti. Something like that. Like you have CC, you have anti-heal, you have vulnerability now on the thing, and CNV.
You could only allow
But-
2 strategists on a team. Yeah, that could be a way to do it. But
I think I saw some people say like you just nerf it. You have like a
percentage-based nerf.
repercussion in base.
Yeah,
Yeah,
if you
like
have 3
your
strategists.
healing numbers are reduced by 5% if you have more than 2 strategists on a team.
But there's still like caveats when playing triple strategist. Like you don't charge your ulti as fast. You're gonna miss out on potential damage.
Not even
against the
true.
other team.
Like, do you actually charge him much slower? Because I mean, I don't even know if that's
Because
true.
the
Like if your
healing's being
gambit
spread
just
out
shoots
between
tanks.
a couple more people. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like
there
you
was
just shoot.
There was a game in EMEA where it was like they had Rocket and Invis, and they just sort of had like the Adam did like 6k healing in 10 minutes because the Adam was just there to do damage. Like he didn't do any soul bond maybe now and again, really, but like he got counter revival a lot later, which is nice. But it was just like letting the other strategists heal. I think the biggest problem like is like the perception of it, right? Because we've all seen that clip of like the map starting. I can't remember which stream it was, where nobody shot at the start of it because nobody wanted to farm strategist ultimates and stuff. Like that's from like as being like one of those like OG like Overwatch people, like Goat's comp was never that bad in the moment. It was the perception of it. It's the fact that you had gold players thinking like this is meta, this is how to play. No, it isn't. It really is like the top 1%, but it was just that it took over the game so much, and that's all it was known for. And then the devs didn't really seem to do much about it, that it got out of hand, and then all credibility went. And I think everybody, even the people like the top streamers in this game, are fishing for those moments to be like, this is the nail in the coffin for the game. So you don't want to be seeing clips like that if you're the devs. But I do think that the devs see stuff like that. They see triple strategists. They see how strong Adam Warlock was before, and they kind of like manage to get there just in time. But this is always going to be like this is the Sisyphus pushing a rock up a hill moment. Like if there isn't roll lock in, this is going to keep happening one way or another. And you're going to get frustrated strategist players, super strong strategist players, always frustrated vanguards, but like this is always going to feel like it's like in that spot. So I kind of trust that NetEase are aware of this because they have to be. If you're making a hero shooter, learn please the lessons of the predecessors before you that managed to screw it up, please. But it doesn't mean that you have to just kind of be like it has to be roll lock. I like the idea of like the more strategists you have, the less healing it is. But again, it's just how do you realistically want to like approach this? Because people are going to make up their minds from seeing very little clips of how balanced this game is, especially from an esports perspective.
I think they also need to just change the ban system in ranked as well. Is like another thing to talk about on that side. I think having 2 bans and having it so all the bans could technically be duplicates is not the way to go, especially with the way that we keep getting more and more heroes. So we'll see if they change that eventually. Here is though the hero spotlight for Deadpool. Here we go. There is so much going on in this that I'm like I know we're not going to have enough time to go through all of it, but we'll give it like kind of a cursory look and see like things that we point out and our thoughts on it as we can, because we only have so much time today. Like it's a 2-minute and 24-second video that really could be spent like multiple hours just going through and seeing how it all works. Very complicated here, I mean, on how this is going to work.
Godspeed to all of the content creators that have to do videos and all of this stuff. Like, I've not done it in a while. I don't think I could go back to that life of like new character, go over all of the abilities and interactions because, like,
I know.
Good lord, this is a lot.
Yeah, I know Cozy and Shib already have like blurbs on the breakdowns of it.
Did you scan that, Minty?
I'm trying to right now. There's a hidden QR code in the new trailer for Battle Pass. And it says on the page, locate and find the mysterious QR code to find a secret page. Who knows what mysteries are hidden within the museum after dark? I'm just wondering if it takes you to patch notes.
That'd be cool. Give you an early preview of the patch notes.
All right. Here we go. All right.
If you can do it, it's literally at the end of the Battle Pass trailer. There's like a ticket.
Okay, let's go to that real quick since you got me intrigued.
So right at the last few seconds.
You said right
at the last few seconds. Like the last few seconds, just go before this, like a couple seconds back.
Oh, before the banner. Oh, okay.
Just before the banner comes up. Yeah. It's like all the skins on the same like lining up. 49
also,
seconds.
That Manta skin's so cool.
Yeah, the Manta skin is.
Oh, it's trying to play in 4K. That's why it's bugging. There we go.
You might want it on a high res.
Let's see.
Just after this. I think this is like the last thing. Yeah. And you see it right there.
Oh
on
yeah,
that
right
ticket.
there.
Oh snap! Hold on.
Let me see.
All right, I'm gonna
I'm
try it. I'm
pulling
gonna
it
try
up.
it on my end.
It's not working.
Yeah, I can't get on my
Um,
phone. It's so
I can't
annoying.
get it.
Am I on
Maybe if I put it to 4K.
I am on 4K. I am on 4K.
You know, if you put it on a TV, it could work.
That's a good shout.
Now I'm thinking about it. You need a bigger monitor.
I just end up accidentally screen sharing it to like a neighbor's TV. They've just got like it just comes up because everybody around me, like I'm not gonna dox myself, but like I'm like, okay, let me just like put my thing to my Alexa, my AirPods, and then I just hear my music blasting out of somebody's house like 2 doors down because of
Yeah,
left
it
it
doesn't work.
open and because they're old, they don't
trust.
understand how to lock it. It's
But
ridiculous.
it's free marketing.
Doesn't work.
Yeah, I'll just play Rivals to the End over and over again, like for the full MRC experience. Like,
Let's go.
that's one thing I would like for Ignite 2026.
Yeah,
Somebody
I
already
need
put it in chat.
music.
More music, please. The music that the ESL Basic guys got for grand finals was so good.
Dude, that was sick.
that
It was the
sick.
most like cookie cutter like esports broadcast music.
We were all like jamming during the breaks.
Yeah, because we've only heard 2 songs all year.
Yeah, I guess
Rivals
before we
to
go
the
into
End,
the
Fate
of both
Deadpool
worlds.
video, we'll just quickly go through this battle pass just to show off all the skins and everything too. So it looks like we have another disco costume coming in this time. I think this is for Invisible Wound, right?
I
think
guess
that's Luna.
Yeah.
Oh,
Or is
no,
it
that's not Luna.
Invis?
Luna's got a different one,
Oh, it's Invis. That's Invis. That's
Yeah.
Invis. Yeah.
And we got a new
I see the
Venom,
pose at the end.
which
Dude,
that's
was
just so
sick.
weird.
It
Here's
looks
the cool
so
Moon Knight
though.
one. Moon Knight had a lot of usage during MRC as well.
Brownie
Afro
might go.
Blade,
Brownie
new
might go.
Bucky, just a blue Star Lord. This one's kind of meh.
That might be the free one.
Yeah, I like the Mantis one. Interesting Wolverine one. That one's dope. This is like the common accurate one for Black Panther and Storm. But yeah, here's the actual like full look at everything. Yeah, the Star-Lord one's kind of meh. This is so weird.
Yeah, it does look a little.
So weird. I don't know what's
you don't
going
have
on.
any
there.
options to go for it.
Yeah,
It's
With
cool.
Venom
It's gonna be
stuff.
so
Definitely a
weird.
comic reference, but it's cool.
probably, yeah.
Do you think it's going to change his hitbox, like the Lady Loki skin?
Oh, maybe.
I don't know actually. It would
It
depend.
does more
looks
damage
bigger.
if you
It's
headshot
bulky,
him if you
especially
actually
with
hit
that.
his head.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
like, I like
imagine.
the Blade
Pay
skin.
to
I like
lose.
the Blade costume. It's pretty dope.
Same thing, right? It just gives him like more on the head. Like, is it pay to lose?
Shoot,
Storm
yeah,
one's pretty dope too.
There's no afro, but
And then the Black Panther one's like pretty cool too. That's a costume specific one. Yeah, I
like
think
that
it's an
they've
okay battle pass. We've seen better, of course. And then there's also the Deadpool costume specific one that
Oh, I
drops
haven't
with
seen
the
this.
game. Yeah, so he's like a swashbuckler. So I think it's a
oh
legendary
my
one as well.
god, just even like the walking animation
Yeah.
needs to just the Captain Pugwash theme just playing whilst he's going in. So yeah, we were talking about like the ultimate as we mentioned it, but like when it comes up with Jetpot, I think that's when you like hit the combos or the
Yeah.
abilities that you need to hit.
January 16th.
Captain Pool.
Yeah, not really showing us much with that one in comparison. Didn't even show like the MVP screen and all that. But yeah, it seems like they're showing a little less for this season in compared to some of the other ones on that side as well. But yeah, if anyone does manage to scan that QR code, let us know.
I'm
Might
still
just do it.
trying.
I think it's just like, I think it's
Yeah,
just
me
like
too.
a graphic than anything else. Not
It's too
not
blurry,
true,
yeah.
QR code.
Does anybody know? Just one. Sorry, the Ignite on the screen just inspired me. Does anyone know if if it's confirmed that any of the teams from previous Ignites are invited back? Like other than
It's
the
not
teams that
confirmed
get
right now.
partnered,
No,
obviously.
there's
Not
the only
confirmed.
things that we know is that the partner teams will be in Ignite Stage 1 and preseason and all that. They'll have protections of some sort to not get relegated, whatever that is. And then there's guest teams, which we have no idea what a guest team is, that are getting invited to preseason, and then at least one team from season 6. So who knows?
We know that MRC will have a qual. Yeah, I wondered if guest teams was their way of saying if you did well in stage 2, you'll come
That's
back.
what I'm thinking, but like
Kind of-
all those teams have broken apart, right? So it's like who
Well,
gets
it's
the
clubs,
spot?
isn't it? Because
Yeah.
between stage 1 and stage 2, and almost no team went.
The
was
only
same.
teams that are kind of around still is like Chopped, like
Just the same.
yeah, we have Chopped. Final Dance is breaking apart. I saw. A
Yeah,
lot
they
of them
broke
are
up
looking for
today.
team.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure
Is
if you, I
Insomnia
mean,
still
they,
together? Like you're from that side.
these guys would a lot of these are teams that would come back together in a heartbeat if they got an option to compete.
That's the tough part, yeah.
If you went to Insomnia and you said to those players, by the way, Insomnia the club has the invite back. Do you want to
Yeah.
be Insomnia again? Like most of them, or maybe all but one or two would come
Yeah.
back and say yes. And you know,
I know Naga
and the
has like
same
a
is
team
true.
he's building or something, so maybe he'll get a spot. Who knows?
I don't want to. I mean, I mean, that guy will get an org. He's so good.
Yeah.
I know that.
He's
I know he's
really-
talking to at least one.
Yeah.
And then there's like the two teams that kind of broke up from OGC that formed different rosters. There's like the Vice
Cooking with
version
Kaya.
of it. Cooking with Kaya.
Cooking
Like,
with
I wonder if
Kaya,
they'll get an
yeah.
invite.
Cooking with Kaya. I think. I mean, it's just teams who did well in stage. I think it would just be the teams. Guess teams I'd imagine would be stage 2 teams that did well.
You don't think they'll look at all at MRC?
I don't think this MRC, like not season 5.
Yeah,
I
maybe.
don't think.
Who
I'd be
knows?
surprised if they did.
don't
There's
know.
so many,
They might
so
take a
many-
look because if assuming that season 6's meta is like drastically different, if you're
Yeah.
like consistent between meta shifts, then that's like a
I guess.
huge.
There's so-
I
like, a
think
huge
I think it'd
plus.
have some weight, but I think the reason why we don't know is because it would change region to region.
Yeah,
Like,
that
you
could
wouldn't
be
be
the
like,
case.
there's
Yes,
X amount of
they
teams
need-
really.
Well, they need to know who the partners are, because as far as
Yeah.
what I'm like, what is
Probably
what
mainly
is being
Americas.
rumbled is that they're not like discriminating against region. They could be 12. All 12 could be
Could be
North
all
American
Americas.
clubs.
Well, I don't think it
Yeah, or it
can
could be
because
all
there
Asian.
has to
That'd
be
be
some sort of
scuffed.
guest teams and one qualification at least. So
Well,
it can't be 12.
my understanding is that like my understanding from whatever I've have or haven't heard, from my understanding of it again, and this might not be 100% accurate, is that they're signing the clubs and the clubs are able to say what region they would prefer to have a roster in.
Oh,
but
so
the
it could be
clubs will get-
American clubs, but they
So
pick
they
up a
could-
roster from somewhere else.
Yeah, so like for example, the strong rumor. I mean, actually, someone's mum leaked this, which is so funny. Actually, someone's mum posted it on LinkedIn. Is that Citadel is dropped their EU roster
Yeah.
aside from Poly and is moving to NA.
Yeah.
So they could, if they were a partner team, for example, they would be a partner club still, but they could then take their spot to whatever region they want to, basically. Which is why that 12 number exists, because in theory,
Hit Polly with them.
well, that's exactly what they've done. Poly's going to NA, yeah. That's what I don't want to say whose mum. Someone's mum posted it on LinkedIn.
That's
they
so
got shared
funny.
around.
I have a rough idea.
Yeah, I think we have a rough idea.
when I hear X's mum, I'm like, okay, yeah, exactly. But like, also,
Yeah.
Citadel was an NA org that started in NA that went to
They
EU.
were,
So
yeah.
it's like
Yeah.
no love lost. Like they're just gonna
They
go
didn't
wherever
want
they
to go
need
to
to.
EU, I don't think. They just wanted to pick up Berber Patapin because they won the EU, they won EU stage 1 before they went to finals. So they wanted to sign them before LAN.
Yeah, I like it's nice to have them involved and not, like again, no.
Yes.
love
Yeah,
lost,
they
I
got a
don't
dope
think, from
roster that they're
anybody.
working on, from what I've heard.
Yeah, and when
but
you got to
yeah.
play like Paulie, because he did play in NA MRC, which makes sense.
Yeah,
'Cause I was
I'm
like,
really
what's he doing
curious
over there?
on
Like,
how like FlyQuest is going to look, because all of their players are pretty much finding new rosters from what I've heard. So like if they come back, or whenever they do, like that's going to look completely different for like a lot of these teams, right? 100 Thieves, if they do come back, if they do the partnership with Crazy Raccoon and have like they just have their Pacific team that they pick up or something like that, or who knows? I mean, we've seen TSM have teams in Pacific before, so like if they picked up a team, maybe they pick up one there. TSM Chopper Mag would be dope. Is all I'm saying.
Oh my god. that would-
Chopper Mag needs an org. Is all I gotta say.
They got offers, but they didn't like him, I don't think.
No, which makes sense. Because they're like the best team in Pacific right now.
Yeah, by
It's
a
not
lot, I
even
think.
close,
As well.
by a
yeah.
long shot.
Duncan makes a good point though. Like maybe the guest teams are just the orgs who didn't make the partnership program. I mean, that's what I was thinking
this-
as well.
I
on
think
side.
that would it's because especially
That would make
orgs are going to
sense.
have like a rough idea on that. Like from knowing it from knowing orgs that like applied for the Valorant system, right? Where that was more, it's like same sort of thing. You apply,
Yeah.
you get paid to be a part of it through all of these different like deliverables. But like, yeah, you tend to just have to. We want to sign like these players. Maybe there's a Spanish org that's like, we want to build a team around Line Pro because he's got a big audience.
Oh,
and,
yeah,
like,
I
he's
hope
got
someone
good
picks
pro
him up.
experience. So like, sort of go from there. You might sign one player and then sort of build it around that point. But it tends to be
Who knows?
these orgs will have to have a little bit of like an idea of a follow through, and then teams that are more likely to do that, whether it is like Foot going, we were involved. I don't know whether they actually kept their
That's a
team
great
through
example.
MRC.
But
like,
yeah, they had the
we're
team for
involved,
MRC,
we're
but
gonna change
they
up our
dropped
team.
most of the roster afterwards. I saw.
Yeah, but said
everyone.
we're still invested. We still want to go and be a part of it, which is what you want. You don't you don't want the situations like happened in Valorant where it was like so many orgs really wanted to be in partnership. As soon as they didn't get in, they spat their dummies out and were like, well, screw this. So at least having guest things is like, we only have so many positions. We might add more in the future. Who knows? But at the very least, we're going to give you an in if you pick up the team that you say you want to pick up and go and do these things. But it has to be to the benefit of the players and the teams instead of picking up, your best mates and hoping that that's going to be enough. Because that happens enough in these spots anyway.
Yeah, I hope also, like, speaking of just picking up your best mates, that they have some sort of roster continuity rules for MRC, right? Because there is going to be those points that you need to make it into the mid-season qualifiers, and then also making it into 2027. So, like, who's going to keep that? Is it just going to be the faction? Is just the faction owner going to own all the points? Is it going to be per player? Like, how that's going to work? Like, they need that to be fleshed out like crazy.
This was a thing between stage 1 and stage 2. I think I could talk about this now probably, but like at the time there was initially there was a statement that NetEase released, and whenever they release a statement, you do have to take it with a grain of salt because it gets translated from Chinese to English, and some stuff is lost or miscommunicated. As we've seen, there was some, especially with like the land travel, there was a big confusion with that and how things were worded. But basically, one of the things that they said initially was that you had to have each club had to maintain 4 of the roster in order to keep their spot. Was a statement that some people received at the time, and this is part of why I think I can say there was at least one club in Europe. I won't say who it was because I don't know if they want me to say, but who was reshaping their roster and wasn't even sure if they were going to be able to compete.
Yeah, I think I remember hearing
at
about
least
that,
three of their at least 3 of their players knew they wanted to leave to go and form another
team. Some of them had to like do like a bench scenario where they like had some of them still on the bench. Yeah.
So they were trying to basically say, well, look, we're trying to basically convince these players to stay with us as subs, but not so that we can say we have 4 of the original players.
Yeah, I remember that.
And stuff like this was happening, like, and then that changed. And obviously, we saw, for example, I think Dildux took the Techie XD spot in NA, and they had 0 returning players. And there was a few examples where like clubs basically just came in with whole different rosters, no returning players, and retaining the spot.
Yeah,
so
they need to have something established public for these teams to know how it's all going to work, not have it be behind closed doors. You cannot allow something like that to be kind of like up to a game time decision, especially if it's with qualification for the major league, right? You need to know like how roster continuity is going to work, what the roster windows for transfers are going to be like in between seasons.
Transfer windows are so important.
Yes. Yeah, especially because you don't want like a team going into the qualifiers for promo relegation, then being like, oh yeah, let's just drop our roster and pick up a whole different team, but still hold our spot because we're an org, right? Like, is that going to work for those partner teams?
And orgs will do that.
Completely do that.
Yeah.
Like, I'm curious if they need to have some sort of
the
continuity of at least a couple players, or if they can just completely say, oh, we don't want you anymore, send you off to the fishes, and then pick up a whole new team, and then still have an Ignite spot.
It depends, because there's some notable. For example, from what I've heard, there's a Fnatic in Rainbow Six does this, where they have a spot, no relegation, and they are able to offer pretty lower end salaries for the esport just because they have the spot.
Yeah.
So because they have the spot, there's no fear of relegation. They can pick up whoever, and if you want a chance to compete, you have to sign to Fnatic or another org, right?
Yeah.
They're able to just pay lower. So having a relegation system in place also is better for the player. On the player side of it and the staff side of it, etc., because it means that it's more competitive for the orgs to sign these players. Because the orgs can get kicked out if they just sign bad players. If good players don't want to sign to them, then there's consequences for that.
Yeah, I'm really curious what those protections are going to be too.
Yeah, I mean, that's what they have to sort out, right? Because I think obviously we want more orgs in the game, but it turns into a bit of a monkey paw. Like having so many orgs just means that some of them have got the ability to just frankly exploit players. Orgs will follow the money. That's why the Esports World Cup is such a big focus for everything. That's why so many people would want Marvel Rivals there. But I think one of the things that I would say about that is, because I've had pros bring it up, I've had also don't panic if Marvel Rivals isn't going to be a part of the Esports World Cup, because for one, Esports World Cup Saudi wants everything out of their circuit. They want what's happening with Siege, where now the whole year basically goes into Esports World Cup now for Rainbow Six Siege. That's what they want for every game. They want every game to go into them and then be the focus of it. NetEase also want to do that. And NetEase are a big company. They have a lot of money. They're working with Marvel. They want to have maintain a hold of their own game. Yeah. So don't be surprised if it's not so much that they're not playing ball, because stuff like Naraka and such NetEase games are at the Esports World Cup. but it is also like Marvel. Like it's a
different
very
ballgame.
delicate
Yeah.
situation. I don't want to get
Yeah.
into it too much, but
Different
it's just one of those
partnerships
cases
and
of
all that
like
kind of stuff.
You can read between the lines, can't you?
Yeah.
yeah, it's just you don't need
It's
to
not
shoehorn
surprising if
this
it's not
game
there.
in to be like, just because it's not an esports World Cup doesn't mean that it's not a valid esport. And I think the biggest testament to this is $3 million prize pool last year, $3 million prize pool this year. Even if it was like
Plus.
$2.5 million this year, people would go, it's less than last year. They're pulling back resources.
Yeah.
But in reality, it's the same. It's going to cost more unless we're going to be out of a job. They've put out casting calls to add more people. So I would assume that it's a case of like more casts, more broadcasts and stuff. It's nice to see at least that he's go, yeah, we're building off of like last year. And it's not, we're doubling the prize pool. We're doing these crazy stuff. It's like, okay, incrementally, we're making next year
Uncapped
better.
prize
And I'd imagine
pool as well, whatever
2027
that means
is
too, is
a
going
lot
to be
stronger.
interesting.
The rumor was that there was going to be esport bundles, right? The esport
They did
bundles
say
would
that.
like
Yes.
some of it, you might be able to buy like an Ignite skin. Like if it's just having the Star-Lord skin, you'd be able to buy Ignite skins for anyone, and then maybe 50% of that goes towards the prize pool.
Yeah, like
That's
the
way to
champ
do it.
skins.
Dota
for
does that.
Valorant.
Dota 2 does
Yeah.
this. Yeah.
Or used to.
Yeah.
That would make
I don't think
sense.
they do it anymore, from what I've heard.
Oh, they
Oh.
still do, but I think it's more of a battle pass now than a thing.
Gotcha.
But
Oh.
yeah,
Yeah,
I mean that's the
probably.
best way to do it. Is like from again in Valorant where everybody has their own like classic skins or titles. Like it just tends to be, for example, you might have a team that has like a red color code. This is going really off track, but I find it really interesting.
It's
Like
all good.
Sentinels, like a team that's known for being red,
Yeah.
but because there's so many red teams in the franchise system in Valorant, those teams that are known for being red are now going purple, blue. They're going for these other colors that they know from the sales numbers which skins sold well last year, and they're just
Which
copying
is
what
so
worked
funny.
last year.
Yeah.
So it's just like, what is even the point? Like teams are just giving up their whole brand identity to just go and try and like chase a buck. So I like the idea of like having the champ skins where the top 16 teams that end up at like the grand finals, there's a grand final skin, 50% of the revenue goes to those teams equally, because then you have like a $1 million prize pool if it's going to be the same as last year on top of those that do well. And that mostly goes to the players, as it should be, right? Like put Ignite in front of people. People go, oh, these skins are really nice. What's this for? It's the esports ones. Yeah, I'll support like the pro players in this. Like it's Ogs, especially in Valorant, where they got into partnership where they get paid to be a part of it. They have to hit certain deliverables. A lot
Yeah.
of those Ogs put in the bare minimum, like skeleton crews, screwed up paying their players, got into a lot of trouble for it. It's like if you give them the means to just, even if they're being paid to just participate, a lot of Ogs will still just put in enough effort, right? So yeah, these protections are really important as the TLDR, like
Yeah, well,
especially
I
for the
hope they have
players
some
and then the most
sort of
important
player
people.
protections, because like we don't
I
want another
mean-
scenario, right, where we had the mid-season champions have to go through qualifiers. That should never happen.
Oh,
in
yeah.
esports.
That was ridiculous.
That was-
Yeah.
that
Because
was-
Rant kept
So-
the fact that the org kept the thing, and this is no hate if Blitz is watching or anyone from the Rad crew, it's absolutely crazy that they had these spots, didn't give it to the team and just let it just go. Yeah, it was crazy, and there was mixed communication at the time on if there was going to be one qualifier or two. Because if you remember
Yeah, that's right.
first time,
Yeah.
I think the first time round there was six, because there was 6 spots they were bringing in, I think, or something like that, right? They had to do 6 for stage 2 for whatever reason, and one of the things that they did was they did it as 4 and 2, which was weird because what they did last time when they had to do, because it was meant to be 4, I think. No, it was.
It was some
I
sort
don't
of
remember.
amount. Yeah,
It was some
and
reason
also
why.
they only played in the second qualifier too. So the teams who like played
Yeah,
in the
'cause it was
second
yes.
qualifier
for the
had to go
first,
through
And
the
there was-
world champions.
Because there was a load of confusion on how it was going to work, because there was a lot. It wasn't communicated very well how the qualifiers were going to work, and a lot of people thought that it was going to be one qualifier for 6 teams, because they did that in stage 1 with in EU. If you remember, they did the second qualifier had 6 teams get in, because they said that all the top 4. So if you made it to top 4, you just got in. But then the teams that lost in top 8 had to play each other again to decide, which is how FYR Strays, they had to beat not OTPs, and how Shmungus, who I don't remember who they beat Exodia, I think,
Yeah.
which was the Yigi 4K team. They had to beat those guys to get into stage 1. And a lot of people thought that was how, because there was, I don't know why, but for some reason they had to set 6 teams or something in for that qualifier. A lot of people thought they would do the exact same thing. So when Team 1 didn't play the first qualifier, there was a lot of people panicking. They're like, oh my god, they're not even going to get a spot. That should never be a thing.
Yeah,
I mean,
so
didn't they
hopefully-
get extended time for the roster like lock because of all of the shit that happened? Because they were dealing with that whilst also dealing with like Melio going to Citadel.
Yeah,
Like
that
it was
too.
a shit show, and it impacted teams like FaZe and stuff. Like it was very much almost emergency extra time was added to make up for that. So there was even a world where Navi didn't participate at all, but they got preferential treatment because they were the best team in the world at that point.
A few clubs submit. I mean, the deadline is it's not a suggestion, but if you turn around after deadline and say, "Look, this has happened. We need to make a change," they're not going to turn around and say, "Nope." Like if you get an org offer like the day after the deadline, they're not going to turn around and say, "Sorry, you're going to miss out on your thing, and you're going to compete as piss shit esports instead of Navi or whatever." Right? You're going to.
I can't wait for the piss shit like esports bundle that's going to be added in.
You know what I mean? Like we're not going to make you compete as independent.
Yeah, no, it's good that they're removing the open qualifiers in general, so it's a bit more sustainable. They just need to have some like actual outlined rules on how that continuity and everything's going to work, and having deadlines that they stick to for everything as well. On all those kind of changes. But we only have so much time because I know Dan has to go at the top of the hour. So let's get through this video and then quickly go through MRC because there's only a couple things really to talk about with what happened this past weekend. So we're not going to go super in depth. We're going to play the video out. Pause whenever you guys tell me to pause so we can kind of like look at specific abilities and all that. And then yeah, this character is insane is all I got to say. You can see Vanguard, Duelist Strategist. You could pick whatever you want to be played with them. So Deadpool is just going to be one of those heroes that you just have a lot of fun with and a lot of different abilities that are available to them. So like already on the duelist side of things, you see this like katana that you throw, which is your right click. And then you can kind of like dash towards them as well with another right click, mind you. So I guess you can just change your right clicks that you have available to you once you shift your weapon. So it's kind of similar to Blade, right? Where he has his gun mode and he has his sword mode. So you have something similar to that, very similar.
I'm surprised they put it into a left shift toggle instead of like the weapon switch thing.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
That's nice though. I like that.
Yeah, and he's got his own like
Daredevil, right?
Stuff.
Wait, what?
Like Daredevil with like the leap and then having the cross and then something else.
Yeah, very.
So maybe
very
you would have a UI
too.
thing on screen that's like, oh, if you press this, you get this. You press this, you get that.
I'm also curious, like, what these letters mean for the ultimate, right? If it's like a combo that they do, like leading up to it, because we'll see later on that it does a couple other things. The E also does like a little bit of a self boost. It seems like the Deadpool in your area, depending on what that is.
That's the circle, like the aura thing.
Yeah, and then there's the skill issue where like if you hit someone with your ults, that it makes them if they miss,
I think that's
they take damage.
I think that's the
great.
funniest ability. I think that's so funny to me.
Yeah, so there's like a couple different like ways this changes. I think he just used the E there. This meter builds up, so I think that's the headshot one specifically.
Did this Deagles get gold when he upgraded it?
Let's see. Yeah, they did.
Yeah,
they did get gold.
Oh, that's cool.
That's the visual change that we were talking about. If how you know how stuff is changing for Deadpool, in terms of their abilities.
I mean, yeah.
Because like right now they're just normal Deagles, and then once they're upgraded, they are golden Deagles on that side. So that is one way you
I
can
can just imagine on attack on like Yggdrasil, you're staring out the window and you've just got the like Deadpool
it's
like
that...
hiding his hands like under like by the door so you can't see if it's golden guns or golden swords, whatever. Like they're playing Deadpool, but which one we don't know.
That's true. Yeah, there's also like the katana comes back where it can stay in one spot and do like a lot of damage like that as well, which is interesting.
Boom.
Yeah, so that must be the upgrade.
Also, I'm curious on how this is working. So when he's looking at his abilities and people are just ignoring him.
You can still walk.
Like you could still walk, yeah, but is this like you don't take damage while you're doing it? Like, or is this just a comedic thing, right? I'm really curious on how that's working.
I think that's just a funny.
Yeah, it could just be like a funny thing that they're doing.
There's can't wait for all of the streamers being like Deadpool book only to Celestial.
Oh man. So yeah, I guess whenever they upgrade it, it goes to like a gold is what you can see with like the effects. So yeah, the katanas are gold here as well.
Oh yeah. There it is. Oh, that looks cool though.
So yeah, the Deadpool in your area, duelist version of it as well. Kind of pops off as this like AoE, and then you can just do like a lot of abilities. It makes it so your screen is covered. Similar to the Jeff Teamup, and then I think his deployable as well when he is a Vanguard on that side. So that's just gonna be so annoying to deal with. Just everything. You just have the ink on your screen as you were talking about, Ryan, from Mario Kart on that one. And then, yeah, being able to just tank damage and not take anything when you are having your little selfie mode.
Wait, it's full invul. Oh my god, it is full invul. That's crazy. I thought it'd be like just really big damage reduction.
Yeah, you take no damage.
Nope. Oh, that's 0 damage. Oh
Yeah.
my god.
So you're gonna see a lot of people just stalling point after they
gonna
get
be
a
so
KO,
funny.
just going up to the body and just posing with it so they don't take damage whenever someone tries to ult.
It's like a good like 2-3 seconds too.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Also looks like the space can be used as like a jump slash from this as well. The KO's Magneto with that. Yeah. Interesting.
Oh, that is.
Yeah, that's why I'm like curious if
Ow.
this whole thing when he's like using his book, if he can even be seen or something, right? That could be a thing
He
as
could
well.
probably be seen.
Yeah.
but
Yeah, he
just-
definitely
He's
is seen.
probably very susceptible to being taken out, but it's just showing like
Yeah,
your
just like a
teammates.
comical thing. Yeah.
Your Vanguard Deadpool is just.
I
We
wonder if
need to
it's gonna be
push. and
like-
he's just in his book, and he's
I
like, "No,
wonder
no,
if
no,
he-
you could leave it."
I wonder if he's only able to use the book out of combat.
Could be. Yeah.
I don't know if that might be a thing because it's gonna suck when you're in the middle of a fight and you accidentally press F that's not on the body and you just open the book in the middle of a team fight.
Yeah,
It happens with Strange all the time with TP, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
I think it'd be
true.
the same.
Yeah.
Done him so he
I'd
can't like
assume it'd be
actually upgrade
similar.
his stuff. Yeah, really curious how that's gonna work. This is the skill issue that we were talking about on this one. So yeah, you use your ultimate against them. I think
I
it's
love
the
how he
ultimate,
said.
right?
I love how he says, "What are you aiming at?" It's just
Yeah.
memes.
So let's see this real quick. So yeah, it uses the ultimate against them, and then as they're missing shots, it just does damage to
The skill issue, yeah.
That's gonna be
I
great
mean,
in
this
low
is just
ranks.
alt F4 the character. Like you've got all of that stuff to deal with.
Oh man.
Like imagine like at the start of a season you start off in bronze and then you're up against like Smurfs that are playing this character. Like,
Oh,
you're
yeah,
never
no,
gonna want
that's
to
gonna
play
be
the guy
terrible.
again.
I'm
Yeah.
also curious. Like how do they track the shots? Because if a Star Wars whiffs all his shots, does he just get one tapped
Yeah,
by
probably.
himself? I wonder. I wonder if it's like proportional to like the damage that could have been outputted. I don't know. It's hard to say.
It looks like as
him
you
out of his
keep
health, maybe.
missing, even when he's reloading, it was like damaging him and stuff. And eventually, it's doing more because he has like a
You
vulnerability.
got vulned. Yeah, you got
Yeah.
vulned.
So I'm
What
wondering
happens if
this
you're like
causes
Emma though, when
vulnerability.
you're just like a high tick DPS gun? Your health will just just completely like
Could
dissipate.
be, yeah. I'm really curious on how that's gonna work
Gonna
in
be
actual
really
practice.
funky.
Then
Let's see.
uses the ultimate again, and then they're doing like this combo thing, as you can see in the bottom right. So they're
His
doing, like,
hands
the
showing
jumps.
the way his hands direct you to the ultimate like
Oh,
icon.
yeah, it tells you to look at it.
I literally- yeah.
That is actually hilarious.
That's funny. Yeah, so it tells you to jump 5 times and then use his little katana spin thing and then dash. And then you get like the ult off sort of thing.
Jackpot.
Yeah. Interesting how that's working. Nope. I think my mic unplugged for a
It is
second there.
kind of cool to have like a character like showcase like this and still be like,
There's so
what
much
on
to
earth is
look
going
at.
on?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of things.
Yeah, because here's the
happening.
strategist version. So he's like healing his allies, and then it's not the ult. So it's the right click when you are strategist that does something. I think that's what it was. That has some sort of like
Can't tell.
AoE. Hard to tell.
You do like
Oh, it's this
Wait,
plus
what?
symbol, whatever that plus symbol is.
that's his passive.
his passive. So his passive goes off, and he
Yeah,
heals.
I still don't know what it's triggered.
Yeah, so his right
by.
click, it looks like has some sort
It's
of
just a
like
healing.
healing,
It's just a healing
like
slash.
burst or something. Like healing.
I think the
slash,
healing
yeah.
slash comes after this. Like he does do it.
Oh yeah,
later,
so it's the
but,
healing slash dash, basically.
Yes,
So
yes.
similar to like Wolverine's dash, right? Not the kidnap, but
Yeah,
like the usual one on the
the
right
right
click.
click, yeah.
It seems like his kit
Oh.
like takes some like hints from
Is it
specific ones.
It's got to be different between his weapons.
Yeah. It's the
then his
healing slash
slashes.
and then like the one that he uses when he has the
gun?
guns. So when he has the guns, that's his E that he's using for the AoE. So the E is always the AoE. That's the
Yeah.
the dance one we were talking
Huh.
about. Or All Eyes on Me, excuse me.
That's the only way to visually tell them apart, I think, because
Yeah.
the AoEs are different colored.
Yeah,
Other than
different
that,
colored, and they
yeah,
have
it's the
like
same
the
Deadpool.
healing icons and stuff. Because he doesn't look any different when he uses strategist compared to a Vanguard or a duelist.
I
on
hope
that
the
side either.
UI tells us which Deadpool it is.
Yeah,
Because
on the
I
enemy
think of like
team, it
Overwatch, they
does.
always put the Vanguard, like the tanks, the duelist, and then the supports in a particular order in
Yeah.
the UI, so it's easier to sort of track. But like, obviously, they don't do that in MRC. Like, you
Yeah.
could have Loki on one side and Luna on the other. So if it doesn't show which Deadpool that we're watching, we genuinely won't know what version of Deadpool it'll be or what's been upgraded.
You only know
It's
when
gonna
they're
be
doing like heals or
so
damage,
hard.
basically.
I mean, you'll know if it's
Sure.
tanked because of HP, right?
Yeah, that too. Yeah, the
That's
HP.
true. Yeah,
Like
yeah,
it would be hard. I mean, for like,
but you don't see that
watch,
on the top bar, do you? You just see the bars themselves.
It's hard to see. Yeah, it's hard to see the health bar.
I think you can figure it out. I don't know.
Yeah.
So when he ults as the strategist, he's just doing some insane healing as well, and then also has another combo too. It doesn't do
Was he
as much
tanking?
damage.
He was
but
tanking hella ult. Oh my god, that's a lot of healing then.
yeah, the healing's insane, and I think he gets some bonus health. It looked like at some
Yeah.
point in there. Yeah. Oh, so when he
On jackpot.
on jackpot,
Jack-
he goes
Wow,
from 250
Lucio.
to 550.
Fantastic.
and he gives
Yeah.
it to the team. It
He
looks
gives
like.
some bonus health to the team. Yeah, you can see. It depends on what role they are, I think.
And
Let
they're
me
all
go back
tanking
for a
hella.
second.
Well, it's not another Tranquility, at least. It's just Lucio ult
Oh,
now.
Yeah, so I know it's the same amount of HP.
Yeah,
It's just
pretty
because
much.
Magneto has a larger bar.
Yeah.
That's
Mm.
insane. So it looks like it doubles Punisher's HP bar then.
Yeah, it's same. It's the same for Deadpool. So
Just play Deadpool instead of Rocket now.
what is that? 300. It's 300 over health. Oh my
Yeah.
god.
Oh my gosh. That's nuts. That's when you hit
Wow.
the jackpot, of course. And then you just go for these
Then you
KOs,
go.
and it has like a specific timer similar to the Rogue Ultimate. As you can see, it looks like you have
It
only a
looks like
certain
a
amount of
fun-
time to use it. The 12 seconds you have to get the combo going, and then you have 8 seconds as the jackpot lasts. Interesting. So the ult can last a while. My God, you have 12 seconds to get it, and then it refreshes for another 8 seconds.
Wow.
Wow.
You nail it. Yeah. Wow.
That's a long ult for the strategist version of him. And then here's the Vanguard one, as we talked about. So you deploy.
Winston
Okay, so
bubble,
it's
I
not
saw-
on a wall. You have to deploy it on the ground specifically. So there's a little
I
different
saw-
than I thought.
Someone on Twitter pointed out that Deadpool's middle name is Winston. You can probably put 2 and 2 together now.
That's funny. It also doesn't look like it contains unit either. It goes away once like enough
Yeah.
damage is done to it too. So how does the Vanguard change a little bit?
So it's
on this
blue
one?
when it's tank, it's red when it's DPS,
and green
then
when it's
green was-
strategist. Yeah.
But that's it.
Vanguard.
Does he
Outside of the
have,
little
like,
icon in the
more-
bottom
Okay,
left.
so when he's Vanguard, he normally has 500 HP as well. So HP will be how you'll know if he's a Vanguard on that end too. And if he's deploying that, of course. Doesn't seem like he does as much damage either. Yeah, there's still the 11 second, like the 12 seconds for him to get the combo off on this one. And then what happens when he gets jackpot for it? So his health goes up a
Little bit
little
up
bit
over.
to 600. And then, yeah, the bonus health still continues for the rest of them. I don't think bonus health happens when it's duelist, though. That's only
Yeah,
strategist and
don't think
Vanguard, it
so.
seems like. And then what is it? The blue AoE typically, that's just health, right? It's not like damage boost, or is it damage
It
boost?
could be. It could be
It's
damage.
I'm pretty sure it's damage reduction, but I don't know
Oh,
for
damage
sure.
reduction, maybe? Yeah,
That's why he's able to tank a freaking Punisher ult point blank.
yeah, it could be.
It does look like he's hitting faster though. But
Yeah, he is going
so hard
faster
to
for
know.
sure.
Yeah.
I think it's a sort of like similar to Daredevil where he's doing the objection though, like he's deflecting the bullets. Yeah, he's deflecting the bullets.
Oh, is
Ah.
he?
That's what that is.
Ah.
Yeah. So Deadpool gets like an objection basically for his ult.
But maybe that's the right click because the right clicks were used up.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Let's see.
I mean, right click is the dash impact, no? And that thing resets every time you hit someone. At least when you're
Yeah.
ulting.
Yeah. So right click, you drop it down is the bubble, and then there is
Oh,
the
that's the
dash as
gun
well.
right- That's the gun right click.
Yeah, the gun right click's the bubble, and then
Yeah.
or no, gun right click is the dash, I guess. Oh, no. Yeah.
No,
You're right, you're
yeah, this is sword. Yeah.
Yeah, so this was just the right click was just him dashing. So yeah, his ultimate when he is Vanguard has basically a deflection ability.
Oh god.
It looks like he still takes some damage during it at least, but oh my gosh.
I'm gonna need someone
Oh,
who has early access to like run the numbers. Not
Yeah.
the numbers, but at least the words on what everything does.
Yeah. So he
Yeah.
gets basically Daredevil's deflection during Vanguard ults. He gets the bonus health and healing with Strategist ults. And then I need to go back and see the Duelist one again. So the Duelist
what he
one,
does.
his health does. Oh, is his health up? 275 while he's Duelist?
He's,
Oh, he's
yeah,
just
he's
275 as
275.
Duelist. So he's 250 for Strategist.
It's very
think.
interesting.
Yeah, 250 for
Yeah.
Strategist, 275 for Duelist, and then 500 for Vanguard is the change for that on that side. Yeah, what changes for when he uses his jackpot? Okay, that's the big difference with the Duelist one is the like screen cover, I guess is how his Duelist one works. So screen cover, like UI cover for Duelist, and it gets some like extra damage and stuff. But it's more like solo, you don't buff your team as you're using the Duelist ult, which makes sense. And then it's the team buff with the extra HP for strategists and all that. And then for Vanguard, you have your little deflection, but also HP buff for your team. Interesting. Oh my gosh.
I'm so glad that I'm not going into like I feel like I've got 6 weeks to just study what this character's going to do. You know what I mean? Like if I
Okay,
was going
yeah,
straight
so-
into like
The passive is his regeneration, similar to Wolverine again. Yeah.
That would
30
make a lot
second
of
cooldown.
sense. Yeah, that does make a lot of sense. We just gotta pray that Elsa isn't as crazy.
Probably
yeah,
more
I think Elsa's got a free ability. Most all of the results.
I mean, she's just gonna be left
She's
leg.
gonna be simple. She's got to be
Probably
simple.
gonna
or
swap
else
between her
me
two
and Ryan
weapons,
are gonna
right?
have like a freaking stroke or something.
'Cause she's got what, like a crossbow and like a long range
She's got like a rifle,
Yeah.
rifle and a pistol.
Shotgun probably.
So she's also gonna be like a duelist that changes weapons too. They really like that, I guess. Like the change weapon style. And cloak and dagger.
think that's very
They're
Naraka.
gonna keep it at the left shift instead of like separate weapons. Like,
I guess so, yeah.
That's
I'm sure
another
you can
thing,
like
yeah.
change it
It's
yourself.
too
and all that.
if you like cycle it, it's too clunky.
Crazy.
So like putting it on left shift is a lot better.
Okay, now that we've seen the abilities for Deadpool and how it's changing with all that, I talked about it at the start of the show, you know, in terms of like meta and all that. How do we feel like Deadpool is going to fit into things for the next season of MRC, starting with Minty?
I mean, we'll see what the numbers look like and everything. Because in theory, like the character looks silly.
Yeah.
He could just explode, right? Like, or maybe he isn't very good into triple support or something. Because if the support nerfs aren't very good, like you're just going to play Phoenix and 3 supports, and you're never going to see him played anyway. I think.
Yeah.
But we'll see. I don't think this is a case of we'll see if Deadpool is good when he comes out. I think this is a case of the stuff that is stupid
good.
right now. If it is, yeah, he probably is good. He probably is good, right? Obviously. But if his stuff that is currently stupid stays where it is, then he's probably not going to see play just because that other stuff is just so much better.
Yeah, that makes a lot of
You
sense.
know?
Okay, let's go into MRC real quick here as well, since we only have so much time remaining as well. Pacific, we'll start for Dan on this one. You can see, of course, Chopper Mag, the
Yes.
top team.
This is about
Crazy Raccoon
this is
after
about
an
expected,
XOXO.
honestly.
Yeah,
This is like expected
bracket.
results. Like you could argue like Crazy Raccoon could have probably won it all over Chopper Mag. Like that could have been like a theory. But
I
like,
have
to
a
be fair,
question.
Chopper Mag and CR don't play each other often. Like they didn't play each other at all in grand finals.
What's your question?
How did it feel to like? This more to Dan. Like, how did it feel to sort of have that first tournament of like OC and Pacific meshed together? Like, did it feel kind of natural for it, really, or was it a good testament? I suppose of the
because like
region
right now the big concern is the ping, right? Well, at least for right now, because I don't know how we're gonna do playoffs. Because playoffs, that means everyone's gonna have like 140
all Singapore
plus
regions
ping.
or something? Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be average in Singapore. So playoffs is gonna be really awkward. I feel like, but like
Hopefully they
keeping
do a
group
LAN for it.
stage,
That's what I'm praying for.
that would be the easy fix, but it's also low key expensive.
Yes, very expensive.
Low-key,
Also,
low-key.
so like low key might be an understatement. High key expensive, but like, ooh, it felt here it felt fine, but like I don't know how the players felt having to play on like 140 ping, especially for like the Korean players of
Yeah.
Crazy Raccoon. So like here it's like seeing how Pacific playoffs might look like if we stay online. And then group stage obviously is like their own little bubbles. Like Asia has their
Yeah.
own
As
little group
this is
stage.
how it's
Yeah.
set up right now for the actual schedule. Let me fix the crop real quick.
Yeah. Because like as of right now, me, Liger, Metzi, we're all like, yo, ping is going to be the big problem. That's like probably the biggest thing that they have to figure out. But
There's
for
the,
but like
the actual
MRC,
roadmap.
it felt fine. Like I didn't have anything like bad about what was going on. My only hope is that the ping issue gets like
Yeah, because they
somehow
have
remedied.
the group stages separated, right? So it's 8 teams and 8 teams. They play in their own groups, and like the top team from each group likely makes it into the playoffs based on how they had like the graphic for that. It just really depends on like how they're going to do the playoffs on that side for them as well. But like in terms of future hopes for these squads as well, Dan, I mean, how do you feel like Crazy Raccoon hold up with their like new roster in comparison to the old one, right?
On the communication side, it's a lot better. They shifted over to a full Korean roster and then brought in like heavy hitters from like Reject and Genji. Like
That's the roster for
what is
those
it?
wonder.
Brownie from Genji, Gargle and Piggy from Reject, Suhun Lostro stayed. And then Yaki is a new guy from Overwatch.
Yeah.
So and he's been doing really well. Like I'm glad he's like
Apparently it was his
into the
first time
roster
playing
well.
the game.
Yeah.
According to their post.
His Daredevil is actually really freaking good. So I wasn't surprised why he was perma-banned when they were
Yeah.
playing Chopper Mag. So
Chopper Mag had a couple changes from what I remember in terms of subs. They had like 6 on their team and all that.
that was like for opens.
Yeah.
So like it wasn't too crazy. But like Chopper
And
Mag
Rain
did
on
have
Me
their,
is
like,
Salvation for
South.
those who are wondering.
That's South, yeah.
Okay.
So Crazy Raccoon, they look good. They have potential, but then they also got reverse swept. So
Yeah.
like I don't know how the mental side is turning out, but communication wise, I think they can go for more like advanced plays. Whereas the old Crazy Raccoon couldn't really do that, considering that they were limited in terms of what comps they played, because like they played a lot of Torch Ultron back during stage 2, and then they came into Atlanta where both of them got nerfed to the ground and they just couldn't really figure it out.
Now makes sense. And then Kasari, another team to kind of keep an eye on. They have
Yes.
some other good looks on their roster as well, as you can kind of see here.
And then Zero Tenacity also.
Yeah, Zero Tenacity
confirmed.
looks solid. That is the actual Zero Tenacity team. They confirmed it finally, so we know that they're back in the scene in some fashion. Vulcan Red, I think, is the biggest thing for me. I mean, I talked to those guys before and expected some good things, but they got 3-0'd by
I think they got I think they
Gasari.
disbanded, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, maybe.
They
'cause
have.
I know that they
Yeah.
were originally like seeing if they wanted to get some replacements when I talked to them, and then they said, "Nah, we're just sticking with it because we can't really find the right thing." But I think now they realize it's like, hey, Gasari losing 3-0 to them was a bit of a wake up call on that side. And then still looking pretty solid. Fury's still in the scene. Xavier Hope, as we saw before, XOXO01. That's a little bit of a different roster from what I remember, but for the most part the same.
JT3.
Yeah,
It's
JT3
from Crazy Raccoon.
Yeah. So they look solid too. I think they just still need to find like their footing as a team. But like OCE is
They're just-
basically Chopper Mag, and then we have no idea who else at this point.
I
Unfortunately.
mean, this is why they merged for regions, right? Because Asia was the worst performing region overall, and OCE put up one competitive team only. They did have Ground Zero before. I will say Ground Zero was a real team.
Yeah, well, Ground Zero is the same team as Chopper Mag, essentially, from mid-season.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So now
from Nova,
it's one or two change, and Bobo is a crazy.
Yeah, Bobo's great.
So, I mean, Oceana's ability to put up one team ever, and Asia's ability to kind of put up one or two teams, but we just haven't, historically, at least up to now, haven't really been able to compete with the rest of the other regions. It makes sense to merge these two since they're close enough geographically. And then they can get bigger prize pools as well. So the best team in that, probably Crazy Raccoon, Chopper Mag, can get bigger prizes as well, because I'm assuming they'll increase the prize pool now that it's combined.
Yeah, in some sort of capacity on that end. And OCE basically keeping the same slots they had 8 from what I
Well,
remember
exactly.
last time.
So we only had one land spot anyway. So
yeah,
as long as
every other region
Pacific-
lost 4 slots from what I remember seeing too. So a little bit of a downgrade for the other regions, but OC kind of keeping the same as well on their side. But let's quickly move over to EMEA on this one. We can't spend too much time because Dan has a hard out in about 3 minutes, so we don't have too much time. Worst case, Dan will just have to dip in the mid part, and then we'll close things out on our end as well. But thank you, Dan.
I said my stuff for
exactly.
Pacific, so
yeah,
we're
Pacific
good.
is
We're
done.
If you
good.
I
need
am
to dip
free.
at any point, feel free to, man. It'll just be like a blank camera there at that point. But yeah, on the
We'll
other
just
side
disappear.
for EMEA, they did pretty good for the most part for Na'Vi, but Chopped I think was like the main team to keep an eye on there as well, Ryan.
Yeah, I mean, I'm frankly surprised that they're still together without any roster changes. Like, usually teams like that, especially when it's sort of like a mix of different rosters, it's a honeymoon period with how well they were doing, and then when it starts to go wrong, it's hard for them to like adjust. But to be honest, it went wrong just before they qualified for grand finals, which 2 of the players of MASH and DRP still went to actually fill in for YOG. OUG, sorry. So the fact that they stayed together is like a real testament. And a second place finish when you lost in MRC to Virtus Pro and you lose here to Na'Vi, which also knocked you out from qualifying for grand finals.
Slight interruption.
It's a hell of a
I will head
testament.
out now. Goodbye, chat.
Thank
Sorry
you, Dan.
about that.
Bye, Dan. You're good. You're good.
Goodbye.
See ya.
I guess what was a shame really is just seeing less of like the lines on the last day because they had players like traveling and stuff because they actually were just completely like a brand new team, like full Saudi Arabic speaking roster that
I was
seemed
hoping
to really
we'd
like
see them play
surprise
against the other
them.
teams.
Well, that's why because we had choice of like, okay, we need to fill for like this losers bracket finals, so we can either go for like Na'Vi 3-0 in foot, which I was like, yeah, no, that's not going to fill however many hours. But me and Moxie purposefully didn't watch that Final Dance Lions game because that was broadcasted
series
on the Thursday. So we were like, we've heard it's good. We didn't realize just how good it was because it was like end to end stuff. And it was we just wanted to make sure that the Lions got shown on broadcast that day because they deserved to be. And like it seemed that both them and Final Dance, to be honest, shown quite a lot of stuff. But like Minty, I don't know what looks surprising there versus what looks expected. Because Navi winning very expected, even though they went down to losers bracket. But like Chop's doing well.
You say Navi winning is expected, but a Navi winning is almost a surprise because they didn't have Trust Me, who is a big part of that. He's a big part of the team, especially in comms, and he wasn't there for like these last few games. He didn't play grand finals against Chopped. And on paper, I mean, when they had their best roster with Trust Me in last time, obviously they had they didn't have Terra. They were playing Naga in Ignite. Obviously, it was really close with Chopped. And if I think undoubtedly, if you turned around and said, "Yeah, now you're losing Trust Me for." Who played tank? Was it Tanuki on tank with him? Like
it was Jerky. Like
Jerky was on tank.
like the unofficial MVP because he played everything.
For
And he
real?
was so good that tournament.
Yeah, he was. He's a very good player actually. He used to be my rank. Genuinely, I used to queue into him, and now he's like one of the best players in the world. Which is just so. I mean, I need to lock in, I guess. But this guy, yeah, I mean, so seeing, if you told me Navi's going to be playing without their IGL and everything, like with Trust Me and who's going to win between them and Chopped after how close it went last time, I think anyone probably would have assumed that this looks good for Chopped. If Chopped's going to beat Navi, this is a time where they can do it. Because they beat them before. Chopped beat Navi in Fight Night previously, or Night Shift is what it got rebranded to, right? They beat them there. Just after they formed. And Chopped has been scrimming. I know Navi's been scrimming a bit. I don't know how much.
Probably not a lot, yeah. I mean,
not
Chopped
so
beat
much,
Navi as Navi got back from China, and they weren't as up to the date on it. Not that like there was too much of an excuse, really, but it was the weird thing about this final was more that Chopped were probably maybe even the best domination team in Europe at a point because they just beat everybody, and then Virtus Pro kind of worked out everything.
Yeah, then they realized, hey, we only lost one domination.
Yeah,
VPO never used to win domination, but yeah, things changed.
Yeah. But then, yeah, Navi actually like managed to win on domination, and then it was Chopped that won on Central Park, I think. But that felt very much like Trust Me coming in and being like, okay, this is what the meta's like at the moment, because he was trying to play Venom and stuff into it, and then was like, oh yeah, Thing is kind of annoying to deal with, and they kind of got slapped on Central Park. Like it wasn't even close. Really like sloppy stuff from Navi, but that's to be expected when you're playing macro team call stuff and you haven't been there and seen what the game's meta has been like.
I think some of the teams that made it were like expected teams to do well. There was more unexpected teams this MRC. And I think this is kind of why, like I said earlier, like I don't know how much we can look at MRC because
Most
there
of these
is
teams
some,
aren't going to exist anymore. Is the problem?
and the teams that do, I'm not being awful, but there's a big gap in
Big
skill
gap,
between
yeah.
some of the
It's
top
like,
end
yeah.
of who ended in
VP,
top 16 and the bottom
Navi,
end of who ended in top
Dot,
16.
and then everyone else.
Well, it's like
Well, I mean,
that was the sorry. I just want to say, like with like the previous Ignites, there were always a couple of teams that qualified for them. I don't mind being brash about it. There's a couple of teams that qualified for Ignite that I was like, why are they here? It was like a top 32 finish in
Yeah.
MRC, but because of all of the other teams disbanded above them, they got the slot. And I'm like,
Yeah.
you guys are
Revives.
probably like decent, but like you're just getting it
You
by
don't belong here.
proxy. Yeah. So it's like you want to make sure that the right kind of teams get it. And like
Just because
even
they reduced it to 12 slots, in my opinion, because of that.
yeah, but
Some teams were
at
just
least,
getting in there, playing 2 series, and then collecting $5,000.
There was real teams who went 0-2. There was some, but there wasn't
was some,
many.
yeah.
Yeah, like
I think I remember Solaris specifically being one of those teams who just had the roughest bracket ever. They played like 2 of
Playoff
the top
Strays
4
in
teams.
stage 1 had a really bad
Yeah.
bracket as well.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that was rough.
They had
But
to
to
play
be
VP
fair-
into
me check.
VP into Alcad, and then if they beat Alcad, they had to play Team 1 or at the time, and it was just cool. Like you're never winning this. No team is winning this.
Yeah.
Except at the time, Berber would have been the only team that could have come out of that successfully. Like anyone who was in their seed was going 0-2, or
Yeah,
at least 1-2.
It was like Paradox, I think, and Paradox won a series, so it
They did.
wasn't as if they were completely, but like revived and stuff. You had your like Foxhound and Donkor Vice and stuff that came through, like the like MRC that qualified for that spot, and it felt like a little bit more secure. But even like OG Seeds, they qualified for the first Ignite based off of like a 8th place finish in
Oh, yeah.
MRC at the start of the year, and it's like. It was
I
a good
forgot
team.
about
Like
that.
these guys are still
No.
playing. Like
OG Sports got invited because of MRI, but then they didn't submit OG Sports. They submitted OG Seed as their roster.
That's right,
That's
yeah.
why.
oh yeah,
Yeah, because they didn't keep the main roster because they were too expensive.
So it was the Ogre
Well, they-
got the spot. Yeah,
If they all got the spot and they said we're not going to compete as OG Sports, they didn't pay the team, so they said we're going to compete as OG Seed, and OG Seed, the director of it put out a tweet saying that like OG Seed is going to be our tier 2 team, etc. But obviously they just built the best team that they could, and they sent them like some free Red Bull and stuff. So some players were like, you know what, I'm never going to get an org in this game anyway. Look at the state of the EU, so I'll just sign to OG for nothing, and at least I get a jersey and some Red Bull.
yeah, but that kind of becomes like because it happens a lot in casting, right? Because people go, I can cast this game for free, and then what you do is you basically tell all of the tournament organizers,
Oh, you're
stuff,
free?
There's people
Let's
that are
get
going to
you
work.
in.
Yeah, so everybody's value plummets as a result. So
Yep.
you end up not only fucking yourself over, but fucking everybody around you over if you do stuff like that. So if you're a player that thinks like that, don't like. You are more
I hope we
valuable
don't see
than
that
a
for
couple of Red
Ignite
Bulls
this
and a
time.
jersey, especially
Yeah.
at this point now. Yeah. So like this isn't. I love the OG Seed guys, and I'm really glad that they did well in this tournament on like the various rosters. But like,
Yeah.
you doing that makes the whole situation worse for not only yourself but everybody around you.
Yeah. I'm really curious, like
Okay.
what we'll see in terms of rosters out of this as well. Like, I'm assuming the Lions will stick together because they basically were a combination of all the different Saudi teams from the previous MRC, and they just picked the best squad from it. Yeah. So they look really good. I hope they get like some sort of Mina org pick them up. I mean, Twisted Minds we've seen in the scene originally, so could see them come back, or like ROC I saw was like poking around, so maybe them even. I think it all really just depends on like who these partnered orgs are. Not having EWC though, if that doesn't happen, then that could be a case where they maybe don't invest as much, right? Because they're so focused on that. So.
Well, Saudi Esports League was heavily speculated to have Marvel Rivals.
yeah, it
and
doesn't
Saudi
have Marvel
orgs
Rivals
were
either.
poking. They were poking around. There were teams being made for it, and some players were scrimming with teams. Stallions was one that was building a roster, and they were making offers. And there were some of the players from Final Dance, former Z10 EU, were playing for them. And then it got announced Marvel Rivals isn't going to be at Saudi Esports League, and all those teams and orgs just lost interest.
Yeah, it's tough because like I think that's the thing that a lot of orgs in general were waiting for outside of a partner program. And if it doesn't come this year, then they'll probably just be like, okay, maybe next year we'll see it happen.
Just tournaments.
You've got Nations Cup as well, which
Yeah,
you know,
that too.
Overwatch World Cup was a pretty big thing. I think it's an easy like you do the same in Marvel Rivals because a
I
World
would
Cup in
love
this game
that.
would
I'd
be
love
so
that.
much fun.
Like even if we don't do EWC, if we do Nations Cup, that'd be dope. They're supposed to be
Nations
announcing
Cup
that
would-
in between the end of January into February, from what I remember, like the actual games. So we'll know that soon.
We'll see, right? Like, I don't think it would be a very good competition personally, because I think there's a few countries like NA would probably by far be like the best region in a World Cup
I don't know.
thing.
I mean,
France probably would be the second best, maybe Saudi.
we'd see some really good EMEA ones specifically. I know like a lot of the VP players are from the same
Poland.
country, so
Are they?
Yeah.
I think some of them.
What I
One of
remember.
them's Icelandic. Let me see.
Yeah, it's Finzi and then God knows
say,
who else.
Incy used to play for. They're not
Sweden
from
would do well.
Fi's German, Sparka's Swedish. Oh, Nevix and Spark are both Swedish, but Dridro's French, Fincy's Icelandic, and Saipe is Denmark. Yeah,
I
they're all from
know.
everywhere.
Shout out Demian. He's one of the editors for we're kind of going off on a tangent, but it's fine. For the Liquipedia, and he basically made different posts for the actual rosters and stuff for what you can kind of expect.
Cool.
So let me see if I can scroll through and find it. So like, yeah, this is a Thailand roster. He had a Japan roster that he came up with. The China one with Bobo.
I mean, surprisingly, from MRC
Australia.
looking at Liquipedia,
Yeah.
Saudi had 1/5 of the players.
Saudi could easily have a really good team.
Like top 16, like a fifth of the players were from Saudi. The UK is second with 15
Really?
players.
I
didn't know the Frost. We're winning because we have Frost Mountain and Lugia. Like that's it. Like, you know what I mean? Like those two had a crazy good tournament.
Yeah, that's got a good roster.
it's made me sort of excited because the two players that I really liked from not the last MRC but the one before that
France is a good
was
roster too.
Layaless and Crazy Kitty. And Layaless played well, but Crazy Kitty had a terrific tournament. Like especially with stuff like Daredevil being available to him now. Like that Chop team look really good, and I think I don't know if he's like IGLing or making some of the calls, but he's definitely the one that like goes in on the right targets at the right time, and it's just so nice to watch him like in play.
Yeah, so there's some decent like players and rosters for like each of the regions that we could see happen. Like Sweden's still pretty solid in my opinion.
Sweden's very solid. Very solid. That'd be a very good team.
Yeah.
So,
yeah,
a lot of good teams.
Crazy.
Netherlands has a really good roster too.
Oh, does it? I see him greater in it. I see him greater on there. I'm not sure.
I'm
not sure.
But yeah, so there's some solid ones out there that we could see potentially happen. But yeah, maybe like a next year thing once we have more players moving over from other titles into the game and everything as well. I want to shout out to Planet Signage as well. The mainly French roster, they did pretty decent. They almost took down Foot in the upper bracket. Made it through those. Had a B team who also did pretty decent as well. So shout out to that squad on that side of things. Menace also, they're like trialing a pretty decent roster from what I've heard talking to them. Really curious on what's going to happen with Dawncore specific on their end, because they really struggled against Cooking with Kaya and then some of the other top teams out there.
And Chabagoo was crazy good.
I think Dawncore's a team that they're used to just losing drafts.
Yeah.
That was how they lost. They were just kind of like one tricks and things like that. And the best player, it's crazy that considered was their best player was a player called Froston, who now like he gets subbed out for Chabagoo. So yeah, it was really strange to see. They weren't a team that I don't think a lot of us had on radar as doing super well after they lost to Vice. And who else did they lose? They lost to Vice and Alcadzia in stage 2. So a lot of people weren't necessarily on a lot of people's radars. Everyone knew they were a real team.
Yeah, they qualified for MRC, I think, like alongside Vice. They were one of those.
Did. No. It was just Vice and Q Mystery. Q Mystery became Foxhound because Q Mystery stopped existing.
That's right. I forgot about that.
Yeah, and then Foxhound picked up that team.
Dawncore was like up there because I remember watching Treeman and stuff, and yeah, you're right. Like he still played Groot as his namesake, but it did feel a lot better. And I mean, he looked really good on like all of the Vanguards that he played. I think it was more like Cookie Kaya. I think were bigger than some of their parts previously. Like Kaya was amazing. He made Venom actually look good in this like current
They had to ban Venom so often against him.
Kaya's really good. The team itself is good. I mean, Frostmont and Leolaz, I think, are two players who don't get as much respect as they deserve. I know Leolaz
I love both of them.
did it black when he came back after FaZe for not being very vocal, and some people just didn't love it. I think Leolaz is crazy. I think Frost Mountain improved a lot since the time he had on 0%. He was on old 0% with Line Pro and Isnor and Name actually. So half of the Cooking with Kaya team is on 0%. And very, very together. At a point, they looked so super good. And kind of fell apart. But like with these new players, with Kyle, Lindstrom, and Leolas, they look super good.
Yeah,
they look really good on the team.
Really impressive, like Invis. Like you could tell that he was part of that VP team for a bit because of just like his positioning, everything. Or like it was so hard to just get a kill on him because of where he positioned and how the team moved around him. Name played really well. I can't remember what his username was. It was just like I'm a bad boy or something like that. So
yeah,
we would okay. We need to actually work out who this is because I don't think Moxie saying I'm a bad boy is going to do her any favors at all. But yeah, like Leolas had a really good end of year last year, and Frost Mountain, mostly known for playing Storm, I think for OG Seed in stage 2.
Yeah.
Still played the Storm and made it work even outside of like meta situations. But he just looked a lot more complete as a player. And that's the more exciting thing of just these kind of like names that we see a little bit in MRC and maybe in a bottom finish out in Ignite in 2025. Some of those players are glowing up like crazy. I mean, think of Crisis, right? Like, don't really know where he's going to go, but
FYR strays all the way to Navi,
yeah, right. Like it just feels like the Zero Tenacity team was mostly what ended up being Final Dance, I think.
Yeah, it was. They had
because Lugia was on it, and then he went, and then he came back because there was Oasis Winnie and Smashers.
Yeah,
but Ballas was really good for Katsuya last time.
Yeah, a lot of these teams have disbanded since that time as well. So it's like I'm really curious on how the rosters are going to look going into season 6 and then Ignite as well on like whatever those guest slots are, because I know like some of these teams have burned bridges between each other for teammates from that season into this one, from what I've heard as well. So it's kind of a tough scenario for certain players. But all the best to anyone who's like looking for teams out there. I always like retweet the posts that I see on Twitter and everything. Just signal boost for everyone, because there's like certain squads that are forming like their own roster dream teams, like we were talking about with Naga. They're trying to like have their own like rebuild project, and there's a couple other ones out there. And from what I've seen, I don't know like if you've seen this too, Minty, but like a lot of orgs in my mind are kind of looking for full rosters instead of like forming one themselves, right?
It depends. Well, you say that, but I mean, right now, one of the only org I think that's publicly doing it is publicly poking around, and they look like they're making their own roster. They're open to pretty much anything right now, from what I've heard when I've spoke to people. And I know, I mean, I can't say
you don't have to say
about names, but there's a few that are looking to specific players and saying build us a roster and we'll pick them up.
Good.
Specific players basically being given the keys and being told make something. Or the org has said, we want you to make a team. Here's a list of players that we like. Here are our requirements or something. Bring in a staff team or whatever. Do what you want to do, but we're going to, some of it's like that, and some of it is just going to those players and saying, look, we like you. If you make a good team, let us know who it is. And there's a few other players we like, and we're going to ask them what teams they think are good, and maybe we'll pick one of you guys up.
I think the problem is we don't have like anything between now and MRC in terms of like a big competition for these like formation rosters to play in and showcase themselves. Like, we have streamer tournaments. There's some stuff I've heard on the back end being worked on, at least for Americas, but I don't know for EMEA specifically. So like there needs to be some sort of tournament for people to play in with these rosters to showcase to orgs like, hey, this is our team that you wanted to see. Now you can see them. This is what they look like. Oh, we're actually a really good squad. Pick us up, please. Sort of deal like soon, because time is running out, I think, for a lot of rosters, especially because in 2 days is when the deadline is for submission for the partner orgs, right? Only 12 slots for those, and then whoever else gets picked up
they've started to speak to the teams, but the teams they're approaching, apparently, like some of the stuff is really like vague in what's being said, and different team, but it's not one partnership deal from what I'm hearing. It's different depending on how much they value you. They're offering you different amounts. So this is all stuff that's worth like keeping in mind, and they talk to each other, right? Like the people at Fnatic speak to the people at Nemesis, speak to the people.
I've heard like a lot of the orgs already knew this program was coming, because like the ones who already had the like clues to it were telling them about it, so they've been a little bit more prepared. But
at the end of towards the end of stage one, like some orgs started to ask questions. Like I won't name anyone in particular because I have some privilege, but like again, they were asking questions and just. Like what is the future of this game like? And some of these team I think it's public information. The VP was on a 1-year contract. They were signed for a year from when they got picked up as cats, and they wanted to, and obviously the players were quite happy with it, the arrangement and everything. And So they want to, the org's asking questions like, okay, if we keep this roster, like, what do we do? What is the future of this game? Is there a future in this game, etc.? Obviously, I don't know the players super well, so I don't want to speak about them or anything. But
no, of course, yeah.
A lot of orgs asking these questions to NetEase, especially ones who are early adopters, like Sentinels, 100 Thieves. And we saw this with 100 Thieves media post, right? They put a blog post out saying we're pausing operations.
and people were like, "Oh no, everything's dead," and there's like no.
But it was
good
literally
for
like we know that it's gonna. Like they might.
There's
have
no
known
reason
it
to
was gonna
pay
be
salaries
April
after your
next year.
contracts have expired for like 2 months when there's one tournament happening,
Most
and
good orgs will actually just like half your salary. Like that's what it's because it's like there isn't.
And
too
some
much
orgs
to be
only pick
doing.
people up for this event for MRC just to like in America. It's like we'll go over that in a moment. It's like some of these teams you're not going to see on these orgs at all.
Lunex.
Yeah, like Lunex and Guilty. Like Lunex might stick around depending, but like that team's gonna get picked up by an org. Like I know a lot of players from different rosters are already committed to other teams. Like even as we were talking about, the changes with Citadel happening, nose leaks and everything too. But like there's like a lot of stuff happening in the background. So I'm just really curious on how that's going to go down. Let's quickly go over Americas as well. Got to give the shout where it is to Duncan, who's been here the whole time, just watching along, probably waiting for us to go onto that side of things. Doom Crew, of course, the top dogs here, the old Nemesis roster. Plus Cooper, of course, but Cooper was on loan for this event specifically. So they're still looking for an org with their whole team outside of that. And as you can see, Cooper just a sub. Daze did really good. I was actually surprised on how well he was doing on the duelist road there for their team. But, Krasmang, Scatter Genji, Forky Dog was doing really good. Shocker, Melophobia, Madian. Like this team, I think a lot of people weren't expecting them necessarily to be the squad that came out on top in Americas. People were more expecting the Lunex, which was, part of the old Sentinels roster to do well. Kurova, Flamme, Dongman, Crimzo, Ramazing, Usher. Like really good squad there. And then Mutants, of course, more of a pickup team because they're all committed to other rosters at this point already. Energy, Smash, Spark Chief, Vess, SJP, Millennia, and then Kaluj, he was coaching more than anything else. And Delena actually having to sub in for Smash because unfortunately for the controller players this past weekend, they didn't have aim assist on in the client for some reason. Maybe just hit a button or something when configuring things for this next season. I'm assuming that's what happened. So he's the only controller duelist player in the game at this level. So if you don't have the aim assist, that nerfs you at least a certain amount. So Delena subbed in instead for it. So I'm really curious on how things would have went on that side, which it also sucks for Smash because as far as I'm aware, Smash doesn't have a team currently lined up, and he really needed that stage to like showcase himself for MRC. So hopefully some of these
second place MRC without aim assist is not bad at all. So I think he'll be okay.
They didn't really like show his like he didn't play any of the matches in the final weekend because of it, except like I think the first one at that point. But it's tough, and like ended the console PC dispute. But I think it comes down to like he would have played without it or like gone and learned PC like keyboard and mouse if he knew that they were going to be disabling this for the finals, right? That's what a lot of the players like even I think DRP mentioned that when they lost they didn't have it as available as well. So like they actually initially in stage 1 they weren't going to have aim assist on.
Heard that, they put a statement out about it and they said we're not going to have it on, and there was some backlash from some players and teams saying that like it's not really an advantage, why are we disabling it, why are we handicapping teams that have already qualified, already got spots, whatever. After the fact, so people complained about it and they reversed the decision. And I was really surprised that they went back on that for MRC specific, like midway MRC specifically. It was a really odd decision. I wonder if it was intentional. Especially for it to not be communicated at all is an odd thing. At least it was communicated in Ignite.
Yeah, like if it was told ahead of time that this would be happening, then a different story. Of course, I think it's just because there wasn't, and that's why I think it was like maybe something weird on the back end that happened during it. Couple of notes I want to bring up for Americas as well. You don't see the previous winners for MRC, which is we lost. That's like Jit's team, and they have the interesting Spider-Man Hulk compositions that they go for, and all this other kind of stuff. And they were mainly kind of abusing that domination cycle. Whenever they lost a map, they would pick Dom and then win because that's how their composition works, sort of deal.
Get it out.
Yeah, the problem with them is that as Duncan mentioned, one of the players who was on Gambit at the time, they portaled onto the site, which again, you talked about the portal thing. They get back to the site or about to, and they have Gambit ult, they have Hulk ult, they're gonna hold things down. I think they had Spider-Man ult as well. and the Gambit's mouse disconnects at the crucial moment with 2 seconds left. So for going from, oh, we would have won this map and move on to losing that and then losing to aim to kill in the lower bracket afterwards, because of course they're tilted, have to play it exactly right afterwards. Rough
Always
scenario
charge
for
your
those
mouse
guys.
before an official.
It wasn't even like a charging scenario. They said it just like lost connection to the Bluetooth or something. But yeah, like, hey, maybe that's why you want wired mice instead. But yeah.
That's insane.
Not Bluetooth, at least. That's crazy.
Yeah, so yeah, that could have potentially knocked out mutants or knocked them down to lower brackets sooner, at least at that point. And they would have had to go through aim to kill and intergalactic and all that. Intergalactic, I mean, they're a different roster than they used to be too. Didn't have as best of a performance as people were hoping, but they did better against mutants than a lot of other squads on that side. The Beasts had a bit of an upset against Nightmare Academy. Shout out to that squad for making it to the top 8 for the first time. Mochimon was another good roster. That was the old like Envy players with some mixed ones from I think Dark Zero. From what I remember there. Ego Def came back. They had some good looks. They beat Flark, which was Armori and a couple other like content creators from the old Ratty Sports NA roster on that team. But of course they got 3-0'd by Mutants. Mutants basically like destroyed everyone in the lower bracket, as you can kind of see here. Lunex, I think that was the biggest upset. A lot of people were thinking, most people went into this tournament thinking Lunex were like the favorites to win it all. And then they lost to Team Guilty. They lost to Mutants afterwards. They went to map 5 against Mochimon, which I think they had to reverse sweep that one, if I remember correctly. No, it was going back and forth for the most part, but like the final point almost every single time between those two teams. So like that's a team that I think might break up a little bit too, based on like the results we saw this time.
They're I don't know if there was Lunex is an org. They approached a very new org, but they approached a few teams around a few regions and poked around, and I believe they were picking up a team for MRC specifically, and then they would review options. They'll review options, players will review options. So I think that even if the roster stays together, it probably will be under a different name.
Yeah, they'll probably pick up a team to be like a guest spot, you know, sort of deal, or like one of the MRC trying to qualify teams again for Lunex. Same for Guilty. Like Guilty was definitely just for this as well. But yeah, Doom Crew still looking for an org, so you know, good for them to win MRC. It kind of improves their stocks on that side. I think, you know, I gotta say it, Duncan, because I know a lot of people were thinking it, like not having Cooper, I think does lower the stocks a little bit on that side, because a lot of people were seeing how effective they were just by watching the stream in terms of like the IGLing and all that. So
is Cooper signed? Is he with a team?
Cooper is signed, but I can't say who if yet. But
I see.
Yeah. So he'll be with a different squad supposedly, if that goes through. We don't know for sure until like everything happens, if the announcements and everything. But yeah, so they've got like another team. Most of the Mutants players have other teams that they're like kind of locked into. But yeah, that's my only word for Doom Crew. But I think outside of that, you know, they did a great job just showing that hey, they only dropped 2 maps the entire time, and those were both to Mutants, right? So really just proving a lot of the other teams that might have doubted them wrong, and why they were like, consistency works, right? They were a team for longer than any of these squads. Most of them were kind of pickup rosters going into this too. And with how stacked the scene was for Americas, it just kind of goes to show like how good they were in terms of this composition, right? Like we don't know how it's going to look once it goes into Ignite bans and how it goes into the next season, but like at least for this comp, no one really had an answer against them, which is kind of interesting to think about on that side. And we even saw them like let Gambit through, and Mutants love to play Gambit. They love to play Gambit, Rogue, and then like 2 other Vanguards, usually Spark Chief on like Captain America, and then like throw in like an Emma or a Mag at some point too. If they could get a thing in, they would put it through as well, but they didn't want to play that against Doom Crew, of course, because Doom Crew even had a better thing on their side. So composition wise was very interesting. Between them, we did see some Moon Knight here and there. Moon Knight specifically, I wanted to bring it up while Dan was here, but he had to piece early. We saw damage boosted Moon Knight with Groot just have an insane combo from Crazy Raccoon in those first 2 maps against Chopper Mag. Like I think it was like, what was it, 38-0 that Brownie went in map 1 against Chopper Mag. Like seeing more usage out of that hero with those compositions is interesting too. But in terms of like the traditional comps for America is pretty standard affair across the boards. Like if you get Gambit through, you play it with Rogue typically. And then you see usually like a triple tank setup, sometimes with a duelist of a Phoenix or a Star-Lord, depending on that side as well. But oh yeah, you saw the Jeff event. We'll talk about that in a second, too. But I mean, Ryan, I don't know how much of the Americas you got to witness as well, but like, what was your thoughts about composition kind of across the board for 5.5 compared to what we saw at the grand finals? Like,
Yeah.
I'm just wondering your thoughts on that.
I saw very little Americas really, and the bits that I saw, it's hard to know because there's been so much of a roster swap around,
Yeah.
and then also knowing the orgs and then just typically who was under them. So when you have players move around, it's a little bit like harder, easier for EMEA naturally, just knowing the players a little bit.
Musical
But even
chairs in
then, it's still
Americas.
like you have to really go back and double check. Okay, this player was on this team and then they did that. That was good. I think the meta, especially with like looking at the early stuff, of being Gambit, Loki copies, just back and forwards, like
Yeah.
just trying to keep up with ult tempo, and just every time you go for a commit, you just need to make sure that you have more than your opponent and try to use less than your opponent. I was kind of like in those earlier stages being like, oh, this is going to be it's just going to be this for the next like 4 days of broadcast. It's not going to be great.
Yeah.
But I do think that it was probably the most diverse meta that we saw, with a lot of niche characters being played.
100%.
Outside of just, for Moon Knight, it wasn't just siege breaking. There was like good moments on domination where he was strong, but even like some Blade used a little bit from
Yeah, a little
Tanuki
bit.
on Midtown that has its merits, right? Iron Fist was used a surprising amount from various people. Even Magic was used from Chabagoo because everything else got banned out, and he still kind of made it work. Vegeta playing the Mr. Fantastic, as we sort of mentioned. And so it really did feel that there wasn't many characters that weren't played at all, full stop. But yeah, naturally, I think the biggest problem is just Jean Grey, because of like, even though she's not the most frustrating to play up against, like
Her and
people
Wolverine
complain
was
about
like a
Daredevil and
dynamic
stuff.
duo.
Yeah, so it's like, it just felt like the buffs that they gave her were just unjustifiable. Really, she didn't need that, and so
Nope,
now
didn't need
she's
the
really
extra
found her
HP at
own.
all, yeah.
No.
Yeah, it
And I
seemed
think it was less
crazy. And
damage
even like,
fall off as well, right? That was one of the buffs that happened too, from what I
yeah,
remember.
I even think like the Magneto buff of like having your bulwarks on separate cooldowns was just like unnecessary. frankly.
Yeah.
They want
So
to give
you
more
have all
tanks
of that.
better agency, I think. Like, I
Well,
get
Mag
that,
having
but-
that with like Gambit also giving him his like Royal Sword
Yeah.
thing too, like doing some insane damage with that, along with a rogue on the team, right? So it's like you get all the team up combos. Like we saw a lot
And
of that.
Star-Lord's in the air, so you
Americas.
just Meteor to eat it all. Like, there's a
Yep.
lot of good reasons to play him, but there was still like, it was just a shame to see a lot less dive, really. So hopefully,
Yeah.
like the changes to like Hulk, for example, and Angela being pulled down a bit opens up the door a little bit more.
I think it will. If
But
Gambit
I
comes
think it
back
really,
for sure.
yeah, I think it's just like the thing that makes the game really interesting in comparisons like other hero shooters is like the team ups, because you can just manipulate the meta to an extent by filling in some of the gaps there. And I just think that some of the team ups are either just not as strong now as they have been in the past, but some of them are just frankly useless, right? So it's just, I don't want to see them go, oh, we're going to make more team ups to try to, because you end up just making a mess of it. Like, I like that the Psylocke team up is gone, because we
Yes.
saw no
We did
Psylocke
not need
since,
that.
right? And now, like in a vacuum, you can look at Psylocke's like balance and adjust it without it being tied to a team
We
up,
saw
right?
an okay
So
amount of Psylocke, but I think she was like in a good spot in terms of like the meta, right? Like you would use her to kind of focus down on certain heroes more than anything else, and
Yeah.
like using her team up with Gambit was also very
uh,
interesting as well.
It's really hard.
And not
Some
team up,
heroes
excuse me,
do
ultimate.
just become like really reliant on team ups, or like Hulk previously just become anchor bots, right? Where you just pick them so that someone else gets a buff, or like how I guess the Rocket Penny stuff, where you could only pick Penny if there's a Rocket on your team.
Yeah.
Up to now, and it's I mean, when the game was revealed, they had like you interact with each other to give each other team ups. Like Hulk had to clap Iron Man to give him Gamma, and it was cool and whatever. And I think where heroes complement each other and the team up's just like a fun thing. I think that's really cool.
It's definitely a unique thing for Marvel Rivals for sure, and I hope they like kind of dive a little bit more into it. That's why I was kind of sad to see not too many changes this go around with the team ups.
Some of them just are so like it just feels like, well, every character needs to have a team up, so we've got to give them something.
Like the Black
Squirrel
Panther
Girl and
Hulk
Iron
one
Man
just doesn't really make sense to me. Like
they just want BP to have a team up with somebody, and Hulk's always been the anchor. You give Gamma to something which just buffs something. Squirrel Girl Iron Man, what on earth is that?
Yeah, that's
And
a
you're never
weird
going to
one.
get rid of the Invisible Woman like Fantastic Four team ups.
No.
Like, I think you
I
should.
hope
I
not.
genuinely
I
think
hope
just take it
not.
out, or just make it just for the couple. Make it with Mr. Fantastic only.
Yeah.
Because
Oh yeah,
then
because
you
Invis
do
and
kind of just
Thing
bring
having
down.
it as well, just like extra
Yeah,
shield
right.
for him
Like
too, is just nuts.
it just makes it like I kind of like that you have to keep an eye out for that in like drafts and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, it felt like a really good method, despite the fact that it was universal bans. But something that I did want to mention earlier as well is just that like naturally over time, the bans for both MRC and Ignite are just going to become less and less effective because more characters get added. I'm not saying that you bring in like 4 bans or 5 bans instead of like 3 for each side, but you definitely have to be looking at like that in the
They have
future,
to be
right?
thinking
Especially for
about it,
Ignite
yeah.
when it is for your
Because what,
opponent.
Deadpool's the
because
50th hero, right? Or something like that?
yeah, it's something like
50th?
No,
I don't think
I
so.
think that number's
there's a
wrong on
lot.
that.
I think it's 40th maybe. That
Yeah,
sounds
somewhere
about
around
more
there.
about right. But yeah, a lot. It's overtaken Overwatch in the amount of heroes that are in the game in a year because of how much they're trying to put them out. Which I think is the best way to approach it. And it means that not every character has to be meta defining. You've got so many IP characters to work off, so you don't need to really think about designing them too much. Just who makes the most sense for this kit, go from there. I think so far they've been doing a good job of that when it comes to it. Like Danny especially, I think just has been really good at like leading that charge. And I think Deadpool, just to sort of recap everything, go full circle, is another example of it. But if Deadpool doesn't end up meta,
46, excuse
which-
me. We're almost at 50.
oh wow, we're a lot further than I thought. But yeah, it's more. I think it was a really good meta, but I think when we get to Ignite, where it's like banning for your opponent, protecting for yourself, so much more shit is going to get through that is just going to be obnoxious to deal
Yeah.
with. And so I wonder if they're going to change the Ignite ban system to just add a little bit more than the like 3 bans and 2 protects.
Yeah, I'm curious.
I
how
don't
they're
know
gonna
how that would
balance
work.
that.
Yeah.
I hope they just have it synergistic between MRC and Ignite, especially because MRC is going to be kind of like a feeder into Ignite, right? With the qualifications that they'll have, having them be on completely different ban systems. It's always just kind of been weird to me on that end. So we'll see. Maybe they just want it to look a little different in terms of composition, so that you can kind of separate them a little bit more that way. Who knows what they're thinking in terms of that? One thing I want to show real quick, and then we'll kind of go back and look more at the roadmap ahead, and then kind of close out with that. I just released this in the background. Shout out to Minty for linking this. There's a Jeff Wac-a-mole event in the game. I feel like this is pandering to all those Jeff haters.
Oh yeah. Like lock Jeff in a cage and never let him out for sure.
Wac-a-Jeff, basically. It's just like, the traditional like battle pass structure where you get like specific.
This immediately
cosmetics and
makes me
stuff
think,
for
yeah,
it.
there's going to be a Jeff Deadpool skin. Deadpool skin.
Deadpool, yeah. Oh, there's an 8-bit
Just off of the
Jeff
little-
skin.
Yeah, like the little like one there. I'm like,
What the?
Notice they like referenced Minecraft as well. So weird.
Oh man. Oh, did they actually?
Yeah, if you read the description, it says he looks like a Minecraft mod. So this
wait.
way, just
Yeah,
pause
Jeff,
it
what
here.
did you eat this time? You're starting to look like a Minecraft mod. Minecraft exists in the Marvel Rivals universe.
It's
confirmed.
canon, man.
so
yeah.
does Fortnite as well. If
Yeah,
maybe
that's
not for
true.
Marvel Rivals, but for the MCU.
Oh yeah, because they were saying supposedly that Luna and Magic are coming to Fortnite at some point, so
Oh, yeah.
that'll be interesting.
Doom 2099 is already in there, so yeah. I mean,
great. Oh, everyone
They're
knew
just
that,
in the
right?
films as well.
Yeah, I can't wait for the stuff actually with the films there. This 8-bit Jeff is so funny.
yeah, I gotta say this is the most confusing skin I've seen them add. It's
Free Jeff
funny, I
costume
guess.
as well.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad that it's free because
Yeah.
otherwise, like,
Yeah, maybe they'll make me pay for that. Yeah.
Oh man.
can you imagine? Some places would, but not here in Marvel Rivals.
People would buy it. People would buy it because it'd be
People would
funny.
buy it, yeah. That was great.
Oh dear.
Some people posting like how their game already looks like that too, based on their settings. It's just so funny. But yeah, a little distraction
Play
on
some
that one.
PlayStation 4, so yeah, they don't notice the difference.
Oh
That's
my
crazy, actually. Did you see they couldn't even get Marvel Zombies to run on PS4 because it was just too many things on the screen, so you just couldn't play it on there?
That's not surprising.
Makes
Like,
sense,
I
yeah.
was more surprised that they wanted to go back to PlayStation 4 to put it on there. Right?
So many players. There's so many players, man. Like
Oh,
who
yeah,
are just
PlayStation
yeah.
4 still has
Why not?
like so many users
gonna be
as
on
well.
phones soon enough.
Speaking of that, I think one of the things that is holding back Marvel Rivals the most is just the size of the game itself and like optimization.
Yeah.
Like if they focus on that a
Optimization,
lot
yeah.
in this next year, they'll definitely increase like their player base, especially if all the stuff going on with like the RAM price hikes and the graphics card stuff. That's going to be happening this year. Like people's hardware is probably not going to be upgrading for a while, so being able to optimize this game a little bit more will make it easier for people to get involved. Okay, here is the roadmap.
Yep.
Took me a sec to crop it. I haven't really had a chance too much to break this down in terms of like the size of the boxes. From what I've understood, is that you can see the preseason ones. That's about a month. Same for like around the stage 1. MRC I feel like is a little shorter than what it was before, based on how this.
That might be the
graphic looks.
broadcast days of MRC.
Could be the
though,
broadcast
but who
days of
knows?
MRC. That's
That's
correct.
true.
But yeah, so it looks like it is going to be starting though on that like second weekend of March, based on how this is set up, instead of February, because typically we have seen it be like a month after, and usually like right after the second hero releases. So I'm assuming Elsa is not going to drop until March, for that 6.5 on that side, and then like
Should
right into
be.
MRC for it. So
I mean, in theory, it should be late Feb that she comes out, because it's meant to be every month, isn't it? And if Deadpool's coming out January, she should be similar
It
to
could
that.
be.
Like it's usually late month, right?
yeah, but
Yeah,
that
I
would
mean,
also
because
mean
we
like
had
a whole
Rogue.
month of not having like a new season, right? If MRC season 6 is just like in that
I mean,
limbo
they just.
area, right?
I
So
think they
I
released
don't wanna,
season
like,
7 like at the end of March, no, like just before.
I don't want to leak anything, but like
Here we
I'm
go.
going away for however long, so I was obviously very keen on like when season 6 starts up if they want
Yeah.
me back, so I'm not like away. It was earlier than the end of March is what they tentatively said to me, but
Yeah.
like we will know by the time that this by the time that this would go onto YouTube and people are actively watching it, we'd know where the MRC season 6 would be, because we would be in season 6 and it would show
they'll
in-game,
announce it
right?
on like
So-
Friday and say it, or like it'll be in game by that point. So we'll
Yeah.
kind of see like what the exact dates are, and that'll give us a better view of everything as well. But I think it's also interesting to me too that for the mid-season qualifiers, if that is like promo relegation, because it didn't mention a mid-season qualifier during the actual announcement video, how that's going to kind of go about, because it looked like on the graphic it was 2 teams from Ignite, and then the 2 best placing teams from MRC season 8, and then the 2 teams who had the best point totals out of those teams from season 7 to season 8. So I guess a 6-team bracket for each region of some sort on that end. How that competition is going to go, right? Like if we are going to see like a crazy broadcast for that during July for each region, and like how that's going to go, like that'll be our first look at a promo relegation style, how the protections are going to work for the partner teams, right? If they're even going to have a chance to be in that at all or not. I'm really curious on like how that system is going to work on that end.
Can you imagine being in a region and it's like, cool, the bottom 8 teams are all partnered, so we're kicking out the second and first place team or whatever, because
that's
you have to
what I'm
relegate
wondering.
somebody.
Or if they even do a promo relegation, if like the partner teams are the ones at the bottom, right? Or if it's a scenario where you guys were talking about before that, oh, you have this spot as an org, but since your team didn't do as good, you gotta let them go, and you can pick up whoever wins this, right? And if your team wins it, you can keep them, right? But I'm really curious on how that's gonna work in terms of like even the partner slots and then having those
always
guest
ends
teams and all
messy.
that. Yeah. Like they need
It's
some
always a shit
announcements
show.
soon for that, in my opinion.
Yeah,
Just
but
to keep it clear.
my point is probably like I wouldn't look at this graphic too specifically on when
Yeah.
stuff is going to be,
Yes.
because like
It might
even
change.
like even the destinations of like mid-season finals was late notice, and for grand finals as well, right? Like we were
Yeah.
there by the time it was like announced. Essentially, it was going to be like a DreamHack, and it's like, yeah, well, we're here in Atlanta, so I hope it's going to be here.
There was a lot
but
of
yeah.
speculation in DreamHack, but
Stuff is always subject to change, and like I said, I'm genuinely quite pleasantly surprised at like how
I like how it's spread out.
it feels very like Wallace and Gromit, like putting the track down like whilst the train is going along a
MRC
bit
finally
at times,
doesn't
but
like interrupt the actual season, which is great.
yeah,
Because
but
it's not
yeah,
going
I
to be
wouldn't
played
look at
over
the
each other.
specifics of it.
I
would also assume that like the stage 1 and stage 2 pretty much was the same as it was last year, of like the last 2 weeks of a month. I think it was like the last 2 weeks of June and then the first week of July, and then it was the same for
because this was
first
like
2
the
weeks of
last 2 weeks of
September
May
to
and the
early
first 2
October.
weeks of June sort of deal for like Americas and EMEA. So like maybe those
Yeah.
last
Just
2 weeks
wanna
of June
know.
is when the playoffs
It's
would
kind
be.
of like what happened last year with MRC intentionally sort of slotted into the right places instead of some having Ignite teams, some teams not.
I just want to know what they're going to do with preseason, how that's going to work. Because in theory, like teams haven't qualified yet.
But yeah, because we don't know who the guest teams are and everything as well.
Exactly,
so, like,
and it looks like preseason actually goes before the end of MRC season 6.
Yeah, I'm thinking. So this was my little thinking cap being put on. That since Asia and OCE are later for their preseasons, that they're the ones who finish that final weekend of March. But the weekend before that might be when Americas and EMEA finish. Specifically having it staggered that way. So that way there's that weekend that they would start on for Americas and EMEA's preseason stuff. But who knows? Maybe it's just like, they finish and then the same week they go into it. I think they tried to do that originally for Ignite from the qualifiers, right? And then they had to delay things for stage 1 from what I remember.
Stage 1 dates did move. I remember they moved.
Yeah.
I think stage 2 dates moved as well, if I remember right, but I can't remember what the reason was.
Probably just roster lock stuff and like orgs.
Yeah. Also, they had in the video like more set dates on stuff specifically. So, my guess would be that MRC season 6 is earlier in March, and then that would go into a qualify for preseason, which would start.
Hopefully, it's not like you win on like a Sunday and then you're playing on a Thursday the same week. That'd be a lot.
See, that's tough. The fact that this isn't available like publicly is tough because there are orgs and people fishing around, poking their nose around who, if they have this information, they can make plans.
Yeah.
But what I hope this doesn't happen, but I'm a bit of a pessimist. What I'm worried happens is that all this hype is here now, and then MRC gets announced, and people kind of forget that it's a qualifying event because it happened. It just kind of comes out in game. Yeah. It's not like a big deal. People forget that it's the first time you can qualify for the new Ignite season, and orgs kind of just lose interest over time. And it just dwindles.
I just hope they advertise it more. Like that's the main thing for me.
That was the big one. They did a decent job with NA. The other regions, I think they just completely let fall on their face.
Yeah,
which is crazy
and
because
also,
all the big stories came from EU.
From mid-season into stage 2, they didn't even talk about like it was starting the next week after mid-season.
It just literally a tweet came out like the day before.
Yeah.
And there was people, and like it got to the point where there was a coach of a team who just said, "Yeah, by the way, I'm just going to leak I'm going to leak the pictures. I'm just leaking all of them because NetEase won't post them. NetEase won't post them if I get in trouble. Sorry." But someone needs to advertise that this is happening. Here is the people who are facing who at what time. Here's where you can watch it. I don't think he got in trouble.
I think one of the old managers for one of the EMEA teams was making their own sort of like HLTV essentially. So they're trying to like keep stuff up to date in terms of like stats and all that as well, which is dope that like the community figures are trying to do that.
It's Bonker.
That's from Monaco. I think he was the analyst.
Which is the NRG coach that just won champs in Valorant, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm making this because he worked with Salah in Valorant, so they know each other pretty well. For a time they were on guild together." So yeah, because he reached out and was like, "What do you think of this?" And I'm like, "I think I pretty much sent him your way, Vodable." I was like, "Yeah, it's up to these guys."
I think they messaged me at first. So it's like, yeah, there isn't really many people doing like articles and stuff in Marvel Rivals right now. It's more like me and Diatonic doing some esports coverage, and then some like odd people here and there doing their own like stuff based on their region. I hope we get more coverage like that. That's what I loved doing at the grand finals, so like interviewing the players, right, and like putting that stuff up, just more like insight into the background of everything between matches and all that. I think helps grow the scene. Like I hope we get more content like that. I'm always pitching stuff to them too. But yeah, so like the Terra interview I did is pretty dope. Hoping to do some more. I know the Chopper Mag coach is actually looking for a team instead, or an org right now, because they've been doing it I think for free basically for their team, because they haven't had an org this whole time.
That happens a lot.
Yeah, shout out to them. I know a lot of managers are like that too, from what I've seen.
Yeah, you kind of have to be proactive enough, and like, because orgs aren't going to chase.
Yeah,
they want to.
No org is chasing any team in this game.
They want it to be sort of set up on a plate in front of them, which makes sense because it's a business. Like they can't afford to they need to really see it all in action. But I think what I would say, with grand finals and stuff and how last year went, rough around the edges, but it was a really good proof of concept of what an esports circuit can look like in this game.
Yeah,
it's a $3 million proof of concept when it comes to prize pool, and that's like not counting all the production or talent or whatever behind the scenes, or even being able to be at DreamHack and doing it in China and stuff, and all of the lands and all that.
I'm really
But
curious how the land's going to
yeah.
work this next year too. Like, if they go back to China for mid-season, and then grand finals, maybe add another DreamHack. Like, based on the dates, there's another DreamHack in EMEA that's around that time
Stockholm,
too.
which
Yeah,
is
Stockholm.
usually where the Overwatch one is. So I can just
Yeah.
imagine like just Blizzard and NetEase developers scrapping in the parking lot afterwards if it's there again.
Yeah, I'm assuming
Uh,
theirs wouldn't, because I know they have Overwatch World Cup this year, so that might change their plans in terms of like the schedule
I'm
for all
dead
that.
serious when I say that. I'm pretty sure if Marvel Rivals was at DreamHack at the same time Overwatch World Cup, there would be players who had their day scheduled around like, cool, I got to play Overwatch in the morning and Marvel Rivals in the afternoon. Like most, I mean, not most, a lot of Marvel Rivals pros are also very high level Overwatch players, and a lot of Overwatch players who have played around with the game are high level Marvel Rivals players. There would be quite a lot of crossover, I think, and you'd see that, especially with some of the less represented countries, right? Like, yeah,
it's because what it could be as well is like it could be esports World Cup like mid-season like finals, and then the grand finals would be in China again or somewhere else. What I don't think is like I don't know if they do an event in Europe unless it's really spelled out. Like there's DreamHack Birmingham, but that's like March.
Yeah,
but like even if it was
and
an
then like
appropriate time,
DreamHack
I don't
Atlanta
think
is
you're like
in May, so like it's not even a good time for that.
Yeah,
either.
yeah,
I feel like
yeah.
DreamHacks, like side note tangent, are kind of going away because they're focusing so much on EWC. There used to be like 2 of them happening at least in around the summertime. Actually 3, one near June and then one in July and then one in August, from what I remember as well. Now they only have
DreamHack
3
has
that are
changed a
happening this
lot.
year. Yeah. They've had a lot of changes on that side too, so I'm really curious how that'll look. Not this year specifically, but next year as well on that end. I just hope we get more like land specific stuff. It'd be cool, like if eventually they did like in a studio, like had the playoffs right for specific regions. Just had it be a bit more
that was the only
competitive that way.
downside about like DreamHack Atlanta is just
Yeah.
like it did because it was the most space and it was very open, so people could just sort of like chip in and out.
Yeah.
Whereas you compare it to like some of the other like mobile games there, where it's like you kind of had to go into an area to watch it, so it was a lot more like compact.
Yeah.
It was just one of those ones where you never felt like you had that kind of like electric atmosphere for Marvel
Kind
Rivals
of
because it
shoved in
was
the
like
corner a little bit, yeah.
yeah, and it was by the front door, so people were like looking at it and then checking out other stuff. It didn't feel like you've got your like little corner or your specific area. You could have an audience that was half the size and feel a lot more like energetic because
I'd
it's
love that,
Marvel
yeah.
Rivals headed
look
people.
at the fighting game community. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, right. Like, and the fighting games were louder than we were, but I feel like it was for me. I was always been like, I don't know what it's going to be like for Marvel Rivals as an esport, but like being there and just sort of seeing it, it's like it's
the
got
orgs
legs
definitely need to
and like
contribute a little bit in terms of like bringing their fan base out and getting them to hype up. Like I was the one who got the FlyQuest chants going. They didn't even like start things themselves. Like, and then eventually they were doing it a little bit for the people who were there for FlyQuest, like Miss Harvey and those folks. But like, it's just hard for these people who don't really know orgs as much as well in terms of Marvel Rivals to like know who to root for on that end too, right? And a lot of them were like casual fans.
I think this is a really interesting relationship between, because of the IP, because it's Marvel, how many people are into this because it's Marvel, how many people are into this because it's esports. Because I mean, I don't know obviously, but I can't imagine that an awful lot of FlyQuest fans from whatever other games they compete in are going, oh, FlyQuest are at DreamHack Marvel Rivals, I'm going to learn Marvel Rivals and follow them. I'd imagine the people that like Marvel Rivals are probably people that either liked Overwatch, liked Paladins or similar games, or like the IP and play games.
Yeah, I think a lot of it's people that like the IP. Like if this was a game that did not have Marvel on it, we probably wouldn't have anywhere near the like reception that there has been for it. Yeah, PAX could be a good shout too.
It would be like a Paladins level game, I think. Like it would be, like, it'd have a small niche dedicated community and a small esports scene with a few people who are just really committed to it. But it would not be like we wouldn't have this podcast about it or
exactly.
Like that.
That's why it feels like everything has to be like, even if it's not putting up S tier numbers, it has to be like an S tier system because one, it's NetEase, and one, it is the biggest IP that you could attach to a game, right? Yep. Like over the last decade is just Marvel. Marvel anything, like, and so you have to sort of like live up, and it's costly to attach Marvel to your name as well. Like
some of those games like recently haven't lasted long either. I mean, the one that was the mobile app that came out recently, like that one,
Mystic Mayhem.
Mystic Mayhem, yeah, it was fun when I first played it, but then didn't really have as much legs compared to some of the other ones out there. And I think also because there's so many Marvel mobile games as well, it's hard to stand out in comparison.
Snap was on top, and then now look at it.
They made a game that you need. it just made a game where you need to pay too much attention to it and be locked in on it for too long. You can't look away for too long in it because it's real-time combat and stuff like that, and it's just not made for mobile.
Yeah.
It probably wanted like a PC client quite
Some
urgently.
crossover with the new Wolverine game would be dope. Because that's supposedly coming out at the end of the year. As well,
that's
so that'll be neat.
And some makes a good point
movie
because
crossovers too
people
would
have
be
said
cool.
the same thing. People have said the same thing as like Sam, where they were like, an event should be done out of San Diego Comic-Con, like esports wise.
I was thinking the same.
And it's like, well, I was like, I don't see that happen because it's just so crazy. But it's like no other like esports will have access to that kind of like audience to pull
exactly,
in.
yeah.
A non-endemic esports audience, and like, oh, you like video games and you like Marvel.
Audience too. Yeah.
Here's like the best like players and stuff. But it's also like moments like Jeff coming out on stage and doing his thing with Cozy. That happened because we went around and we saw the Jeff voice actor, and we were like, hey, we did a casting of the thing. Like the event, and he was like, he also does the voiceover for like the esports stuff from last year. So he was like, oh, I've tried getting in touch, but like just couldn't. And so we were just like, all right, we'll go tell him, and then we'll get your guys to do. Like it wasn't us like organizing, orchestrated it, but we were just like, yeah, the Jeff voice actor, he's down to do some stuff, and it was like,
I think they need more activations like that. Honestly, I actually got to talk to him back at MomoCon in May, because he just like showed up to this random like LAN event that we were running for like charity and stuff, and just like I did an impromptu interview with him. Like a lot of the voice actors are just wanting to be involved in the game in any way. Like they don't really need too much in terms of like getting them there and like playing in it. And you'll see them in some of the tournaments that are coming up on that side too. But yeah, there's like a lot of interesting stuff in terms of how to promote the game and how to get people involved, and how things will be going for this next year of Marvel Rivals. I do want to take a quick moment to shout out the Creator Cup that Bassam and also some other great folks are working on as well. NetEase is sponsoring this 40K prize pool tonight in about an hour now. For those watching it live, they're doing a draft of the teams on who's going to be picking up the different rosters. Here's some of the creators out there. You recognize Aramori, Zotaic, Pick and Roll, KG, some other great folks. Zazastack from OCE, and then on the other side, there's some other great ones too that we've seen as well. Puffer, who is at the Streamer Awards for Marvel Rivals, Boger, J3, Necros. So like a lot
Tim
of people.
The Tapman, aka Guru.
Hey,
yeah, exactly.
Where's Marvel Rivals Streamer of the Year Flats? Where's Marvel Rivals Streamer of the Year Flats not here?
He's probably doing that other event that I'm not going to mention.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, probably doing that one. But yeah, so like this event's being put on. Here's the captains for it too: Aramori, Boger, Necros, CC, Donatello, Benser, team captain Greg Albert. So some more like community focused on this one, and I'm actually going to be hosting the B stream or on my channel on Sunday, so definitely make sure you tune in to that as well. They'll announce the casters.
We're gonna need to
watch
it to see what it's like.
Yeah, it's gonna be dope.
Who's casting it? Has that been announced yet? Or like
it will be announced, I think, in an hour. On who's on the main stream for that one. Yeah,
so they're probably shitting their pants seeing all of the gameplay of Deadpool. Be like, I don't know how it's gonna be great. With this.
They're actually gonna have some incentives in terms of like people playing Deadpool, and you get some like prizes based on that. I know that all this info is public, so let me talk about this. So essentially, yeah, there's no bans, so you can play whoever your like hero is that you're the one trick for. So like Zotaic's gonna be b-hopping with like the Hulk the whole time, I'm sure. Certain things like that. They have a snake draft style, so you have to draft Vanguards and then Duelists and then Strategists, I think it is, for your team that they're doing tonight live with the captains. And then they're having round robin go first into a brackets at the end of it as well. So a lot of cool stuff with that. And then of course Bassam is where the main channel is going to be for it, and then my channel for the B stream, and then we are HSP, which is Liger's production company, is the one that's putting it together on the back end there too. So then prizing 18,000 for first place, 8,000 for second, 4 for third and fourth, 1,800 for fifth and sixth, and then 1,200 for 7th and 8th. So all people who are participating in this are also getting some prizing themselves. So yeah, shout out to those guys for bringing me on to help with the B stream on it. Really hyped for it. And then Super did announce a $200,000 Deadpool invitational with no details. I do have to shout it out because it is happening. Supposedly because some other stuff. Yeah, it's like a day before, Friday, I think, or 2 days before. Good. Yeah, so this is only on Friday.
because these prize pools come out of NetEase, right?
Yes.
NetEase support these events. It's the
Yes.
same with the Daredevil event that we had, and then
Yep.
also the Christmas event. So NetEase are basically, you pitch these events, because I know people are currently doing it. Pitch these events, you get the budget, you can put it together. I think it's crazy when you've got like 100K invitationals that started off last year.
Yep.
It is crazy to have streamer tournaments, frankly, because that's what they are, with a 200K prize pool.
I agree. Yeah.
Like, it's great that they're willing to spend that much money, but I think that money could have been like, you could have cut that down to like 50K, and it would, streamers would want to play the new content and show that off, and at least it's showing how the game's meant to be played. 6 versus 6 coordinated setting, right?
Yeah,
Like at
this
least there's
is,
that.
what is it? 36 streamers, including Super Ford, is what they mentioned, that will be playing through a tournament that day, and going through it all. And then, sorry, I just had to retweet because Kanua is looking for team. Shout out. Yeah, Dilduck's another team that kind of like fell apart on that end too. But yeah, so like there's a lot of interesting, I guess you could say, cannibalization that is going to be occurring, unfortunately, in terms of events during this off season, from what I've seen, based on like what is scheduled. A lot of like rescheduling having to happen too.
Yeah.
So I just wish they had a little bit more coordination on that, and I know they're going to get to it eventually. Probably just the hecticness of the off season into like the holidays and Chinese New Year happening as
Lunar New
well.
Year,
So like there's so much going on in terms of like having to get things together. So I feel for the devs trying to get this all sorted out, and they probably just want to spread the love, get people involved, people from different scenes, because like Super's one of the biggest Overwatch streamers, right? So like getting that whole scene involved, probably XQC will plan it, and all these other big streamers as well. And then there's some other tournaments that'll be happening like at the end of this month that'll be going on into next month. So a lot more events in the off season in terms of like content creator events. I just hope we see a little bit more of like professional player, like invitational style, like you were saying, Ryan, because the players need that to showcase their skills before they get picked up by some of these squads that are out there.
Yeah, because I think like the winter event was a good example of that, but just like more of those, because also like I'm in the lucky privileged position of being able to be a caster in this game, but like you don't want it to be like Overwatch was, where there's just like a backlog, like a traffic jam. You're waiting for people to basically either get fired or quit, then you get an opportunity. Like I'm really glad that they're hiring more casters with their like casting call.
Yeah, that's huge.
Stuff that they put
we don't
out
know
in
like
December, right?
how many they're looking for currently based on that, but I hope they said until like April is when like they'll have final decisions or something on the like actual form for it. So we'll probably see hopefully a little bit sooner than that, like before
because
MRC
my assumption, at least I hope so, otherwise I'm out of a job, is that they would want to keep everybody that has been working last year and then add
into
to
the
it,
MRC
which again
stuff,
would mean more broadcasting. So like I would want to see more like events happening, so there's more opportunities to like people to cast the game and be more like we just need more events happening. They don't all need to be majors, they just need to be consistent for the teams to consider playing in.
What do you think, Minty?
I mean, sorry, I think that they'll. I think it's a good thing. I think if they put out a casting call every time to see who's interested, see what the options are. I don't think there's anything wrong with the casters we had. I think there's a mix. There are some that had more of a mixed reception than others, I think, especially in other regions. I think it's a good thing to just go and put that out there. I know people like.
I mean, I applied for a casting call. I mean, I guess I had more experience than some because I did Valorant, right? But I still had to go through that. And it was just from talking to some people. Did, right? Yeah. Like nobody got a through.
Yeah, I think
know
some of them got like different
games
in terms of like interviews based on like their experience, because like if they know, oh, you're from like Overwatch or Valorant or whatever, we kind of know your experience in terms of that. I know
if Sideshow went and said I want to cast Marvel Rivals, I'd hope they let him in. Yeah.
As far as I know, some of those guys
like,
did
they still
apply
make you cast. That's what they did.
Yeah,
because I'm pretty sure like they for mine, like they were like, okay, can you cast a bit of the game? I'm pretty sure the VOD that they gave us to cast over was me casting over it from like the invitational. So I was like,
that's
well,
so funny.
I think I could do this a little bit. But like it was a nice experience, and again,
all I can say about
Valorant, a lot of people came through. Yeah,
all I can say about the new experience is it's a lot better than it was before too. As far as I'm aware for that, from what I've heard.
Balance patch.
Oh, they posted the balance patch? Okay.
Balance patch. I waited for the hour and I was refreshing the Twitter page. And I was like, it's coming. I had the.
Do you guys have time to go through this? No worries.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sweet. I don't need to eat. Yeah.
This is what we've been waiting for, the balance patch. Here,
we'll take like 10 minutes.
Yeah. Well, it usually takes a little.
Okay.
Let me crop this real quick just so it looks a little bit better.
It's also nice because I don't really get to talk about the game that much, like
A few changes. There's a
outside of
few.
it.
Okay. So Angela, making it slightly easier to knock Angela out of the fray, reduced shield stance, shield value. There's the shield that you were talking about. Okay, so that's the only thing that they're nerfing for Angela is just the shield. I think that's a good change. It's not too much of a change, but I feel like they could have done a little bit more.
Captain
I
America,
don't
like
think she really
reducing.
needs buffs, to be honest.
Yeah.
But yeah,
No.
no, sorry, I don't think she needs anything.
Ooh, the energy saw cooldown reduced by 2 seconds is kind of nuts. I'm not gonna lie.
I think you just use it more. You probably just build up quicker now. You just chip a little bit
quicker,
more.
yeah. Like you're able to actually do more damage because of it, because you can use
More
it more
effective
frequently,
range, yeah.
and because it bounces between like the couple enemies. Sorry, I'm just repositioning.
You're good.
But yeah, like having that more frequent is just gonna make it so that strategists have to pay a little bit more attention to you while you're going after both of them in the backline, right? So that's a big thing.
Sorry, I was looking ahead of the Doctor Strange one.
Yeah.
I can read these out. I don't know if I'm
you're
going
good.
content creator brain. If you've got them on screen, like Maelstrom, conversion ratio up, so I guess it's just a little bit more damage. But the recast in the cloak of levitation now
New
interrupts the
effect.
ability, but you preserve current movement speed and allow for new movement input to change trajectory. That means that you're going to have
That's
some like
cool.
fly by eye of Agamotto shit. You know what I mean? Like
That's
you're going to
dope.
have some like actual Tokyo drifting Doctor Strange ults. Which, if that's again, if you get rid of all of the portal stuff we talked about before and you make it more of a skillful ability, especially what Minty was saying before about force physics just kind of ruining it, that you can actually go for some like TikTok level plays where just Strange
You don't need to
is
use the portal for it.
gliding in like an
Yeah.
angel.
That's dope. I like that a lot, actually. I feel like that also makes it harder to predict where they're going to be using it, right? When you see the Strange and you know that they have ultimate.
I mean, you can shift to the right and then put the input forward, right? So you
Yeah.
can dart around more. Maybe it's a buff. Yeah.
Yeah, I like those changes, and then more. I think they get the dark magic faster based on this, from the increase of the conversion ratio, and it does more damage as well. So that's pretty good for Doctor Strange.
It builds up
Emma
quicker as well, which is
Frost.
worth noting. Yeah.
Yeah.
Emma Frost increased energy gained. Hero hits 10 seconds to 12 seconds. Sentience hits 15 seconds to 18 seconds. Shield hits 5 seconds to 6 per
Is this a
second.
buff or no? This seems
This
to
is
be
a
of
buff.
like getting to full.
It says her energy
yeah,
gains a
yeah,
little more
energy.
dazzling. Yeah, so it goes to full faster is what it seems like.
Yeah.
You hit the heroes, you get 2 damage per second to like the actual pulse thing.
Oh, damage from second. I thought it was like how quickly you get to
What
it,
is
yeah.
a
This is
sentience
just-
hit?
When you do the E, when you
Oh,
the
okay.
E, the
crystal.
gem you pull out.
The
Yeah, when you're
crystal,
hitting
gotcha,
that, you
gotcha.
get way more. It
Gotcha.
just gives she just reaches max damage quicker.
Okay. I like that change.
Yeah, I mean she most for people anyway.
Yeah.
It's fine. Like
I don't think it
Yeah.
needed that.
Again,
you know?
because she does have the team up to she has
Emma
the
was-
Luna one, but that's
Emma's
kind of like
fine.
yeah. I don't think she needs any more than that though.
I don't think she needs buffs or nerfs. I think she's in a good spot. Yeah.
Yeah. Agreed.
Hulk.
1 sec. Sorry. Got a promo on the stream real quick. But yeah, if you guys want to talk about the Hulk changes real quick.
So he's
You
getting
get
more
your
supply.
practice as a content creator, Minty. You do the
I got this. Okay. So
Yeah.
guys, Hulk guys is stronger than ever. I mean, we're seeing his survivability and threat level get a huge gamma boost. Any gamma enjoyers in chat? So they're reducing Hero Hulk's maximum leap minimum charge time. So you don't have to charge for as long. It's a big buff to Bruce Banner enjoyers. And increasing max charge time, so reducing max charge time from 2 seconds to 1.7. As we just can jump more, it's quicker. You're stuck on the ground less. You can dash around more, making more of that dive tank, which is quite interesting. As well, they're
Oh, that's
reducing
huge on the Monster
cooldown.
Hulk form. Yeah.
Yes, bro. And in Hero Hulk, so this is like the base form when you're like base Hulk, your gamma burst cooldown is reduced from 8 to 6 seconds. This is the clap. And it increases the damage from 70 to 75. So he's more damage, up more often. You're going to build up quicker as well because of this. A bit more lethality. This is a good change. And in Monster Hulk form, so the ultimate, Hulk is now immune to launch and knockback effects. No force physics. This will not stop like Angela or Wolverine kidnapping him, but this will stop like.
It will, I believe.
Is that a launch? Does it count as a launch?
I think it's a knockback. Well, no.
What would be a
I guess it's
launch?
not.
What is a launch effect?
Yeah, that's the question. Someone's going to test it, I'm sure, during the playtest, the early access that they always do. That's going to be the big thing. Will it be Angela and all that, or will it not?
Yeah, I mean, he can still be stunned, but like Luna and a Mantis can still put him to sleep or freeze him. But by the looks of it, but like
yeah, it's not
you know,
CC immune. It's just
I think
getting
knockback is like
pushed.
moving forward back, but like launch up is like the Yancy Street charge, maybe.
Oh,
Those
yeah,
kind
yeah.
of like
Oh,
uppercut
that'll be a
CCs.
knock up. Yeah, like a launch, I guess.
Yeah,
So maybe Angelo and Wolverine still can. We'll find out. We'll see a list. won't we?
Because
TBD.
also Deadpool does have a launch himself, right? I think like he has a knock up
Yeah, that's
or like
right.
a hit up. I don't
Yeah.
know.
I think tank changes are fine. He's a fine. Interesting to see no mag nerfs though. Or
Yeah.
Groot nerfs. I was really hoping for.
I mean, they're not going to touch them, right? We've never seen mag nerfs really. Like we've seen a little bit, like him touched sometimes, but Black Panther, I think a lot of people were wanting some changes. So extra damage on the spear toss, and then gain a 50% damage reduction using Bat's Descent. What? I guess that makes it so that you could survive a little bit better when you're trying to use your ultimate. I think this is just going to be like a low elo
It's gone.
thing, making it harder to
You
counter.
you just stop getting ult cancelled, right? You just don't explode when you press it, I guess. This is a nothing burger change.
Yeah. I think the damage though is going to be significant though, because the spear tosses. That's what you use to like reset your abilities, right?
Do you guys know if this changes the threshold to 275 heroes? Because Black Panther had a combo where you would spear, shift, and he would one shot at 250.
Yeah, I think this does make it faster on that end.
But does it mean
some Black Panther?
It didn't kill 275s before. Do we know if the extra 10 damage will it now kill 275? If it does, this is a big buff. If it doesn't, this isn't a huge buff.
More things to be tested is what it sounds like on that end.
Yeah.
Twitch.tv/Tanuki, I guess. If he's playing a lot of Black Panther, then
Slushy,
we'll know.
Haunt.
Blade. So this is what a lot of people were wanting to see. Blade changes. So threat level rises when wielding the shotgun. The Daywalker dash has a new effect. Slows enemies for 40% for 1.5 seconds and increases second hit damage from 20 to 50. What?
That's crazy, actually. Just the 40 per second slow.
Oh my gosh, that's insane.
Neddies, what are we doing? What's going on?
Blade meta?
Are we okay? That's a big change.
Oh man.
It's always like this though. It's like small changes, you know, like they make this, and it's like given Blade nuclear codes.
Yeah, so his dash with the sword used to slow, but they got rid of that and instead had healing reduction per strike be applied even more.
They're giving anti-heal to the sword. That's crazy. Oh.
So you still have that with the sword, yeah, but it removes the slow.
Yeah, so I guess the slow is better for the shotgun, and then the sword is a little worse, but it also makes it so that they don't heal as much. It also says reduce damage from 15 to 8 per hit. So I guess when they're using the Daywalker dash, that they do a little bit less damage now.
It gives you, even though the damage is lower, this actually is this is a huge buff in terms of your ability to kill somebody, because they're just not going to get, one invis left click is going to hit them and they're not going to go to full health this time.
This is Siegebreaker with Moon Knight, and they have also have a team up together, so
they're also reducing the damage that you're doing with the shotgun though, because they get rid of one of the pellets, and the damage fall off also starts sooner and drops off more heavily. So instead of being as mid-range, you have to be closer range with the shotgun, is what it sounds like from this.
This is a good change, because before you're like at mid-range, so you can't really use the sword and the shotgun effectively. The shotgun now works closer, so you're closer, and the sword is buffed, so you're more incentivized to get in. It applies to
so maybe you dash with the shotgun first, and then hit them with the shotgun, and then swap to the sword, and then reduce their healing that they can receive that way. It's like a sort of combo. So I guess more of a retooling than anything else with this, and trying to keep them more of that close range instead of mid range as we saw before.
The sword can hit multiple people at the same time as well, so you can actually kill multiple people. Yeah. So
I'm really curious how that's going to work in terms of like trying to kill people through like invis ult, reduce the healing and all that. On that side, maybe a little bit more effective for it. Daredevil, these are the changes people were waiting for. So the chain high damage range is reduced. That's good. Devil's Throw single projectile damage reduced by 2.5, total from 65 to 60 on a single target, and then reduced fury gain from Devil's Latch when grappling from 2 to 1. So I guess gets his combo a little bit
What are
less
we
quickly
doing?
and then doing a little less damage. But I don't think this is much of a nerf, in my opinion.
What are we
I
doing
think he gets
here?
rid of one of his combos, though, from what I remember.
The Devil's Latch change is good. You know, you get less few, not just spamming right clicks as much. Right click does less damage.
Yeah.
I think this probably changes 1 or 2 kill thresholds on 275s. Probably. I still think this guy gets into your back. If there are support nerfs, this guy's still going to get into your backline, kill everything. You have to look at him, and he still just gets ridiculous amounts of shields. I think the shielding was the biggest issue because you can't peel him, even if he doesn't get a kill. Like he just lives forever.
Not enough of a change,
So,
in my opinion.
yeah, we'll see.
We'll see.
We'll see, right? Maybe
Yeah,
maybe
it really
dead.
depends. Iron
You just
Fist.
get people to attention to it. It's
Yeah.
same sort of thing. I think just on the other side, like I think Iron Fist was getting a lot more use, and if people are now considering playing Iron Fist more because of like his effective use cases, there's only going to be more effective use cases for him now, and especially with Daredevil being nerfed, I think that just maybe gets replaced by Iron Fist.
Yeah, a little bit.
Most players can play both.
I think it also
You
makes
play
it so
DD Iron Fist,
he's able to peel a little bit more because he does a little more damage on that fourth strike, and then also having a little longer duration on the defense is kind of big in terms of survivability, especially when you're trying to like stall a little bit as you're like using your ultimate as well. I think this is a good change. It's nothing too crazy, but we'll see. How much it's going to be a bit of a nuisance. Namor's the big one. I was wondering how they're changing that. Some more power in his base form, but his team up is toned down. So aquatic dominion time for a single charge is reduced from 12 seconds to 10 seconds. Monster spawn health is increased from 100 to 125, and damage from 17 to 18. And then enhanced monster spawn is from 11 to 12 on that side as well.
So it sort of works out the same damage it does, but just over a short period of time.
Yeah.
Is aquatic domination the ability that puts down the squid?
Let's look.
I think so.
Oh, that's not what I was looking for. There we go.
Because it sounds like it is, because 12 seconds sounds too long for his right click.
I mean, I probably should know the name of the abilities, but there's just a
It
lot
says
of
charge
ability
as
names
well,
that
and
are
it's
just
the only one with
awful.
charges.
Aquatic dominion. That is him using it.
Yeah, that's the squid, yeah.
Okay,
This
so you
is-
get
I think this
squids
is great.
faster, is what it sounds like.
You get squids faster, and your uptime is up more. One of the big issues that Namor had after he lost because he had the Lunar Team up and he had the Gamma Squid. When he lost those, a big issue was that you just never had 2 squids up anymore. Because you'd always, you'd use one,
Yeah.
then you'd use 2, sorry, and then one would come up every time it was finished, and you had to either be in this weird position of you commit 1 squid and you don't really get your full cycle back, or you have to wait and just hold it until you have 2 again. And Namor had this big issue, whereas before when he had the team up, he could place 1 of each, it would charge, he would have 2, then he would have 1 of each again, and he would always have 2 up available. So this is a big buff, because this means he's going to be able to cycle 2 squids more often, especially since they have more HP. This is a good buff for that.
Yeah, I think it's a good change for Namor. Especially kind of making him more relevant than just a team up merchant on that side. Cloak and Dagger. Here's what we were waiting to see how they're doing it for them. So support is getting shaken up, healing and flexibility updated. Dagger Storm healing is reduced from 55 per second to 45 per second, but has a new effect. When a spell field is created, allies in range get a one-time healing of 60?
Guys, I don't know.
60 HP.
Yep.
And you get extra healing.
It also
over time.
that kind of makes sense why they've put the like double charge on Veil of Light Force as well, because doing that and then putting the
wow, that's a huge buff in my opinion. Even with reducing the healing over time, just having you instantly get 60 HP back is nuts.
Who needs Trank ultimates when you just have Trank abilities now to just go bang everybody's full health?
I think Cloak is now very good into dive. He's much better into dive than she was now.
Yeah, especially with that. And he can self heal with it better that way too, right?
Exactly. That's why, right? You just if BP throws a spear at you, you just prop that on yourself. You instantly go full HP. He can't dive you because you're healing over time, just like in this shield. And we've actually higher numbers of healing, and you're just invincible.
Wow. So it says the ability is capped out at 2, like we were thinking. 12 seconds to recharge after either using both. Both abilities enter a 2-second cooldown. Gotcha.
So you could double Terra cape 2 seconds.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's gonna be used somewhere.
Yeah, it is. Okay, Gambit and Invis. These are the big changes that we were waiting to see what was happening for these specifically. So Gambit takes a hit to his healing and ultimate. Oh, and ultimate, finally. Reduce the big easy impact healing amount per explosion from 25 to 15. A lot of Gambits were using this as just a way to stay alive whenever they were getting dived by or dove by anyone. So instead of 25, it's 15, and a total of 75 to 45. That is a big nerf, and I think that was needed. Makes it so he has less survivability when he's getting dove on that end.
Yeah.
Because that's usually when you saw it used. Also, whenever there's like
Yeah.
a Groot ult or a Strange ult, and you use that, because I think it's part of the cleanse, right? From what I remember.
Big easy impacts for right click, for shift right click.
Yeah, it does a little less on that end too. Raging Royal Flush's healing is reduced by 20 per second. That's also good. I think that is a much needed nerf on that end. Makes it a little bit easier to deal with in terms of how much healing they are getting, because it was definitely way too much. And then
think it's
bridge
enough.
boost bounces on a single target are now set to a maximum of 2. I'm curious on how much the maximum was before on that end. Let me try and pull this up real quick. Gambit Marvel Rivals.
I think it was like 3 or 4.
Yeah, this was the, what was it, the bridge boost it said?
Yeah, it would bounce around between a few people.
There it is. Okay.
They're generally speaking, because I wanted to see what other people's opinions was, and it's just
Yeah, it had 6 ricochets before, but now it's only 2. That's a huge nerf actually for the bridge boost.
Okay, maybe I was too harsh. Maybe these changes are good.
Yeah.
I think
it grants
like,
health
it
and a
doesn't seem
healing
that there's a
boost.
lot of major stuff in here. It is just course corrections because they're still wanting to
100%,
see
yeah.
what the December buffs were like.
Yeah, so
You
Gambit
have more
can
burst healing.
basically, because he does. One thing I do want to mention is because he doesn't have as many bounces onto multiple enemies. Or a single target can only be hit by it twice. You can't like just burst heal one person like so much. So that's making it a little bit easier or less
What this-
likely that he'll
yeah.
build up the ult
Yeah.
charge from that.
He's
Yeah.
using the thing as a battery.
Yeah,
What this stops is
basically.
you just walk next. You just both your tanks are standing next to each other. You press E on them, and they both get hit 3 times. That's all that stops. It just makes it. If there's 3 people, it's still good.
Yeah. I think those are good
It's-
changes. We'll see if it's
It is
enough,
a good change,
but
I
I think
agree.
it's good changes. Invis Woman, Guardian Shield value from 250 to 200, necessary nerf on that side. Shield restoration rate from reclaiming 42 seconds to 34%. Total time unchanged. Don't really know what this is about.
What? Oh, basically, it's the rate at which a shield recharges when it's broken, but because it recovers slower and there's less HP, so it takes the same
It's
amount of
longer
time.
after she uses it
Yeah,
and
yeah,
like
yeah.
reclaims it. Gotcha. And then the Guardian Shield healing to Invisible Woman is reduced by half. That's massive, actually.
Yeah, no more patty cake. Psylocke, Psylocke's back.
Yeah,
Potentially.
basically.
You're not gonna get patty caked out.
Rocket Raccoon is nerfed.
Just-
He lost his team up, and he lost as much speed as he was going.
He's kept the team up.
He's-
I mean, he's just the Penny's lost.
Well,
it.
yeah.
Rocket's the anchor.
I mean, where most people
Yeah,
were
yeah.
using it, right, for Penny. Yeah, people are still using it for Star-Lord, of course, for the.
And then you've got
Galactic Legends
Blade
and all that.
hunting you down as well with slow speed, so it's gonna be harder to.
Rocket
It's actually
is
like
harder to
a good
survive now.
patch for like actual like dive, like
Yeah.
actually diving onto strategists and them actually dying. Like that's a lot better this patch.
Here's the team up changes as well. So, I'm glad they're nerfing that a little bit, because they definitely needed to. But the deep raft between Hela and Namor.
That's a big
Tidal
nerf.
Dirge cooldown is increased by 10 seconds, massive, and then Monstro damage is reduced by 2. Reduced Berserk state of Monstro damage from 7 to 6. So they do a little bit less, and you can't use it as often, which is good. I think it's a good change. I don't know if it's enough though of a nerf, in my opinion, to make it less viable, but
Well, Poke's still strong, right? So
Yeah.
it's like that just kind of keeps its spot. But there's now a better options for Vanguards and Duelists to actually dive on everyone.
yeah. So maybe more reason to play Namor specifically to protect your back line with those Monstros on that end, because you're getting them faster and they're doing a little bit more damage on their own.
And those monsters
Um,
still unkillable as well with the team up.
Yeah,
But those
that's
specific
also another
ones,
huge thing on
which
that
is
end. Vibrant
weird.
Vitality. So the Blessing allied damage boost is reduced by 10%. Huge. Glad they reduced that, because the Mantis, Loki, and Gambit that we saw played a decent amount too was nuts. because the damage boost would mean that they would get their ults faster on that end as well. So reducing that by 10% is massive, in my opinion. I think it was definitely a necessary nerf to that. And then, of course, they got rid of the Bond and Penny Parker being in the network. But here's the new ones. So Penny as the anchor gets a 50 health increase. I don't think that really does too much, in my opinion.
She's lost a nest, which is another source of webs. She's lost all the armor packs that come from it, but she's gained 50 health, guys. Gold players, rejoice!
It is just I got a rock. That's pretty much all it is. This patch for Penny.
This is going to be the worst she's been since launch.
So
I'm pretty sure.
Okay, I mean this is just basic stuff for Deadpool, so we'll see whenever he's maybe not an anchor, but he has like more damage, more healing, or more health depending on what role he is, and that's what we already saw anyway. So
interesting to see how many team ups Jeff has now, because Jeff now has the
so
Venom team up and the Groot team up, and now the Deadpool team up. Is there any more?
Oh,
I think it's just those 3. Oh, and Storm. He has 4.
So Jeff has the Planet Pals. He has the Symbiote Shenanigans, Storm, Jeff NATO. There's so
Jeff is blackmailing the NetEase devs, I think. Clearly.
I mean, Planet X Pals isn't a real team up, but like the other three is crazy.
Yeah, Symbiote and Jeff NATO is pretty good. Yeah, I mean, what do we think overall of the patch notes for that? I think good changes across the board for the most part. Nothing too like broken. I think a lot of it just depends on like. I think Black Panther now has a better combo. Chat was saying that their typical combo is like 250 damage before, but I don't know if it's necessarily going to change the meta much in terms of like what we see being played. Right. I think it just makes it so it's harder for Gambit. Like it takes a little bit more time for Gambit to get their ultimate, and it does less healing. But it's still so busted because of all the other effects, right? The alt charge, the cleanse, the speed boost, and everything else that goes on top of it.
Yeah, it's still off season, is what I'd say. I feel like this is maybe just an extension.
Maybe 6.5 is when we'll see more of the changes.
In
that's
theory,
when they'll start to put brakes on it. Yeah,
I think I don't know if it sounds crazy. I think Gambit might unironically be better this patch than last patch, because if Blade is actually a character, and he's got more stuff to cleanse because of the ult and the anti-heal now on both his shifts.
That's true.
I think Gambit is more pick or ban now. If Blade is a real character than he was before, which sounds so silly.
Well, like Cloak and Dagger as well.
And he's so good into dive.
Oh yeah, Cloak as well. Yeah.
There's just more to cleanse. Yeah, there's more.
Gambit's very good into dive as well. He's got a knockback. He's got a self healing. He's got a cleanse.
Yeah, and the reason that he was nerfed in those areas is because he has a lot of like movement to be able to dash out and get out of dodge as well if he needs to. So yeah, I don't
just
caps are buffed a bit. Doctor Strange is gonna have some cool TikTok plays with
I hope so. Yeah,
going
that
into
would be
the
so
air
nice.
and then like carrying that momentum after canceling it to use their ult.
Because you could go for portal play and then probably I kind of think of like the crazy taxi like. With like the old arcade machines, if you basically went back into reverse whilst you were moving and then went forward again, you would basically like catapult yourself faster. So I'm hoping to see some like portal plays and then Strange just from a standing position, just get that combo that he just moves slightly, sends himself flying forward with an eye of wac-a-mole, like a fucking bowling ball or something. Like, I hope that there's just some like weird tech there because that would be hilarious to deal with.
I just can't wait for Gamma Strange to come back.
Oh
I just can't wait. I'm so excited. If
that's what they're saying is coming back for Doctor Strange, that'll be dope. And then
he's the only team up he's lost.
Yeah. We'll see some shenanigans with that as well. Emma Frost, I think the changes are interesting. Hulk, I hope the changes are good for the Hulk players out there. I mean, we'll definitely see Zotac playing some of that this weekend during the Deadpool creator event. So really excited to see that unleashed. Hopefully more looks from Blade. Daredevil, I think it's a decent nerf, but I don't know if it's necessarily enough on that side. Iron Fist, some solid changes. Namor makes him a little bit more of a solo pillar, but we'll see how much that is because there's just so many other duelists that are kind of better picks right now. Rocket, I think, went down a tier a little bit, in my opinion, just in terms of like survivability is a big thing. So Dive's going to be more effective against them. And then not having that Penny team up is a big thing for those specific matchups that we saw there. Invis, massive changes that were needed. Gambit, good changes, but we'll see if it's enough. Who else am I missing?
It does look a bit dive coded, doesn't it? It's like
it definitely seems dive coded, yeah.
Am I
Captain
crazy?
America
Did
too.
they say they were buffing Venom? Did they say they were looking at Venom changes or something?
No,
Like I
they
swear
didn't
Venom was
mention
mentioned.
Venom at all
Okay.
during the video, at least. Like maybe for mid-season, we'll see. But yeah, I feel like this is kind of a lukewarm change. Some necessary
Yeah,
changes.
because we just frankly don't know what Deadpool is going to do to the game.
Exactly.
Either. Like
I
that
think
will just turn
Deadpool
it
is
on
going to
its head.
completely change everything in terms of like what you can do and like how things are going to look, and just like be so annoying for so many people. Can you ban Deadpool if he has 3 roles? Like, how does that work?
That's a
Probably
good
is
question.
efficient, yeah.
Yeah.
Do
So
we
I guess
keep
we'll see if you
banning-
can ban Deadpool, or if you have to ban a specific role of Deadpool. You know.
I would imagine
That
it
would be
bans
so.
all
Like, I
roles.
don't want to do Ignite drafts if Deadpool is taking up 3 of them. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's just what's going to be the point. I don't think Vert's probably struggling with that. Really, I think it would just be if you ban it out, you just get rid of it. But
I think this
Who
pushes the
knows?
game in a slightly different direction, but I think this is the same fundamental. This is the same game that we've been playing.
Yeah.
The tweaks are very the biggest
Deadpool
change.
basically replaces Daredevil at this point.
Maybe. I think the biggest, to be honest, the only changes that I think are really notable here are the strange buffs are kind of notable. Maybe he's a character on his own. Same for Hulk. Maybe he's a character. Blade is like a big winner. I think Blade is probably the biggest winner of this patch, and Cloak probably. The other changes are so minor. I think like Gambit's still got 2 dashes for each. You're going to heal him for 4. He's still going to heal. Maybe instead of 150, he still just heals for 90, but he still dashes to the other side of the map, gaining 90 HP and having uptime and everything like. And Sue Storm can still, and Invisible Woman can still shield herself, and it's a lower amount of healing, but she's still healing herself and her teammates with a shield, and she's still shielded. They're still getting a shield, even if it's 50 HP less. I don't know. Maybe I'm a pessimist. Maybe it's going to gut everything, but I think the fundamental issue is what it does. I don't think the numbers were the issue with these.
Yeah.
I don't know if you agree.
No, I think I agree. I think it's all going to come down to like how people play it, right? And there's still time for them to figure out exactly like how things will fit with Deadpool and with all these changes and like the Jeff team up. I don't think it's going to really be too much of a thing either, but who knows?
And maybe in like tier 1 or tier 2, maybe like this is like maybe these are big changes. Maybe this does mean that like where people don't use the kits as effectively, the number changes are bigger. Like maybe this is like a really good patch for ranked. I would imagine this is a good patch for ranked.
Yeah.
Just generally generic nerfs for Gambit.
Less sustainability for Angela is always a good thing, I think, on the side for ranked.
Yeah.
Captain America
like
gets some more usage
patch
on that side. Emma Frost, I think, able to counter a little bit more for those like dive characters getting her charge faster.
I would have liked to see, unironically, I would have liked to see Luna buffs. Crazy to say. I still see Luna. Luna. People clearly have a soft spot for Luna. I still see her so
People
much.
Playing her a decent amount this past weekend.
She's not great. I think she could be a lot better. I wouldn't have minded seeing like maybe a change to, especially with it. But other sports are getting nerfed and Luna's untouched. Maybe she's better just by default. But I don't know. I wouldn't have minded it so much if they're keeping support strong.
Yeah,
I mean, it's also like Luna's not that good into Jean Grey and Magneto.
Yes.
As soon as you start altering Fate Above Worlds, it's just dunk.
Boom.
Dunk. Slam down. But I feel like I don't want to say like this patch is definitely like quite milquetoast in comparison to others. But yeah, I mean the last big patch that they had was a massive patch. So it is gonna feel small in
That's
comparison.
where they like buffed everything essentially in that last patch.
Yeah. They were just like, fuck it, why not? Like it's the off season. Let's just buff everything and see what needs toning down. So I feel like this is one of those patches that on the face of it won't look like much, but I think you'll feel it more than you would assume.
Yeah.
Regardless of how much you play some of these characters, just because will make your lives easier or harder depending on what side of the game you're exploiting, really.
I really like the change to Loki, the Loki team up with Mantis.
Yes, they needed to get rid of as much of that damage boost as possible because damage boost is in itself a little busted.
25% plus immortality, plus you're playing Mantis. I don't know.
They had so many Loki buffs in the last couple patches. It's kind of insane to think about. Like Loki was part of the reason why Doom Crew won because Cooper was playing that all the time. Like he was like the Loki
and it's
to look out for in Americas.
It's interesting to see as well that like it's not seeing nerfs to some reason. But Mantis is a character that I just can't believe has managed to evade nerfs for as long as she has. I don't know how she's allowed to still be 275 HP. How she's allowed to have the damage and cooldowns that she does, etc.
And her sleep.
I don't know. Sleep is so. I mean, this character is like I watch Genji Snake player. His character is crazy.
Yeah.
I don't know.
We'll see. I mean, the cool thing is we have 2 tournaments this weekend, so we'll kind of get to see like some of the effects of it. Of course, not in pro play essentially, but content creator play where they play whoever they want, and you'll see like the best of certain heroes. I'm sure we'll see some like Blade out there now that it's been buffed a little bit too, and see how that goes. Hopefully we get some pro tournament stuff in the meantime. I know there's some like smaller leagues going on in the background, but nothing like too big on that end. But gentlemen, we've been here for a while. It's been great to talk with you guys about Marvel Rivals and the new changes and everything for season 6. Dan had to leave early, of course, for those still tuning in. If you're wondering why he hasn't been here for a bit, we went definitely longer than I thought we would. I was like, oh yeah, it won't be that long. And then it's like, yeah, there's a lot to cover. Ryan, any final thoughts from you in terms of season 6 and what you expect to see and hope to see for 6.5 whenever that comes out?
Oh, I hope Elsa doesn't leave me scratching my head as much as Deadpool. I would just like somebody simple and straightforward. I was pleasantly surprised at like season 6, what it showed us from EMEA especially. Like the talent pool is really nice. It's just a good group of players that are consistently improving. And I'm sort of I liked getting all of the information about Ignite and then going into this season to see what it's going to be like in the future. Like, I'm definitely excited to take a bit of a break and just relax. But I'll be excited to be back for season 6 and maybe for Ignite 2026 as well for EMEA, because we would have a championship to protect.
Hell yeah. Love to hear it. Hopefully that does continue for you guys and the crew over there in EMEA and all the other regions. I mean, great work that we've seen throughout the season.
And happy birthday to Tetra as well.
Happy birthday to Tetra. Yes, I have to say that too. I remember seeing that on the timeline. I just haven't had a chance to look too much into it. But yes, hopefully he gets better soon, man. Like, dude's been sick for so long. Minty, though, now with you, any final thoughts that you have to close things out for season 6 and 6.5?
I think things look. This is a fine patch. We'll see if it. We'll see what it actually looks like. Yeah, cautiously optimistic. My gut reaction wasn't so good, but yeah, I think it's better than it's better than I think I initially reacted. We'll see. I don't think it's going to be like a fundamentally different game. I think it will be a similar game, but less frustrating to play, which I think is undeniably a good thing. So let's see what happens. I'm cautiously optimistic, and fingers crossed more info gets put out to orgs, and we can have a real esports scene soon.
Please. Yeah, I mean, I just hope to see, more competitions, more events, more things for people to watch and participate in, more support from the devs in terms of promoting our esport, right? I think that's the biggest thing that still needs to improve a little bit on that end. But outside of that, a lot to look forward to, right? We have 2026, a league, tier 2, esports bundles, partnership bundles, partner teams, and like guaranteed at least 2 years of competition, right? Because they have going and getting spots for 2027 all the way up to January, right, of next year. So a lot to look forward to on that end. Deadpool, I think, is really going to change some play style and bring some more fun to the game for a lot of people as well, in terms of like how they play it in Strategist or Duelist or Vanguard on that end, and really going to be entertaining to watch some of those terms as well. Also, make sure you guys tune into the draft on Bassam's channel that's going on in about a little under 30 minutes. That'll be happening for the Deadpool Creator Tournament. They'll be going through picking their teams for that. Then I'll be the official place for the B stream, or as they're calling it, the Alpha stream, for that tournament on Sunday. So definitely make sure you tune into that. It's going to be a fun time for that as well. And there's some more events coming in on the horizon to keep an eye out for on that side. And then whenever MRC kicks up again in March, we'll learn those dates on Friday once the actual patch comes through. I'll probably be tweeting all about that and the different roster moves and everything. Best of luck also to all the teams looking for orgs and trying to find their fitting and everything too. I know that's got to be hectic and stressful.
Many
for
odds
a
be
lot
forever
of
in your favor. That's
exactly
how it feels like.
A lot to look out for on that end. But either way, thank you, gentlemen, Minty and Ryan, for joining me, and those who've been watching the whole time. Shout out to Liger in the chat, about to get up and do a draft as well. But thank you for watching. This has been, I think, the longest Rivals and Rants we've had yet. I was saying it wasn't going to go long, but that's how it goes. And we'll see you on the next one next week.